Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
With Eleanor Oldroyd and Tony Livesey.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Hello, bonjour and welcome. Here we go then. It's the 16th and final day of the Olympics in Paris. Here in the Velodrome, Team GB are on the hunt for more track cycling medals. Alistair Bruce Ball.
Preferably of the golden variety. Emma Finucane, the big hope in the women's sprint. Jack Carlin and Hamish Turnbull go in the men's keirin. And Nia Evans takes on the torture of the omnium. 4 bunch races over the next 3 hours requiring skill, strategy, speed and stamina.
Elsewhere, one of Team GB's big medal hopes on the final day is out of the women's modern pentathlon, Conor McNamara.
Crushing disappointment for GB's Kate French, who, after qualifying for today's modern pentathlon final, has had to pull out this morning due to illness, but GB will still have a big medal hope taking part. Karenza Bryson set a new Olympic record for total points in the semi-final.
And also GB's Emily Campbell's looking to go one step further than she did in Tokyo by winning weightlifting gold in the women's 81kg final. Katie Smith's watching.
Yeah, she's the 4-time European and Commonwealth champion now too. She's in great form. She's promising sequins and glitter. She's always a lifter who loves making a statement on the biggest stage, but it's going to be tough. She goes up against the world record holder Li Wenwen of China. It's going to take something monumental from Emily Campbell to topple her.
We set ourselves the challenge at the start of these games to bring you every Team GB medal live here on 5 Live. We've done it so far, and we're not giving up at this stage. You can also follow events on the BBC Sport website and app, or watch on BBC One and iPlayer.
The Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
With Eleanor Oldroyd and Tony Livesey.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good morning, everybody, from Paris, and welcome to 5 Live Sport with me, Tony Livesey, live from the Velodrome. They're trying to get me again to say Saint-Quentin en Yvelines.
Saint-Quentin en Yvelines.
What? I got all the...
We're going to attempt this. Saint-Quentin en Yvelines.
As Eric Morecambe would say, I got all the vowels in there, not necessarily in the right order.
I kind of think it's too late for this now, isn't it, really?
Well, look,
it's the last day.
I like to call it the Velodrome. I'm here. It's the final morning, Ellie, of the 33rd Olympic Games.
Yeah, it is.
63 medals for Team GB, 14 golds, 22 silvers, 27 bronzes. So that, I mean, we're going to speak to the chef de mission a little bit later on. It's success is how you view it. That's 1 fewer than they managed in Tokyo, 4 fewer than Rio, where they got 67. But and that's the best whole overseas of GB any time, apart from London in 1908.
Yep, 13 gold medals up for grabs today, with the last event being the women's basketball final between host France and the mighty USA, who have won the last 7 gold medals in that event at 2:30 for the closing ceremony at the Stade de France, which is due to begin at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. What a surprise Snoop Dogg's going to be in that. The only thing he's not been in this Olympics is my room. He's been out, he's been, which he might have been, I don't know, but he's been everywhere. I finally caught up with him at the skateboard, I'm pleased to say. So today, GB could win medals in track cycling with Emma Finucane and Jack Carling, weightlifting with Emily Campbell, and modern pentathlon chances as well, despite that late withdrawal. Alongside me then is Ellie, as you know, as you've already heard. Ellie, you're in the civilised cafe this morning, reflecting on what a great games it's been, really.
Oh, do you know, the emotions are so mixed, actually, Tony, at this stage, because I'm sitting here with a café crème in the sunshine. It's a beautiful day here in Paris, actually, because it's hot. It's going to be hot. Watching the marathon, the women's marathon earlier on, I was thinking, how are they running up that hill from Versailles? But there's a nice breeze blowing. It's the final day. Everyone is quite tired. Everyone is sort of thinking about home a little bit, but still desperate to see more success and not to let any last moment of this go, actually, because it's been an absolutely incredible games. You know, we've grasped everything. And Steve Bunce is here with me. And Steve, you've told us some tales. You know, you and I shared the first first programme, didn't we, of the Games on that first Monday night, which feels like several years ago.
21st of July, something ridiculous like the 21st of July.
So just under 3 weeks ago. But you've kept the epic journeys up to the very end, haven't you? So just people who were listening last night will know about your attempt to get from the taekwondo, the Grand Palais to Roland Garros. And it didn't end there.
It didn't end there, and it should have ended there, and it should have been simple. Well, I say simple. I should have been able to get in a taxi, go along the river, there's the Eiffel Tower, tick that off, go over here, round the Arc de Triomphe, tick that off, and then just make my way slowly to that sumptuous forest where the Roland Garros is. I've walked all of that over this last 2 weeks. The car should know. And they have this periphery road, which the French have a lovely word.
Yeah.
And so you get on this road, and it's fast. And I thought, this is a long time. So I did a live hit from the back of the car. And then eventually I knew the guy had made a mistake. And there's only one Roland Garros, so this sounds like a song, sounds like a football chant. So he turned around, and when he turned around, Ellie, it was this perfect road going back to Paris. And there, about 1 inch tall, was the Eiffel Tower, which I'd driven under 20 minutes earlier. So consequently, I was going for one fight. I got there in the first round of that fight. I had to run. And I'm not kidding. I had to run about a kilometre. I did make the journey. I did make the fight. I did Taekwondo finals. And I did finals down. Then I got caught up in the midnight marathon at 2 a.m. That's a different story altogether.
Yeah, well, we will talk about that. I mean, he's still here. He's still here. He's still looking great. He's still looking fresh, Tony. We're going to just kind of keep pumping him full of caffeine. We'll pump him full of caffeine over the next few hours, and yeah, we're going to be here. We're going to be bringing you all the action elsewhere as well, apart from the velodrome. We're going to be having some reflections. Julien Laurent is going to join us for the final couple of hours of the 4-hour marathon to the finish, Tony, and then that'll be it. The finish line is almost in sight.
It is. I think later on we're going to have a montage of all the gold medals as well, so I'm really looking forward to listening to that. So more from Ellie and Bunsey in a second, and Julian's going to join us as well. I couldn't think of three better people to be with on this final day. When we're talking medals then, Sifan Hassan has already won the first gold of the day in the women's marathon. We'll get more reaction later on in the programme, but we're going to start here in the velodrome then. The final three cycling gold medals of Paris will be decided over the next 3.5 hours. Alongside me as ever, they've done sterling work over the past week or so. Victoria Pendleton, Olympic champion, and Five Lives, Alistair Bruce Ball. ABB Vic, good morning officially.
Good morning, Tony, and hello from up here in our commentary position, waving at you down there in Track Centre.
Bonjour.
Yeah.
So look, the Omnium is underway.
Yep.
I'm duty-bound to ask you to explain it, although it makes it sound as though I've not been listening to you for the past week, because you've explained it every day.
This is a little bit easier than the Madison event, when it's a sort of two riders for each nation on the track. So this is just one rider per nation. This is the women's Omnium. I always liken it, Tony, to the decathlon or the heptathlon on the track. So it's for your all-rounders. It's pretty much endurance races. We used to have some sprint events in the Omnium. It used to be a bigger event. It's now just 4 bunch races over the next 3 hours. For Great Britain today, we've got Nia Evans racing. She already has a silver medal in the bag, having won that in the Madison alongside Eleanor Barker. She's 34 years old. She's from Scotland. And the first event here is underway. So this is the first race of 4 in the women's Omnium. And this, Victoria, is a scratch race. So it's just a basic 30 laps. First rider across the line takes 40 points, next takes 38 points, and you can see here the French rider Valentine Fortin is trying to make a break and get away from the peloton, and Nia Evans is chasing.
Yeah, I think this is probably the most straightforward of all the races to understand. However, with French putting in attack, I think she might be trying to go for a lap right now, which will make it confusing for the bunch, but I doubt that the rest of the team are going to let her. USA there, Great Britain, sort of putting in a bit of a chase to close it down.
Yeah, so basically, Tony, that's 21 cyclists, multicoloured cyclists, flying around a velodrome chasing a French woman who's trying to get away from them at the moment. But we will keep you across the points as the events go. So there's a leaderboard that builds event by event by event, and the last event, and it's the very last race in the track cycling at the Olympic Games, is the points race. And those points all count towards the final leaderboard. So hopefully Nia Evans will be in the mix at the end of it.
We're hoping so. Vic, I was talking, we're going to hear it actually later in the programme, to the Britain's relay athletics coach Martin Rooney earlier on, and the athletics team have won more medals, the most medals since LA in 1984, which can only be considered a huge success. What's your assessment so far of how we've done in the cycling and what we can achieve today?
Well, I mean, very hopeful for today. I mean, in this event, in the Omnium event, I think, looking at a medal wouldn't be unrealistic for Nia Evans. She's already got a silver medal here. She's obviously got good form. This isn't the event that she was specifically supposed to ride. I'm sure that Katie Archibald was very much the Omnium rider going into this game. So she stepped into a role that wasn't necessarily her place. She was probably a reserve rider for it. And so, but still, very, very good chance of medal. For the women's sprint, now I'm very confident that we're going to see a podium finish there, and I'm saying the top one, quite frankly. I'm expecting that Emma Finucane is going to come away with a gold medal. I'm really confident about that. Obviously anything can happen in track cycling, but I'm going to be an optimist as always with the result, and the keirin, it can be anyone's.
Just on the mood in the camp as well, Victoria, which I thought was quite telling. When we arrived this morning, we were quite early, weren't we? It was a lovely, sunny, but the temperature hadn't quite got up, so it was just a beautiful sort of sunny day. Temperature was nice, little breeze, and just as we were checking in, Tony, we saw the British minibus arrive. Emma Finucane was in there, Sweet Caroline blasting out at top volume, and all the coaches, all the riders, everyone in the team singing their hearts out. And then you had a chat to Emma, didn't you, Victoria? Yeah, it was definitely a party bus atmosphere, so it looked like morale was very high coming into this final day, which is a great thing to see. And I think, we are hopeful for results today, so let's hope they can enjoy it, and hopefully we see, what I'm hoping for. Yeah, so I'm saying medals today.
Yes. Well, you've already given us a goal, Vic, so that's great. We can scrub that. No, Emma Finucane, we must say, we've talked about her before, but bearing in mind people might be fresh to the show today, she's an absolute superstar in the making, if not there already, isn't she? Yeah, only 21, super confident, very good tactically on the track, part of the gold medal winning team sprint at the beginning of the week here for track cycling, and she's current reigning world sprint champion, so she goes into this competition as the favourite. Yeah, that's the interesting thing, Tony. It's about, and Victoria will know all about this, it's about dealing with that weight of expectation from, obviously from herself, but from the British cycling public, because they expect so many golds inside the velodrome. And when you come in as world champion, and she's shown great speed in the qualification rounds as well, the real danger is the other side of the draw in the semi-finals is the German rider, Leah Friedrich. We're expecting it to be a Friedrich Finucane showdown, aren't we, Victoria? Yes, we are. But by far those two riders look the strongest in qualification, and I think Leah Friedrich also has the experience of riding at the Olympic Games and at multiple World Championships, so she goes in with perhaps a little bit more high-level competition experience. Just need to keep an eye here, Tony, on the last few laps of the scratch race, because this is going to be a hectic kind of bunch finish, because no one has got away from the pack. We have 6 laps to go. We've got to keep an eye on Nia Evans. So the way the points work here, whoever wins this scratch race takes 40 points. Second place takes 38. Third 36, fourth 34, etc, etc, etc. So at the moment, Victoria, Nia Evans is right at the back of the peloton, but it's about getting in position and timing your dash. Yeah, with 5 laps to go, you don't want to be at the front quite yet. You want to be there or thereabouts. And also, it's not just racing for top 3 positions here. Every single rider is racing to get as many points as they can. So every single rider is going to contest their position. Yeah, it's just a clutch of riders, all 22 of them together, flying down the back straight. 3.5 laps to go. Looking out for the likes of Jennifer Valente of America, Lotte Kopecky of Belgium, Yumi Kajihara of Japan, Valentine Fortin of France, Amalie Deriksen of Denmark, Stenberg of Norway. I can see the New Zealand rider, the 23-year-old Ali Wollaston, coming to the front of the peloton. They will all be challengers for medals. We've got 2 laps to go. What do you think about Nia Evans' position tucked in there, Victoria? She right in the middle. She wants to move out. If she can just find some space and come around the outside. If the bunch is still rotating, which it is, I think she might be able to squeeze out. Okay. She needs to go now. Goes past us in the home straight. It's very tight and bunched in. I don't know what the French for bun fight is, but that is what this is on the boards in the velodrome. And Nia Evans quite a long way back in the bunch here. Got a bit to do. Trying to make a way. No, she's down. Nia Evans is down. She clipped her back wheel coming into the home straight. She is flat on her back off the track. And Nia Evans is down.
and will finish in last place in the scratch race. She was trying to make her way through the heavy traffic to get the most points she possibly could. There is always the danger of that in a bunch race, Victoria. We'll have to see exactly what happened on the replay again, but that is a bad start for Nia Evans in the Omnium.
Just a touch of wheels, I think. You know, you only have to slightly touch a wheel and it can send you flying down the track, but she looks okay. She's up, which is a good sign.
Yeah, that's the main thing, Tony, that she is okay and okay to continue in the event. She wasn't going to rack up a massive amount of points there because I think she'd left herself too much to do. She's just standing up, surrounded by some of the British support team and recovering. A little bit frustrated, clearly, with what's happened. We saw a big crash actually yesterday in the men's Madison when Ollie Wood got taken out, and that, well, it didn't cost Britain their chances of a medal, but it cost them the opportunity to try and push for that late in the race. So applause. She's back on her bike, Nia Evans, but clearly not the start that she wanted in the first event of the Women's Omnium.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out. She just wanted to walk away, I think, but they pointed out she had to get over the line. I think as far as, I mean, Vic will know better than me, but I think she had to finish.
Yeah, to finish the race and just pick up, well, inside the competition, just to cross the line. But rolling around will probably help her just loosen up a bit.
Yeah, so at first I thought she was her, but I think it's just extreme disappointment on her face. So not good. Vic, just before we go to Ellie in the cafe, you said she wasn't going to do brilliantly there, but what does that mean for the medal chances? Does that...
I mean, there's still a lot that can happen in this race, and it's unlikely that you see the favourites contend every single event. You might see them contend 3 out of 4 events and still work their way up. So it is possible, as long as all the events are won by different people. That makes the difference.
The big one there, Tony, is the points race right at the end, because if you can take laps in the points race, you can pick up 20 points. You can make big moves in that race, but clearly, obviously, Nia Evans from here on in needs to be a high finisher in the remaining 3 disciplines.
Yep.
OK, Ali, Vic, thank you for now. The action here in the velodrome is going to come thick and fast this morning. We'll be back here quite a lot, but to Ellie in the cafe now. Ellie, you said it. I'm not going to labour this point because I fear the listeners have had enough of it now, but it is hot here. Earlier on they were doing the Icelandic clap, and I thought, can we have some of the weather as well? But I've come prepared. I'm well ventilated today, so just in case anybody's worried about me, and I'm on one of your little seats as well. So
I was going to ask you about the nursery stools, because we did make a bit of a thing. You made a bit of a thing about this the other day, claiming that you had not been properly provided for, and that our lovely engineers, I think I gave Tom the credit for going to the supermarket, but it was actually Phil who went to the supermarket, bought these stools with jungle animals on. So you have a little bit of comfort in that mix zone, because it is hot and it is tiring and it is kind of quite dehydrating as well. So are you comfortable?
I'm very comfortable today, yeah.
Is it bearing your weight?
It is charming.
That's what you said.
No, I know. It is bearing my weight, and it's the Oldroyd strop I need to master, because as soon as you put your foot down, everybody provided furniture. Bunce will be familiar with this from IKEA. He'll be well familiar with that. He's got a season ticket this time around.
He definitely does. Thank you, guys. We'll be back with you in the velodrome in the next few minutes as the morning's action unfolds here in Paris. Also getting underway at 10 o'clock was the modern pentathlon women's final, and watching this in a stunning setting at the Chateau de Versailles is Five Live's Conor McNamara. Before we get into what's happening this morning, just so disappointing the news about Kate French, which only came through about an hour ago.
Yes, Kate French, GB's gold medal winner in Tokyo, has had to pull out of today's final, having qualified for it, but due to illness. So Kate French, who had taken some time out of the sport, came back into it with real gusto over the last sort of 9 months or so, but clearly not fit enough to take part in this final, which is a huge disappointment for her, having put in all that work to get in contention. But GB do still have a big medal hope taking part. Carenza Bryson in top form, having set a new Olympic record for total points in the semi-final yesterday. We're up and underway. It's the equestrian first show jumping event in this incredible setting. I mean, this is posh Paris. Everything's so manicured, gleaming, and we can see the big chateau of the Palace of Versailles away to our right hand side. This is a beautiful place to be on a Sunday morning.
And the modern pentathlon, I mean, it's been through a lot of different changes over the last, well, I mean, the first time I covered it was in Atlanta in 1996, and it was over several days and lots of different venues. But everything has come together in one place on this final day. And it is, you had your first experience of watching it yesterday, I think, Connor, didn't you?
Yes.
And you messaged me afterwards and said, I love this. This is great.
It feels like a mini Olympics all condensed into one arena. So I'm sitting in the stadium, let's call it, outdoor. It's all temporary seating, but there's tens of thousands of spectators here looking on. And from each of their seats, they can see the equestrian, they can see the fencing, they can see the big swimming pool away to my right-hand side, they can see the running track. So from one seat, they can see the laser run, the shooting arena where they hit their laser guns on the far side. From one seat, you can see these 5 different disciplines. So that in itself, makes it a unique opportunity. But it's when it all comes down to the laser run, and as you well know, Ellie, but to explain for the listeners, depending on how you do in the other events, you get a time handicap in this run at the end. So it's a 3,000 metre run, and you're running on sand, which is grueling enough, 600 metre laps, 5 of them, and at 4 occasions during your 3,000 metre run, you've got to stop, you've got to get your breath in proper order, you've got to get yourself calm, and then you've got to shoot this laser gun, and you've got to hit the target 5 times. Now, if you keep missing, if you're shaking, if your hand is sweaty, that time gets eaten into, and others are catching up on you, and it makes it really, really tense. And if you look at Kate French, who's unfortunately had to pull out today, when she won gold in Tokyo 3 years ago, she started that final laser run in 5th place. But because her shooting was so adept, and because her running was so fast in the sand, she was able to make up that ground and take the gold medal. So going into that final run, it is really thrilling, because technically everyone's still in contention, even though the person who's top of the leaderboard will get seconds and seconds head start on everyone else. I mean, yesterday in the men's, it was something like 50 seconds that the Egyptian was able to set off ahead of the rest of the field. So then suddenly it becomes a pursuit. It's really exciting. It is great to watch, and having my first experience of it yesterday, I definitely want to see more.
And it's fascinating as well. One of the other things is the number of costume changes. It's a bit like a Lady Gaga concert,
yes,
because they've got to go from their riding gear, then they've got to put, is it swimming next? They've changed the order, or is it fencing next? It's fencing next, isn't it?
Yes, fencing next.
So it's all kind of changed the order around.
They're out there in the sort of formal jackets, the jodhpurs, the riding boots, and the helmet. Then suddenly they'll be in the gear where they look like a spaceman, and they're getting ready for the fencing. Then they've got to strip down to their togs to get in the swimming pool. When I think of an Olympic swimmer, I've got a certain vision, and when I think of an equestrian jockey, I've got quite a different vision. But this is the sport thing, and this is why modern pentathlon was invented in the first place. It is there to reward the complete athlete. Someone could be a very good horse person, someone could be an excellent swimmer, but you've got to be proficient in all of these. And funny enough, Karenza Bryson, who goes for Team GB later on, her weakest event is the pool, so she's got to try and be much, much better in all the others to get the points up there, and then she can afford to drop a few points in the swimming pool and it not matter too much. But you're right about the changing costumes, and you almost don't recognise the individuals from one outfit to other. They can look the bee's knees up on the horse, and then you'd barely recognise them in the fencing outfit.
Well, it's been such a successful sport for Team GB over the years, going all the way back to Steph Cook in 2000. We'll see if Karenza Bryson can add another medal to that tally with Connor as the morning unfolds. But let's go back to Tony in the velodrome, and we're watching the sprinters back again. And actually, one of my favourite moments, I think, of these games was not interviewing Emma Finucane, because actually it was Vic who interviewed Emma Finucane. They talked to each other when I was down in the mix zone the other day, and I think all 3 of us were probably in tears at that point.
Well, we're going to get our first look at her today as well. This guaranteed gold. I don't want to put any more pressure on Victoria, but it's the second semi-final in the women's sprint. Britain's new star, Emma Finucane, is going to be up and running in the next few moments. And ABB, talk us through it. What's the upshot here?
Best of 3 semi-finals. This is Emma Finucane against Elise Andrews, which I think, Victoria, is her first real test in the competition. Elise Andrews is the 24-year-old from New Zealand who's already won the gold medal in the keirin, bronze medalist at last year's World Championships. but has a bit of experience, has a bit of racecraft, tough competitor. I think Finucane might have the speed, but this has just gone up a level now in the semi-finals, hasn't it?
I think up to this point, Emma's been able to really be quite relaxed in her sprinting and really just not cruise through, because she's still putting a massive effort in, but feeling very comfortable and confident in the match pairing. But this is, going definitely, I agree, Ali, going to be the first tough race of her contest.
Emma seems so bubbly and confident. She seems like she's really enjoying this week, doesn't
100%.
she?
I was going to say, she seems like she's really enjoying it, and the vibe in the bus this morning was definitely one of enjoyment. So that's one of the things I said to her, actually. I was like, just make sure you really enjoy it. Enjoy it. And she said, I will. So let's, fingers crossed.
Victoria's been there, seen it, done it, and got the medals to show for it. Emma Finucane at this Olympic Games, her first Olympics, 21 years old, from Carmarthen in Wales, already has a gold medal in the team sprint and a bronze in the keirin. Now, Elise Andrews, her competitor here, beat her in the keirin. They've set off, you heard the whistle. This is over 3 laps this race. Pace is building steadily on the back straight. Elise Andrews has taken the lead, and it's the best of 3. This is the first race in the best of 3, and Finucane is just stalking here, Victoria.
Yeah, they've got quite a good pace at the moment, just up on the boards, not too high up the track, keeping a good distance between each other. Elise Andrews with a close eye over her right shoulder.
Real sense of tension as well inside the velodrome.
Yeah. You can see Emma's just out of the saddle there, just encouraging a bit of acceleration from Elise Andrews.
Here we go then, first real test, past the Olympic rings away to our right-hand side, noise levels build, Finucane going high on the bank in away to our left, they're heading towards the home straight. Elise Andrews constantly looking over her right shoulder. Is she in good shape here, Emma?
I think she's got a good gap, she's got some height, she's going to accelerate down, hopefully she will have the ability to come over. Yes!
Here she comes, down the back straight, on the outside, shoulder to shoulder, bit of work still to do for Emma Finucane. Elise Andrews holding on for dear life. No, Andrews gets there by a bike length, and the New Zealander takes the first race. Emma Finucane shakes her head. Work to do. She is 1 down with 2 to go, Victoria. So just then I think she was a little bit too eager to close the gap, but Elise Andrews did an excellent job of stalling the sprint for as long as possible. She's got a great standing start, and that really plays to the favour of the New Zealander. Best of 3, Tony, best of 3. So Emma Finucane now under a bit of pressure, got to win the next 2 if she's going to make it through to the Olympic final in the first heat. Bit of a surprise in that as well, because we were bigging up the German Leah Friedrich, but the Netherlands are having a great games in the velodrome, and Hetty van der Waal won the first race there, but Finucane 1 down.
Yeah, a lot to do. Back for the next race shortly. Ellie, back to you with the cafe.
Yes, let's go straight to the modern pentathlon, because the show jumping phase with Keirin Bryson in action. Connor, how's she got on?
She is underway for her equestrian. This is a show jumping event. You've got 10 jumps to manoeuvre, and so far Keirin Bryson has been clear with no falls through her first 6 jumps. They're only introduced to the horse 20 minutes before the event. It's a random allocation, so they don't know the animal well at all. They get a few practice. Oh, she's just had her first fault, so that'll be 7 points for taking down one of the bars of the obstacle. Coming now into the 9th jump, safely over that, and there's 1 more to go in the bright sunshine in Versailles. That is not too bad at all. So it is 14 points docked for Keirin Bryson, in top form, having set a new Olympic record yesterday. We just saw the high jeopardy of this, because the French rider Marie Otesia, who was the previous rider, was unseated on her very first jump. She was somersaulted through the air, and she landed heavily down onto the bars and needed to be assisted away. And you consider she has got to do fencing, and she's got to do swimming, and she's got to do a 3,000 metre laser run later on. So this is a jeopardy element of it. Obviously, some of these competitors will be more adept on a horse than others, but you could pick up an injury here which would affect you later on. So at least through, Keirin Bryson has come through, 14 points deducted, but that's not too bad given her high place in the leaderboard for now.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Connor, following the Modern Pentathlon Day as we continue on the final day of Paris 2024, and back to Tony in the velodrome.
Yeah, and we're getting a crash course in all the different cycling disciplines this morning now, because we're on to the men's keirin here at the velodrome. 2 GB men in action. ABB, we're back to your...
Do you want me to test you here, Tony? And can you tell the listeners what the keirin is? Is that unfair of me? That would be desperately unfair.
I'll have the keirin. Is it the one with the motorbike?
Yes, Tony.
Oi!
The Derny. The official name for that is the Derny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all I know.
Okay.
So tell me how the Derny affects.
Well, listen,
matters.
Victoria was an Olympic champion in this event. So and I love this. I love This race, this sort of racing format started in Japan, didn't it? It was a big betting thing in Japan.
And I've actually been over to Japan to experience what it's like on the keirin racing scene. Some of their top riders in Japanese keirin are on footballer salaries, which is unheard of. And they're like superstars, driving around in Ferraris. Yeah, and people go and bet on the racing, and it's like being at the horse racing or something like that, and just. You get to read the bios of the riders. It tells you what their favourite colour is and what their favourite food is and stuff, and you can choose who you think is going to win. It's really interesting.
Have you raced keirin in Japan?
I haven't actually.
Right.
They only just opened it up to women fairly recently, and I haven't ever had the opportunity. I think Becky James got to race there once. Yeah.
Just a quickie for me. Is it open to British cyclists who might want to earn a few bucks when they've finished?
Every year
competing?
they used to do an international series and you were invited over to be involved, and that used to be a kind of really cool experience and very lucrative. I was always very envious of the boys that got to go and spend time in Japan and race every day. But it's 6 laps, 3 laps behind the bike. The bike accelerates from 30 kilometres an hour to 50 kilometres an hour, and it will pull off, and then it's an all out, elbows out sprint to the finish.
Perfectly described, Victoria. It's at the quarter-final stage, so 6 riders waiting on the start line. For Great Britain in this one, Jack Carlin, already a bronze medalist at these Olympic Games in the individual sprint. The rider's currently being announced to the spectators inside the velodrome, and the chap on the Derny is about to get going here around the back straight, and when he comes past the riders, you'll hear the bang of the gun. He will build the pace of the race. And interestingly here, Victoria, Jack Carlin for Great Britain in lane 1, so it's his responsibility to get on the back wheel of the moped for the first 3 laps.
Yes, he has to take the first position, and if he doesn't, it will be restarted.
Right, in this heat then, and by the way, first 4 out of 6 get through to the semi-finals, so there's quite a lot of leeway in there. Matthew Glaetzer of Australia, James Hedgecock of Canada, Jack Carlin for Great Britain on the back wheel of the moped at the moment, Mikhail Yakovlev, who is an enormous hulking beast in the colours of Israel, Kaya Ota of Japan, and Mohamed Sarom of Malaysia. And Carlin at the moment, eyes focus forward on the back wheel of the moped, wheels nearly touching, and all the other riders just in a line behind him.
I'm just going to also mention that Jack Carlin, Kaya Ota of Japan, and Sarom of Malaysia have all got yellow cards to their names, so they also need to make sure that they race this very fairly and by the rules. We don't want to see any contact or anything like that, because they will be on a warning from the commissaires, and we don't want any relegations. So.
No, and there has been a bit of argy-bargy and complaints and that sort of thing over the last couple of days.
It's got to be clean today.
Yeah, Jack Carlin in his bronze medal ride against Jeffrey Hugland, the Dutch weren't particularly happy that he wasn't relegated in that one. Right. Moped is off the track. Carlin is still in front, but the Australian Matthew Glaetzer makes an early move, and the Japanese rider Ota goes with him, and Carlin's just on the inside here, Victoria. 2 laps to go. Doesn't want to get bunched in.
Doesn't want to get bunched in, but still with 2 laps, he's still got plenty of time to try and find his way onto a good wheel and hopefully over the top.
Now here comes the giant Israeli Yakovlev, who's got so much power. There goes Jack. The bell. Carlin in 4th. 4th is good enough to get you through to the semi-finals. He's in pretty decent position here, going into the back straight. All 6 of them very, very close now, all in a bunch, coming around the final bend. Carlin does beautifully, saw a gap, nipped through, and takes himself through as one of the first 4. May even have crossed the line first. It doesn't matter. He's through to the semi-finals. What did you think of that ride, Victoria?
I mean, it was risky, but it worked out all right. That just goes to show his good decision-making at those difficult tactical moments to just squeeze through. So, yeah, safely through.
OK, Jack Carlin safely through. Hamish Turnbull goes in the next heat, Tony.
Yeah, funny, after we had that discussion about how popular it is in Japan, I just saw loads of Japanese flags around the arena. There's a lot of supporters here
there are,
as
definitely.
well. Yeah, all over the place.
They love it. They love a bit of keirin.
Right, so we love a bit of keirin action. We're going to stay for this next one, are we? We're going to hear about Hamish. So what are our medal chances in the men's keirin then?
Well, the thing about keirin is when you have 6 riders on the track, especially, at this level of competition, it's a bit of a free-for-all. It's very, very hard to pick a dead certain winner, because so much can happen. You can get boxed in, the favourite can get caught under or behind a wheel, and you can see how close it is sometimes coming into the finish. So it's very, very... There can be a lot of upsets in this event, is what I'm trying to say. So it's difficult to really to really choose a really strong winner.
Yeah, the difference Victoria always explains to me, Tony, between the individual sprint and the keirin is the individual sprint is head-to-head. You've got one person to beat out there, and you've got them in your sights all the time. There's just more unknowns in the keirin, isn't there, Victoria?
Yeah. But I think there's every possibility that we'll have a British rider on the podium.
It seems to me that when watching them race round here, that it's you're gap hunting. You're looking for that way through, and you're presumably allowed to block someone if you know they're behind them, or you're not bothered who's behind you at that point. You're just going hell for leather, and if they get through, they get through.
If you're in a situation going in like that with like 4 riders to qualify, and you've got the opportunity to sort of almost hold your line and hold someone down and out of contention, then you will. So you can ride a little bit tactically like that.
Jack Carlin, who's just gone through to the semi-finals as well, Tony, was very emotional after winning the bronze medal in the individual sprint. But in that interview he gave after doing that, he actually said he fancied his chances more in the keirin. So I think that is promising. Bronze medal in the bag, wasn't necessarily expecting that. Silver medal in the team sprint as well. So through to the semi-finals. Let's see what Hamish Turnbull can do. 25 years old from Morpeth, lane 2 on his left-hand side is the Dutch sprinting sensation. There's a bit of beef at the moment going on between the Netherlands and Great Britain, because obviously it was the Dutch rider that took out Ollie Wood in the men's Madison yesterday, which I didn't see the replay during the race, but afterwards, having seen the replay, seemed a fairly cold kind of brutal move. Carlin obviously beat Hoogland in the bronze medal ride in the sprint, and the Dutch weren't very happy about Carlin's tactics, saying it was rugby on wheels. Be interesting to watch here with Livres and Turnbull in the same keirin race, Victoria. I mean, can those sort of rivalries develop? Do you think people looking out?
I think
targeting other riders.
Emotions are high here, and people have been, working hard for a long time, and I think people can get a little bit kind of feisty, shall we say?
Well, I think Jack Carlin admitted that during the semi-final against Hoogland, he did lose his head
a bit.
Lost his head. He said,
There's a lot of emotion, a lot of you put a lot in, and it doesn't take much for, I think, to probably flick the switch and get a bit lost in the moment, shall we say? So.
You heard the gun, the race is underway, the pace is building, lap and a half with the moped in front, another lap and a half of that to go. Nick Wammes of Canada in here, the Colombian Christian Ortega Fontalvo, Turnbull for Great Britain, Shinji Nakano of Japan, Harry Leveresen of the Netherlands, and Nicholas Paul, who represents Trinidad and Tobago, and he has some electric speed, does Nicholas Paul. He's right at the back of the 6 riders at the moment. Leveresen on the back wheel of the moped, and the racing, Victoria, is about to begin with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and I think Hamish will be looking over his shoulder, looking for Trinidad and Tobago to make an attack. But he definitely should try and stay on Harry Leveresen's wheel, because I'd suggest that's quite a strong opportunity to get pulled through into the next.
That is a great call, and that is exactly what he's doing. So Turnbull's in 4th place at the moment. There's the speed from Paul. Paul goes flying around the outside, but Hamish Turnbull has matched that, and he's trying to stay on the back wheel of Leveresen, as you said.
Yeah, I think Leveresen, he's going to obviously want to make this very clean cut. I think he's going to take it to the front, which he has, and Hamish Turnbull is on Harry Leveresen's wheel. Best place to be. Keep sheltered, save your energy.
Look at that. Victoria's called it. Hamish Turnbull followed the wheel of Leveresen comfortably through to the semi-finals of the men's keirin. Christian Ortega, the Colombian, is through, and in 4th place Nakano of Japan. So those riders already through to the semi-finals of the men's keirin. And Victoria, you absolutely called that from about 2.5 laps out, exactly what Turnbull was trying to do, and it worked like a dream.
Sometimes it's the luck of the draw, with Harry Leveresen drawing number 1 and you drawing 2, it would be very sensible just to stick to him, because you know that the experience there is not going to leave you left behind. So good tactics there. Very good tactics there.
So both British riders, Tony, Hamish Turnbull, Jack Carlin, through to the semi-finals of the men's keirin. There will be 2 heats there, 6 riders in each, and if you finish in the first 3, you'll be racing for the medals in the final.
There must be a process of osmosis going on here, because even I knew that was a masterclass, so I'm learning as we go along. He rode that perfectly. Can I just ask a very quick question? Either of you, in the semis, are the Brits kept apart, or is it just luck of the draw? How does that work?
Luck of the draw.
Right, okay.
Luck of the draw. So it will just, we won't know. We won't know that yet. Could well be in the same heat.
Could be mano a mano then in the semis. Right, okay, well, you won't miss it. We're covering every race with a Brit involved here in the Velodrome. There are 3 golds on offer this morning. Hopefully we can get at least one of them. Right, in the meantime, let's go back to the Cafe and Ellie.
Yeah, centre of Paris, as I was getting on the metro earlier on, it's still full of people buzzing, just racing to events that they've got tickets for. There's a lot of wrestling fans staying in our hotel, actually, because we're just down from the Champ de Mars Arena. You can spot them, can't you, Bunsey?
You can spot them because they've got mashed up ears. They might be 18 or 19 or 20 or 22, and they wear those mashed up ears with absolute pride. I find it fantastic.
Yeah, you don't want to share a lift with them either because they're quite big.
You can't really share a lift with them unless there's only one of them.
In the meantime, the contrast, we say this all the time, the contrast between the different sports in the Olympic Games. I was covering the artistic swimming last night, and then today it's the modern pentathlon. It's the women's event, and Conor McNamara at the Palace of Versailles. It's the fencing bonus round, because, so just to kind of try and explain to this to people, they fence twice in the modern pentathlon these days.
Yes, and the good news for Team GB's Keirin Bryson is that she did very well in the initial fencing. Now, this was the problem for Joe Chong yesterday in the men's event. He didn't do well in the initial fencing, so when it came to this fencing bonus round, he was the first up. It's kind of a last man standing thing, or more appropriately, winner stays on is how I would describe it. So the person who had the worst score in the initial fencing goes in first, and as long as they keep winning, they keep going against the others, starting at the bottom of the leaderboard. But obviously, if you've done well in that, you only come in late in the event, and you have a much better chance of being there through to the finish. So that is a positive for Keirin Bryson, who had a score of 286 out of a possible 300 in the show jumping event. Now, that is 13th best of the show jumpers, but still absolutely fine, because in the overall standings now, she's up around 5th place. If the final was to take place now, this final laser run, she would be about 35 seconds off the leader, and that's definitely make-upable in a laser run. Now, obviously, she can improve on that, and she can make that time be a shorter handicap by the time the final comes. Obviously, if things go against her, that time could get a little bit longer, but she's up towards the end of this fencing event, which is underway now at the moment, with a Lithuanian and a Hungarian facing off here in front of the thousands at Versailles.
And you mentioned that the fencing ranking round, as it's called, which takes place the day before the semi-finals, that's the only bit that carries over to the final day, isn't it? Because your points in your semi-final, you don't carry over, but the fencing ranking round, once it's happened, you've got to stick with what you did in that. Yeah,
in the fencing, one hit wins, so these can be very quick bouts, two fencers facing up to each other. All you got to do is one connection of your sword into the body of your opponent, and that sort of seems, to my uneducated eye, to bring an element of luck to it, because you could be the best fencer in the world, you can always be hit once, so you could be in and off that ramp, that platform that they are fencing on very, very quickly down there. But a good result in the preliminary on Thursday means that Keirin is in a good position, Keirin Bryson here, and she's towards the end of the fences. She's been one of the best in this particular discipline.
Thank you, Conor. Steve Bunce is back with me after his normal breakfast of about 10 espressos and a bit of water.
At least 5 or 6 or 7, yeah. I've spent a lot of time in this cafe with you. I maybe spent 36 hours sitting here in the last 16 or so days. And I have a set routine. It's 2 litres of water and 4 loads of a double espresso over a 3-hour period, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're doing well on it, I must say.
You.
I mean, we're going to talk weightlifting in just a second with Katie, but on the modern pentathlon, because they have changed it. So they've tried to change it. They've tried to make it more relevant. They've kind of condensed it now into this 90 minutes. I was saying when I first covered it, you had all 36 pentathletes fencing for what felt like ages at the start of the day, and it all kind of dragged on, but actually to bring everything in to this much more condensed format, I'm kind of thinking that maybe it works. What do you think?
Well, I think it definitely works, and not just that. I think that's a good idea for looking at the way other events are done, streamline them, making them fast. They've done something in Taekwondo. I'm not sure what Olympics you covered Taekwondo, because I know you did one Olympics. I know.
Beijing.
There we go. So you were BBC Beijing Olympic Taekwondo person, and they've done it now. So it's the best of three. It's the best of 3. So if you win the first 2 rounds, there's no need for a third round. And of course that creates a degree of jeopardy, because if you lose the first round, you've got to win the second round. So it creates an even better third round. It's a simple little shift. I think that I don't know a single sport apart from simple 100 metres or a straight race in the pool that can't be improved by a little bit of modern thinking.
Yeah, a little bit of streamlining as well, perhaps. It's difficult with traditional sports. They don't want to change, but it's change to survive, I suspect. Speaking of the Taekwondo, and alongside you in the Grand Palais last night, what an arena that is. Incredible. Katie Smith, one of the best venues that you've been in at these games, would you say?
Oh, without a doubt. I think Bunsey and I have been bonded for life over sitting under that huge cavernous,
Agreed.
arcing dome of glass. Yeah, and it turned into almost a disco at the end, Ellie, because the glass roof, once the light fades from the outside, it obviously starts getting kind of dark and luminous, and so they reflected up. It was almost like a chandelier, wasn't it, Bunsey, over the ceiling, these lights dancing everywhere. It was brilliant.
And then the staircase, there's this grand, I mean a grand staircase. I mean, we talked about it on air. In fact, we talked about it a lot on air. And there's this enormous staircase, and I managed to get in one day 2 hours earlier, come in the wrong way, and I found myself at the top of it, and I was escorted down it. And it's a sweeping staircase, and that's the way the judo, when Teddy Rinier won his gold there, that's the way everybody comes in that way. It's absolutely, it's just a fantastic venue.
When normally you're stuck in a dark corridor underneath some temporary stands when you come into the arena. Fantastic. Well, anyway, we're not talking about that now, are we, Katie? Because we're talking about weightlifting, and we're talking about Emily Campbell. Because, you know, this could be... Is there a chance of her upgrading from silver in Tokyo?
I would say it's slim, Ellie. There are two lifters here who have significantly better personal bests than Emily Campbell. One is Li Wenwen, that's the defending champion from China. She's the world record holder. She is the strongest woman in the world. No one has ever lifted more than she has. And if she's on personal best form, and Emily Campbell is, the difference is 49 kilograms across these two lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. And then you've also got Hee-Young Park of South Korea, 21 years old, making her Olympic debut. So she wasn't there in Tokyo when Campbell won that historic silver medal, but she's probably, you'd put her best of the rest. And we've just started the snatch attempt, so this is the first lift they do. And both of those two, they have to declare their opening weight that they're going to attempt before the competition starts. And both of those are starting at a higher weight on the barbell than Emily Campbell.
She's such a star, isn't she, Emily Campbell? When you see her compete, she's such a huge personality, and to be able to do what she does, I mean, I love watching a bit of weightlifting.
Oh, me too. It's the drama. They stand on a podium. They're surrounded on three sides by the crowd, and they've got a spotlight on them. So all eyes on them. It is just them and the barbell. And like you say, I think Emily Campbell, she's a big stage performer. I also really like that she sort of brings that kind of, the stereotypical powerful, gutsy side of weightlifting and powerlifting with the kind of more stereotypically girly side of look good, feel good, she says. And she has delivered on that front today, Ellie. We've just seen a glimpse of her in the warm-up area. She promised glitter and sequins, and she's got both. So we've got glittery winged eyeliner, and then in her hair, that was one of the things people really picked out about her in Tokyo, was the colourful buns. She went for blue and red, dyed her hair that day. Today, she's got colourful rope and ribbons tied into her hair in the colour of the Union flag. It looks brilliant.
And you do a little bit of weightlifting yourself, don't you? And you're pretty good at it. Well, I mean, I see the videos you post, and I think, blimey, you're not much taller than me, Katie. I mean, well, maybe you're a bit taller than me, actually. But actually, it's incredibly good exercise. It's also incredibly important to lift weights, isn't it?
Exactly.
If I could just interrupt, Katie, I think she can lift me, Ellie. I think
really?
quite. Yeah, and probably you
What's
you
your
hold
PB?
on to my legs.
Fancy, you're just talking nonsense now.
No, I'm not. I'm giving you a big plug. Listen, I've worked with some elite athletes in my life, and it was a pleasure working with you yesterday and a couple of days ago. It's very impressive. Don't worry about that. I'm telling the truth.
To give you a small sense, I mean, this is completely incomparable, Ellie, but they're doing the snatch at the moment, which is what is considered the more technical of the two moves. So it's a wide grip on the barbell. You have to take the bar from the floor to overhead, so above your head in one movement. You have to stand it up, hold that for about 3 seconds to indicate to the judges that you have control of that bar. I, at my very personal best ever, have managed 50 kilograms overhead. These women are starting. These are the lesser ranked lifters here. I'm watching Akmal of Indonesia lifting 110 kilograms from floor to overhead in one move. So that also involves a squat. So they dip and drive under the bar to catch it as low as possible, because obviously the weight is so immense that they want to try and not have to sort of heave the bar into the air. You want to drop underneath to catch it, and then they have to squat from that squatting position, stand it up. So I mean, the power is remarkable. It's so brilliant to watch.
I've got to say that we talk sometimes, don't we? Obviously we've got a lot of very talented athletes, ex-athletes on our team out here. People like Victoria, like Ali Kirbishley, Kath Mary, and so on. But actually, most of us are just kind of normal human beings. and Bunsey, we will occasionally talk about actually what sport would you be best fitted to do? What sport could you compete in the Olympics in? And I think Katie, with a bit of training, what do you think? Will you be her manager? Could we get to LA?
It's not just that. You know what I like about her, right? And imagine she isn't here, so I don't mind paying her a compliment. Okay, she gets really involved. And I like that, because I get really involved, and I hold my hands up, and so does Katie. And the other day when Bradley Sinding lost, she was sitting next to me fuming. I didn't talk. I stared down. I didn't talk to her for about 30 seconds. And that to me, I went, "You'll do for me." And we high-fived over that one. That's how I want the people I'm working with to be. Passionate and involved and upset when one of the GB team loses.
To be fair, Ellie, during our commentary yesterday, we didn't realise one of the engineers was filming us just for the amusement, because the gesturing from myself and Bunsey during that gold medal bout for Caden Cunningham, it was like we're pointing, we're moving, we're getting up from our chairs.
Avoiding shots, we're doing everything. Yeah.
God, goodness me. I tell you what, Tony, I'm thinking that maybe LA, 2028, because Katie's young. Bunsey is very, very competitive, and can drive her on. She's got plenty of time.
I'm a coach.
What do you think, Tony? It's the dream team for LA 2028.
Well,
with the weightlifting.
I'm in Katie's corner if she wants me. We've just won the gold medal here for the most miserable bloke at the Olympics. The camera stayed on him till he started to sing Sweet Caroline, which they've done as a karaoke. It took at least a minute. Right, we have action underway in a moment, by the way. It is crunch point for Emma Finucane in the women's sprint semi-final. She has to win her next race. But heat one's underway, Ali, at the moment.
Yes, and Leah Friedrich of Germany finds herself in the same position here. You hear the bell, last lap coming now against Hetty van der Wouw. So if Hetty van der Wouw of the Netherlands wins this race, then she is into the gold medal ride tonight. And Friedrich has work to do, the German rider. Up and out of the saddle, into the final bend there, shoulder to shoulder, come whizzing into the home straight in front of us, and Friedrich is going to get that one.
1-1.
So that will go to a decider, Victoria.
Oh yeah, that was good riding there by Leah Friedrich, but 1-1. Now it comes down to this final race.
Yeah, and as we've been saying, Victoria, over the last couple of days, plenty of times in your career, a bit like Emma Finucane now, stepping onto the track. Right, if she loses this one, she drops into the bronze medal ride, so there's still a chance to win a medal. She has obviously come here for gold, we know that, but you've been in this situation before. 1-0 down and won plenty of head-to-heads, 2-1, haven't you?
I have. I've probably won more competitions going to 3 rides than I have lost, which, that says something. Like, sometimes when the pressure's on and you really have no option, there's nothing to fall back on, that it just makes you focus on a different level.
She's up against Elise Andrews, the New Zealander, who rode brilliantly in that first race and looks super focused here. She's on the side of the track. She's got her arm around her coach, who's supporting her on her bike. We can't actually see her eyes, but that is proper game face on. What can Emma Finucane take from the first race that she lost, Victoria, into this one?
I think she was a little bit impatient when she came to run in on Elise Andrews' reel. She kind of got a bit too close too soon, and you need to leave a gap to run into. So I think that was maybe just a little bit of nerves, just getting a little bit too eager on the move. But at this level of racing, you can't just power around someone. You have to be, tactically very, very calm and considered, which is difficult to do. It took me a long time to learn. I definitely couldn't do it at 21. So what she's doing right here is incredible. I just wanted to see her be a bit more confident, a little bit more assertive on this race.
I think that's a really good point to make, actually, Victoria. We are watching a 21-year-old here for Great Britain competing in her first Olympics. Pressure is on now. Got to win this race to take it to the decider, and Elise Andrews of New Zealand, already a gold medalist in the keirin, remarkably broke her collarbone in February, is back from that injury, is recovered and racing brilliantly here. She is in the all-black New Zealand colours. They are so close to us, the riders here in our commentary position, down on the start line, stock still like cycling statues. The whistle blows and Emma Finucane just gently leads this out and rolls her bike down towards that thick blue line on the inside of the track, the Côte d'Azur, not looking ahead at all. So all you can see is the mirror of her visor as she keeps an eye on Elise Andrews, who, as we keep saying as well, Victoria, these New Zealanders in these outfits, they do look intimidating, don't they? The all-black outfit.
They do.
With the silver fern.
They always do. And Elise Andrews, she's 24. She's got a little bit more experience. She's raced at this level a little bit more frequently, and that will definitely be an advantage because this is a big stage and it is a big step up from anything else you'll ride in your cycling career. Yeah, no, that is also a good point. Emma Finucane is the world champion, but this is the Olympic Games. This is the pinnacle, and this is a race that Emma Finucane has to win. So we're coming into the home straight, 2 laps to go after this. The pace is building steadily. For the first time here, Victoria, Finucane is out of the saddle and just driving the legs forward a bit. Yeah, I'm hoping that she'll pick up the speed a little bit sooner in this ride because we know that Elise Andrews has a really good standing lap, so I'd like to see Emma picking up some speed in the back straight, which she's doing. She's gaining a little bit more height as she comes into the bend with 1 lap to go. It is crunch time for Emma Finucane in the semi-finals of the sprint. Needs to win this lap, needs to cross the line first to take this to a decider. Andrews comes up on her back wheel into the back straight. Good pace from the New Zealander. Going on the outside of Finucane. Finucane working very hard to stay in it. Down the home straight they come. That's going to be tight. It's going to be Andrews. Andrews gets through. Emma Finucane will not win the gold medal here in the individual sprint at the Olympic Games. She will ride for bronze later this evening. I think she just had the edge coming into the home straight, but Andrews has raced brilliantly again, and she now, Victoria, is heading for a double gold in keirin and individual sprint. Yeah, she's obviously looking very confident out there. She's got the reassurance, she's got the form, she's got the experience, and she's going to be tough to beat. Yeah, Elise Andrews has beaten Emma Finucane. Emma Finucane will ride for bronze later on in the women's individual sprint. Yeah, disappointing. More reflection on that to come very shortly. Let's go to the Café and Ellie, though.
And let's go straight from here to the Palace of Versailles and Keirin Bryson in the modern pentathlon. Connor.
Now, Keirin Bryson has been beaten in her first bout in the fencing. This is a disappointment. This is a blow and will affect the time she gets in the laser run later on. I mentioned the winner stays on element to it. She was unlucky. She came up against the Italian Elina Micheli, who has now won 5 bouts in a row. So obviously Micheli is a very adept fencer. She's now taking on the Hungarian Michelle Gulyas. It's a 30-second bout. 1 hit wins it. Keirin Bryson at one stage thought she did. They stopped the clock. They looked at the replay, but it hadn't been a clean hit. And then Elina Micheli was able to do it. So having finished 13th earlier on in the show jumping, now having lost her first bout, Keirin Bryson finding herself up against it. I'm just flicking over my screen here to look at the overall summary, where at the moment she is still in contention, though. It'll be in the top 3 as things stand in the overall handicap times, with still the swimming to come before the laser run. So Keirin Bryson, very much a medal hope for Team GB here at the modern pentathlon.
Thank you very much indeed, Connor. So yes, all unfolding over the next few hours. It's nearly midday here in Paris, so it's nearly lunchtime, Tony, on a Sunday. It's nearly 11 o'clock back home in the UK, and we've not got long to go, have we? We're counting down to the end of the games.
Absolutely.
There's still plenty of interest in the velodrome.
There is. Hope you're enjoying the coverage this morning, and a little bit later, once all the activity kind of fades away, we're going to reflect on Team GB's achievements at the Olympics and play some of the best bits as well. So something to look forward to there. We've got the women's Omnium Tempo race next, which I'll let ABB explain what's about to happen before. As a quick just reflection, as I said, on Emma Finucane not making the final in the women's sprint. Guys, she's got a gold in the team sprint and a bronze in the keirin. If she gets a bronze in the women's sprint as well as a 21-year-old, it's not too shabby, is it?
No, it's a brilliant success story, really. I mean, I think if someone had asked her if that was going to happen 2 years ago, she wouldn't have thought it was possible. So I think she should be really pleased with that. I mean, she hasn't won the bronze yet. Let's not count our chickens, but I think she's in with a very good chance of it. You know, I'm always an optimist. I can't help myself. But I thought personally, I know that physically, we look at the times, we look at the qualification, physically Emma Finucane has the ability to win that race, but I think it might just be a little bit overwhelmed by the scenario, maybe by her competition being so cool and calm and confident and slightly more experienced than her. So Elise Andrews has been on the scene a lot longer. She's raced at this level before. I'm wondering whether it's just kind of, I don't know, the enormity of this stage and the pressure. Who knows? Well, it'll be interesting to find out, but I know she's got the physical ability, and she will be back.
Yeah, we say 21. We all automatically, when you hear these ages, you think back to when you were that age.
I was
and
a disaster at 21, quite frankly. I was starting out in my track career, and I got on the track and was so intimidated by all these enormous, muscly girls, and I felt right out of place. It took me until I was 25 to really find my confidence in the sprint event. I felt like a total imposter, to be honest. So yeah.
The
25.
most energetic thing I did at 21 was dance to Wham. So
me and you both, Tony.
Yeah, do you like a bit of Wham?
Oh, I love a bit of Wham.
I love a bit of Wham too.
I know all the words to the Wham rap.
Do you?
But I won't do that right now.
Come on, then. Come on,
no.
Come on. You cannot.
No, because I need it playing, Tony.
That.
I need it playing in the car loudly while I'm driving.
Oh, well, look, we've got 2.5 hours to fill on this show. I'm sure back in the studio now they can sort that out.
Set myself up there.
Beautiful.
Tempo race, Tony, is just getting underway. This is the second event in the women's Omnium. Just to get people up to speed, Nia Evans riding for Great Britain in this. Really frustrating start to the event for her. In the scratch race, which is a straight race over 30 laps, it was a real sort of bunch finish, everyone jostling for position, and she got taken down coming into the final bend, sort of heading for the home straight, so only took 1 point from that race, which makes the overall event very difficult. There the gun goes. This is another 30 lapper. This is called the tempo race, slightly unusual one this, so we're going to see 5 laps of them going round Victoria and sort of, you know, building a rhythm, building speed, jostling for position, and then the last 25 laps there is 1 point available for winning a sprint. So every single lap you're going to get a sprint, and to win this race you need the most points at the end of it. So the winner of this race will take another 40 points to go to their overall total. But this is also a race, Victoria, where if you go and take a lap or try and take a lap, you can pick up 20 points. So there's a real advantage to be had if you can get out and take a lap on the field.
This is a tricky race though for me, because I feel like although you're going to take a lap and put all the effort in to take a lap, that's only going to affect your overall standings in this one
race.
event. So I feel like you've got to be very economic in this race, and I feel like a lot of riders don't particularly enjoy this because effort to reward is kind of out of balance really in some ways, whereas the points race, if you go for a lap, you know that 20 points is going to be well earned and make a difference to the overall standing.
Yeah, so the points race is the last event. It's the very last race we're going to have in the velodrome tonight, and as Victoria says, your 20 points then actually go to your overall score. If you take the lap here, like one of the riders is trying to break away and do at the moment, I think that's the Irish rider, Lara Gillespie. So she's suddenly made a burst from the pack, and there goes the bell. So immediately she is going to win the first sprint and take a point, but her overall aim is to try and get all the way round, catch up with the peloton and take a full 20 points. But I think the point you're making, Victoria, is those 20 points only benefit her in this race, and actually what it takes out of you trying to do this.
Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly what I was trying to explain.
Yeah.
Probably you explained it a lot better than me.
No, sometimes I just have to think out loud to sort of explain it to myself to check that I'm getting it right. So that's the first sprint. Now Lara Gillespie's in a great position here, because here we come. She is like half a circuit ahead of the rest of the riders, and now, to my mind, this is another sprint and there's another point available. Although I didn't hear the bell go. Yes, she's taken 2 points for 2 sprints. She is going to keep picking up these points
until she makes contact.
With the back of the peloton. Let's have a look for Nia Evans as well. She's just cycling around in the GB, dark blue colours, luminous yellow helmet, right at the back of the peloton. Lara Gillespie having to work really, really hard, but she's made almost 3/4 of the velodrome on the field, so she's got about another 50 metres or so to do. That is a really good effort to make that ground in that time.
Really good effort. I mean, to make a move early on in a race is risky because you don't quite know what the pace is going to do from this point. It's always a fast-paced race right through these last 20 laps. So, great work from Lara Gillespie. I think she's officially made contact with the peloton.
Yeah, in the home straight in front of us.
Well done, Ireland.
Still picking up the sprint points, but now, of course, Victoria, we should explain that even though she led the race, she's back in the peloton, so the front of the race actually becomes, I think this is the German rider who is flying round into the home straight here. I beg your pardon, it's Jennifer Valente, the Olympic champion. So she immediately starts picking up sprint points. So Lara Gillespie leads this race on 24 points, and Valente has just scored a point. And now we're going to have some proper sprinting here, competitive sprinting, as the rest of the riders try and pick up individual points.
Yeah, but at the moment we've got a small breakaway of Poland and Australia and USA, Canada and Denmark on the chase.
Trying to close it down.
Not Denmark, actually, Norway. Apologies.
18 laps to go. The overall leaderboard before we started this race, Jennifer Valente, the Olympic champion, took the full 40 from the scratch race, and she is right at the front of this at the moment. Maggie Coles-Lister of Canada, 38 points overall, and Georgia Baker of Australia on 36 points overall. Nia Evans only on a single point. So Valente of America, Pikulik of Poland is out in front, and the Australian rider Georgia Baker. Those are the three, Victoria, who are trying to get away from the peloton. 16 laps to go, and they are probably about straight ahead, aren't they?
They are, indeed. And the peloton is not in any order to really put a chase and attack in to close the gap down. They're all looking around at each other, quite high on the boards above the pursuit line, not willing to make an attack.
And the nice thing for these three, so Lara Gillespie had to try and take the lap on her own, but for these three, I know you're competing against each other, but you're working together as well, aren't you?
That's it. So dividing the work between three makes it much easier to gain a lap, and actually the ideal situation is a small group like that, so you don't benefit too many people, but it makes you all benefit.
Yeah, so what you'll see here is Georgia Baker, the Australian. She's done a lap at the front. She then swings up the banking away to our right. Let's Pikulik of Poland move in front. Valente stays on the back wheel of Pikulik. And these three riders are all about to take a lap as well. So these are going to be the big point scorers in the women's tempo race. 13 laps to go, and still the sprint points are racking up for these three riders at the front of this race. Lara Gillespie clear in front on 24, but that will be about to change once these three catch the peloton.
Yep, the group has strung out a little bit.
Oh yeah, we've got a second break on, haven't we? We've got Stenberg of Norway. We've got the Dutch rider, Maaike van der Duin, is also in that breakaway. Lotte Kopecky, now watch her throughout this entire Omnium. Already has a bronze medal in the road race at this Olympic Games. Hugely experienced rider in these sort of events. And Amalie Deriksen of Denmark in the bright red away to our left-hand side. The three leading groups still haven't quite made touch with the back of the peloton there yet, so they're still picking up the sprint points. They're not picking up the full 20 for taking the lap. We have 11 laps to go, and this really has now, Victoria, spread out into three quite distinct groups. Nia Evans, I can see, is on the move now on the back straight, and she is trying to get to this second group of riders led by Deriksen of Denmark.
Yeah, don't want to let that group go, because I think, if those riders, those big names, get near the front of this bunch, then it's game over. But still, Australia, Poland and USA in the chase group not quite made contact.
No.
Still.
And laps running out as well. Do you think they're going to get there?
I don't know.
Not sure.
But they're picking up points in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. Lara Gillespie leads this particular race. Nia Evans has gone on her own here now. She's broken away from the peloton, and she is chasing the other three riders, Poland, USA and Australia, to try and catch them. I mean, she's going to do very well to try and make an entire lap on the field here. I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm not even sure she's going to be able to get herself in a position to pick up some sprint points, having been knocked down in the first race as well. But let's see what she can do. Head down in the home straight in front of us. 7 laps to go, and still Lara Gillespie is leading this particular event in the Omnium and looking to take 40 points.
It looks like New Zealand have decided they're not willing to let Nia Evans get away from the front of the bunch, and they've put in an attack, and a few other riders, Canada there, Ireland again and Italy, all trying to close the gap. The field is very spread out at the moment. Still
our leading three are Pikulik of Poland, Baker of Australia, Valente of the USA. I think they're finally about to make the catch here. 5 laps to go, which will bang them all up the leaderboard with the sprint points they've collected and move them above Lara Gillespie of Ireland. Nia Evans is all on her own at the moment on the back straight, not picking up any sprint points at the moment, so we'll see how many she picks up overall by the end of the race, depending on where she actually finishes and crosses the line.
It would be really good if these 3 riders make contact, because then she would be the front of the group and be able to pick up some points. But unless these 3 riders catch up with the back of the peloton, get their points, she's going to earn nothing from doing this.
No, they're not going to do that. I don't think so. They're easing off, aren't they? Yeah, they're just taking the sprint points at the moment. We have got 3 laps to go. Nia Evans giving it everything. Still 2 big events to go. The elimination race is up next. That is an absolute cracker to watch. So entertaining inside the velodrome. And then the points race to finish. 2 laps to go, and it is still Pikulik of Poland, Baker of Australia and Valente. But that's half pace, Victoria. They're cruising. They're done, aren't they?
They're match sprinting now, really.
Right.
They are match sprinting, so they want to try and prioritise who's going to get the points, the best points, the 5, the 1 point here. Who's going to get 1 point? They've got 1 lap to go, 1 point.
Bell for the last sprint. Lara Gillespie is going to take the 40 points for Ireland in this event. She's the only rider that's been able to take a lap. At the moment, Pikalik has 8, Valente has 8, and Baker has 4. We've got Pikalik and Valente in a sprint coming into the home straight, and Valente is going to win that sprint, and so she will take 38 points overall. So the Olympic champion here, Victoria, has taken 40 points from the scratch race and 38 points from the tempo race, so she's very much in the driving seat.
Yep, she'll be in first position going into the next round of this Omnium event, and quite easily. She looked very comfortable there. So, unfortunately, no points in that race for Nia Evans going into the next race.
No, so tough start for Nia Evans. Knocked off the bike in the scratch race, Tony, and not amongst the sprint points there. So we'll have a look at overall classification in just a second, because the computers are updating at the moment. We can only see the results at the moment of this particular race. But certainly we know that Jennifer Valente of the USA is in the gold medal position and riding strongly.
ABB, Vic, for now, thank you very much indeed. Yes, they're not going all Nia Evans' way in the Omnium. Emma Finucane is into the bronze medal race off in the women's sprint, and Jack Carlin and Hamish Turnbull here in the velodrome are into the semis of the men's keirin. So medal prospects still await us, hopefully. Also, the man who started the Olympics commentating on the Minions may end it by doing the wham rap. I think there's only me in Britain wants to hear it, but I'm going to keep pushing that. We shall see if we can get ABB to do that before the end of the show. Loads more action to come this morning, loads of reflection as well on Team GB's achievements here at the Olympics before we disappear off air as far as the Olympics is concerned for good in a couple of hours time or so. Right, let's break for the news on 5 Live. Here's Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Tony. Good morning. The Business Secretary, Jonathan Reynolds, has told 5 Live the prison system has the capacity to take people convicted of violence following the recent riots. He agrees with the Justice Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, who says the effects are going to be felt for years. And he wants insurance claims dealt with quickly so businesses can get back on their feet.
The response has been so swift on the policing and judicial side. I want the recovery to be successful as well. So there's 2 key things as part of that. First of all, for where businesses are insured, I want to work, and I am, as you've said, with the ABI, to make sure people are getting their claims dealt with swiftly. But most of all, what we really need is people to go out and support their local high streets this weekend, this week, and in the months ahead.
The first of 3 funerals for the girls fatally stabbed in Southport will be held this afternoon. 9-year-old Alice da Silva Aguiar will be laid to rest at St Patrick's Catholic Church in Southport. Axel Rudapagana, who's 18, has been charged with 3 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder. Several police officers have been injured during disorder in Londonderry. Petrol bombs, fireworks and stones were thrown by nationalist youths last night. It followed a major police operation in Derry surrounding an annual Protestant parade. There have been explosions in Kiev overnight, with the country's military saying air defence systems have been activated against Russian missiles. The governor of the Kursk region of Russia says 13 people have been injured by debris from a Ukrainian missile. Ina Sovsun is an MP in Ukraine.
Now we are seeing that actually the Ukrainian army can fight back, and that there are vulnerabilities among the Russians. So it does, of course, boost the morale inside the country as well. And we hope it shows to the world that we can fight back, and the world should be supporting us.
Kamala Harris says too many civilians are still being killed in Gaza. The US Vice President has been speaking about the issue on the election campaign trail. More than 70 people were killed in an Israeli airstrike at a school which sheltered displaced Palestinians. Israel insists it was targeting Hamas leaders. And beekeepers on the Isles of Scilly say they've finally proved that male bees cross the sea to find new queens. An experiment called Game of Drones used coloured dots on the insects to indicate different islands.
On BBC iPlayer. We're all going on a summer holiday. 4 celebrities and their loved ones travel from the Amazon to the Andes.
This is something that we will never forget.
But with no flights, no phones and no bank cards, this is no holiday. Kelly Brook.
Oh, this is going to be brutal.
Scott Mills.
One more day like this will break us.
Collar Bikini.
I wouldn't even call it a race anymore, it's a test.
And Jeff Brazier are stepping up to the challenge.
We're walking in the middle of nowhere.
Celebrity Race Across the World starts this Wednesday on BBC iPlayer. Paris 2024, the Olympic Games.
With Eleanor Oldroyd and Tony Livesey.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Final morning here in Paris in the bright sunshine closing ceremony at 8 o'clock tonight. Couldn't be more of a contrast in the weather from the opening ceremony day. Katie Smith is watching the weightlifting final. Britain's Emily Campbell looking for a medal.
and she has just had her first attempt, Ellie, in the snatch. This is the first part of the Olympic weightlifting. They contest 2 different movements. Snatch, this is the really complex movement where they take the bar from the floor to the overhead position in one swift movement. Then we will have the clean and jerk, but her snatch was fantastic. First time up, 119 kilograms. She made it look like it was nothing, and in fact I think she's going to be out next. So just to explain, there's a lot of chopping and changing in weightlifting, and I was talking about this on breakfast earlier. There is a backstage battle going on with this as well. So we see the front stage, we see the weightlifters, of course, on the platform lifting these weights. Behind the scenes, their coaches are ferociously trying to almost, it's like an auction. So they're trying to outbid each other. So everyone has to declare a starting weight. And then once other athletes start lifting and we can see how they're progressing, what weights they're going for, the coaches will then try and outbid each other. So they'll change the weight. They'll then go up by a kilo, or they'll potentially say, actually, we think we've gone too low. So Emily Campbell declared an opening weight of 117 kilograms, which is what she started at the Commonwealth Games in 2022 when she lifted her personal best. And here some of the athletes were starting to produce those sorts of similar numbers. So her coach said, no, we're going to go in at 119. She lifted that incredibly easily, and what he's done here is he's now changed her second attempt. It looked like she was going to go for 120. She's now going to go for 123. So that means she waits in the call room, in the warm-up area now, as other athletes have to come back if they're trying to lift weights lower than 123. They are having to come and do that first. So it's quite complicated. It's quite a movable feast. But one thing I just wanted to add, we were talking about Emily Campbell's looks that she likes to put together for her competitions. Earlier, I only had seen a shot of the front of her outfit in the warm-up area. When she came out onto the stage, what I realized is she has these ribbons and plaits of red, blue and white weaved into her hair. She also has all 5 Olympic rings dangling from the back of her head as well. It's really something. I'm sure it's up on social media already, so go and have a look at that. But she's putting on a show in her outfit. She's putting on her show on the stage, and so far so very good for Emily Campbell. But those heavier weightlifters, Lee Wen and Hee Young Park, these are the 2 we'll be looking out for. They are yet to lift yet in this Olympic final.
Buncey's loving this, aren't you? We can see pictures of Emily now.
I'm a real secret. I was talking to Katie about it. I'm a massive weightlifting fan. At the XL, you had the ability at the XL when we were in London to just drop downstairs and walk underground and pop up 200 metres later in the weight room, in the weightlifting. And there's a couple of things that I'd like to ask. It's a very fast car driven by a very flashy French couple.
There's
I love
some
that.
boy racers down this road
they've come
outside our cafe.
They've come back to scare us. Katie, you know that weight room? I love the idea of that weight room. Do they have the weights that they're putting forward almost in an envelope? But is there a point where they cross the line where it's no longer juggling? That once they go across that sort of metaphorical line, is that the weight they have to start at?
No, not at all.
I'm fascinated by the weight room.
I'm similarly fascinated, and what I love is they keep showing us shots of it. And what I was looking at was Emily Campbell's coach from Great Britain quite literally peering over the shoulder of the other coaches, watching what numbers they are writing down so that he can go back and say to the judges, right, I'm ripping up that original 117 kilograms I told you, and I'm going to put down 119. There are no rules here. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and any sport where they have some skullduggery, legal skullduggery like that behind the scenes, I'm a massive fan of. I just love that idea of that. And also, can we just say how brave it is when they walk out, they go up those steps and they leave behind their coaches who slap them on the back. Up they go, and at that point, it's one of the most raw and naked of Olympic sports weightlifting. It really is.
Can you imagine all those eyes being on you, Katie, when you're doing your weightlifting in the gym in 4 years' time? in LA, because this is happening.
Buncey's just left me in the corner. He's given me my smelling salts, and I walk up to the platform. I think in some ways, weightlifting, it is a performance sport, isn't it? It's about the show. I really like that Emily Campbell's talked about this before. We said about the coaches putting in the different weights that they're lifting. She says sometimes she doesn't actually know what weight is on the bar because she has complete trust in her coaches. And if anything, I said this earlier on breakfast, I think that might help you as an athlete. If someone else has told you, you can do this, I don't want you to even think about the number of plates I've placed on either side of this steel bar. I know you can get this up into the air. Then I kind of think I'd say, yeah, of course I can. Here we go.
I mean, I love it. I love that attitude and that, that confidence that you have. And I know that the Bunsey you're going to have in Katie in 4 years' time.
Absolutely.
Back to you, Tony.
Kate to have the 5 Live logo woven into her hair. That seems to be at least the level of dedication required. Minimum work on a tattoo later. Right, here in the velodrome, we already know that Emma Finucane's in the bronze medal race in the women's sprint. Who will the New Zealander Elise Andrews face in the gold medal race? The other semi-final deciders underway, Alistair Bruce.
Yeah, we're about to find out in 2 laps' time. So this is a decider. This is Germany's Leah Friedrich against the Netherlands' Hetty van der Wouw, who's in the bright orange. Edwin van der Sar, former Manchester United goalkeeper, Dutch international, is in the velodrome watching this. What do we reckon here, Victoria?
I'm quite hopeful. I like what Hetty van der Wouw has done so far. She's looking very dominant at the moment. She's leading the sprint and she's decided to accelerate, but Leah Friedrich is coming up to the rear wheel there, trying to get shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, what a race in the decider here to get into the gold medal ride. Leah Friedrich, the German, coming down fast down the home straight. She'll get it. She's through. Hetty van der Wouw will race Emma Finucane for bronze later on, and Leah Friedrich, well, that's what you used to do, Victoria. Went 1-0 down, then produced the goods, won the next 2 races, and she goes through to the gold medal ride against Elise Andrews. That was good sprinting.
It was good sprinting. I think that's experience that came through there in that ride from Leah Friedrich.
Yeah, just took away the old... I was about to give it old powwow van der Wouw, Tony, but unfortunately she didn't win, so that's going to have to wait another 4 years. Well, I've done it anyway. By the way, Nia Evans, 20th overall out of 22 in the women's omnium, so she took 6 points from the tempo race we were just commentating on. Even though she didn't pick up any sprint points, that is where you finish in the race. You pick up your points there, but 7 points. She is way down the leaderboard. In the gold medal position, we have Jennifer Valente, the American, on 78, Georgia Baker, the Australian, in silver on 70, and Maggie Coles listed, the Canadian, on 60. But of course, Tony, we also have, as well as Finucane going for bronze in the sprint, we have Jack Carlin and Hamish Turnbull on the way in the semi-finals of the men's keirin.
Good stuff. Vic, we've got room for one word because we've got to go. But Hetty van der Wouw, can Emma Finucane beat her?
Yes.
Cool. We'll enlarge on that shortly. Let's go back to the cafe and Ellie.
Yep, and we are on to event 3. Well, I was going to say 3 of the modern pentathlon, but we're going to come back to that in just a second because Katie Smith, what can you tell us?
Emily Campbell is on the platform. Snatch attempt number 2. She gets under the bar. There's a smile on her face as she stands up from the squat position. There's a real confidence about Emily Campbell today. That was another fantastic lift. 123 kilograms on the bar. Significantly as well, Ellie, that is 1 kilogram below her personal best that she set at the Commonwealth Games in 2022 of 124 kilograms. So what that tells us is Emily Campbell is in very, very good form here. She has 1 more snatch attempt, and as it comes up on my screen, she will be going for that equal personal best. So we'll see that in the next few minutes.
Thank you, Katie. So 3rd event of the modern pentathlon is underway in the Palace of Versailles, or outside the Palace of Versailles. It would be fascinating if they were doing it in the pool in the Palace of Versailles. I bet they've got one. Conor McNamara.
Yes, we are on to the swimming. So we've had the horse event, the equestrian, we've had the fencing. This is the swimming, and after this there will be the laser run, which combines running and shooting. And Carenza Bryson for Team GB, 25 years of age, will go in lane 6. This is the 3rd heat of the swimming, the 3rd and final heat. Now this is a 200-metre swim in a 25-metre pool. I have to say, tens of thousands of spectators here, Ellie, and I think they're all enviously looking on at the swimmers because it is a baking hot day. I think everyone would just love to plunge for a cooling dip into water right now. Carenza Bryson in her Team GB uniform, navy, red cap, just doing a few stretches, getting ready to go. Every half second that she can complete this under 2 minutes 30, she will get a point. If she was to go over 2 minutes 30, then every half a second above that she would lose a point. Points become very important going into the final laser run because every point is a second head start that you would get or you would lose over the rest of the field. So just looking at the times from the earlier heats, the fastest time we've seen was the Italian Alice Sotero, who has completed her 200 metres in 2 minutes and 9 seconds. But that has been comfortably the quickest that we have seen of all the competitors so far. Many of them taking close to 2 minutes 30. Let's see how Keirin Bryson fares here as she prepares to be invited up onto the dive platform to get the race underway. This is in the shadow of Versailles, the perfectly manicured green lawns and ponds and lakes in the background. The thousands of spectators looking on this, the women's final of the pentathlon. And here they go. Keirin Bryson in lane 6 is into the water quickly and trying to get propulsion and speed. We will get the breaks every 50 meters or so, up against opponents from France, from Hungary, Italy, China and Korea. Elodie Clouvel from France is in this heat, and she is on top of the leaderboard at the moment. So we'll get a fair reckoning here of how Keirin Bryson is going to do against the current leader as they come towards the end of the second length of this 25-meter pool. And we will get the splits any second now coming up on the computer as they turn. The Korean Seong Seung-min has done that first 50 meters first in 30.54. Keirin Bryson is at 32.29. That is the slowest of the 6 swimmers so far in this heat 3. Let's quickly nip to Katie Smith,
where it's an attempt number 3 for Emily Campbell, her last snatch attempt, and she is going for a personal best weight. She tells the crowd to just quiet down. She nods her head with confidence. Hands go either side of the bar, wide grip. Can she get it up? 126 kilograms. Yes, she can. She roars with delight in the middle of this stage. The South Paris arena erupts alongside her. That is brilliant from Emily Campbell. 126 kilograms on the snatch. She will now move on to the clean and jerk part of the tournament.
And back in the outdoor pool at the modern pentathlon in Versailles, Keirin Bryson has to dig deep here. She is coming 6th and last in this third heat, a time of 1 minute and 8 seconds through 100 meters. Remember, she's got to be inside 2 minutes 30 over the 200 meters as we now wait for the splits of 150 meters. She is still in 6th and last place, 1 minute 44.80. She's about 6 seconds off the leader from Korea, Seong Seung-min. Crucially for Keirin Bryson, Elodie Clouvel of France is 2nd place in this swimming heat at the moment, and she's set to pick up points that will give her an even bigger head start going into the final laser run as they come through the final 15 meters or so. The leaders in this heat, it's a race to the finish with Keirin Bryson clearly coming in last place, trying to make up ground. A race against the clock for her now. It's been a very close finish between the Korean and the French to win it. Keirin Bryson still plowing away, making it up towards the thing, 2:21.77. So she's inside 2:30. She will pick up 9 seconds, so what, around about 18 points or so. It is her most difficult event. It is not one that historically she times well in. Keirin Bryson has given it everything there in the pool, and we will wait for the breakdown now on the summary and the computers to see how this is going to affect her times. Right, here it is. She will go into the laser run in 7th position. Keirin Bryson will be 1 minute and 1 second off the leader, Elodie Clouvel. So that is a long way to make up for a gold medal. However, in terms of getting on the podium, currently in 3rd place is Seong Seung-min, the Korean who won that swimming heat, and she is 31 seconds after the leader, so basically 30 seconds ahead of Keirin Bryson. She has 30 seconds to try and make up in the laser run to come to get on the podium for Team GB on this final day of the Paris Olympics. And remember, the laser run, a 3,000 meter race, which you've got 4 pit stops where you have to stop running and shoot at a target, and you must hit the target 5 times with your laser gun before you can continue. So what Keirin Bryson will be hoping is that she's really quick at those pit stops, makes her shots quickly and gets running, and she's got to hope that the competitors ahead of her lose time. It is pressure because you know that the pursuit pack are coming after you. You've sweaty hands, you've a heavy heart rate, you're running out there, running on sand as well, which makes it even more durable. So going into the laser run, Keirin Bryson is still in contention, but she needs to put in one of the performances of her career in the laser run if she's to get on the podium for Team GB here at the modern pentathlon.
Wow, I think it's going to be nail-biting, Bunsey. I do like the laser run event in that because it's just, things can change so much in that time.
Barefoot in sand. and you have to stop your heart and then
they wear
shoot.
runners.
I think
wear
they
trainers.
are going to wear trainers.
Yeah, okay. It sounded like they were barefoot in sand. It sounded like they introduced a twist. I was thinking during that, I wonder with all of the modern sports, the different sports that have come in over the last 5 or 6 Olympics, I wonder if there's a modern pentathlon out there, and what would be the events in the modern one. It's a nice idea.
It is an idea, yeah. Well, just give us your 5 sports that you can put
let us know
in the modern pentathlon that don't finish anywhere, don't feature anywhere else in the
Ellie,
games.
can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of modern skills, I think it's how quickly can you take your phone out and get it on the camera app. I would definitely. I mean, that is one that I think several of the 5 Live team would compete well in.
Yeah, it's how you get your taxi driver to turn back in the right direction when they're heading out towards the chateaus of the Loire rather than to Roland Garros fancy.
I am biased, but that was gold medal style for me, if you don't mind me saying so. I conveyed to Pierre that I needed to be back there rather sharpish.
Tony.
Also, if we're talking about relating the games to modern life, what would you bite as part of your job if you won it? I suppose
as opposed to the medal.
The athletes are biting the medals. Yeah,
apparently, you shouldn't bite the medals because they do actually mark. They dent.
Oh no!
I was listening to an interview with somebody the other day who I can't remember. We had so many medalists at these games, but who was saying that previously, I think it was our 4x100 metres relay team, that previously they had actually physically bitten the medal and it had left teeth marks.
Not worth winning. What's inside them? Chocolate.
Tony, for you at some stage today, Tony, I do have the full details of the 200 metres obstacle swimming from 1900. Not now, but I've got the full absolute details, the comparisons of times between the normal freestyle. I've got some lovely stuff for you later on, Tony.
I shall be back with you in a moment. I'm just going to I'm going to produce the show myself now. We're being offered a gold medalist, so I'm just going to speak to Sophie Catewell in 1 second. We're putting headphones on. ABB and Vic, can you hear us?
We can. Hello, Tony.
Sophie, hello. My name's Tony. You're on 5 Live. Our commentator, Alistair Bruce Boy, is over there, alongside Victoria Pendleton. So any voices you hear in your head are not mine, if that's all right.
That's fine.
You've just come 5th in the women's sprint. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm really glad to end my Olympic sprint with a win. It was a bit of a tough day yesterday. I was super proud of how I rode, but it just wasn't quite enough to make it to the semi-finals. But yeah, I finished 5th at the Olympic Games. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Well, what's even cooler, I guess, is you've got a gold medal in the team sprint. That's quite cool, is it not?
Yeah, it's very cool. Not many people can say they're Olympic champion, can they?
No. So this for you now is the moment where it's all over. You can stand and reflect. How do you reflect on the games and that gold medal?
Oh, I mean, how do you reflect on something so cool?
Don't look at me.
No, I'm super, super proud. And it feels like just the start. It's been a really long journey for me to get here personally. There's been a lot of trials and tribulations, whether that's personal or as a squad. So yeah, I feel like we've put a big marker down for our first games as this newborn team sprint team for GB, and it's definitely not the end, it's just the start.
Can I bring in someone who actually knows what they're talking about? Victoria Pendleton.
Hello. Well done. That was really good, and so good to finish the sprint on a high. Just to put this in perspective, in my first Olympics I finished 9th with no team sprint gold medal, so you're already flying and you should be so proud of what you women have achieved so far, and I'm super proud and emotional about how well you've done, and I know you'll be back in sprint competitions and there'll be many Olympic medals around your neck, so just believe in yourself as much as we believe in you, and I believe in you.
Thanks. I hope my career goes the same way yours did.
It'll be better. It will be better, I guarantee.
Sophie, it's great to talk to you. What have you done with the gold medal briefly? We're told if you bite them, it can leave teeth marks. So where's yours?
It's been under my pillow all week.
That's it.
Yeah, in a safe place, and that's probably where it's going to stay for a little while.
Brilliant. Congratulations. Fantastic to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. British gold medal cyclist Sophie Catewell. We just heard the gun, Alistair.
Yes.
I take it. Well, I'm
perfectly timed, Tony.
There's a race underway. I can see it in front of me.
End of interview. We go straight into the men's keirin semi-finals, and we've got Jack Carlin in the first one. 6 riders out on track. Matthew Gleitzer of Australia, Christian Ortega Fontalvo of Colombia, Carlin, Shinji Nakano of Japan, Sam Dakin of New Zealand, and Mateusz Rudik of Poland. And now, Victoria, no second chances. You've got to finish in the top 3. If you do that, you'll be riding for a medal later on. And Carlin drew lane 1, so he's right on the back wheel of the Derny as the pace is building.
Yeah. that's a good position to be in. I really feel like when you're riding through this particular heat and 3 of you go through to ride in the medal final, you can be a little bit defensive, you can be a little bit careful, but you still must not leave anything behind, because you want to be in that main final, and hopefully you will be. There's a little bit of an attack coming already.
Yeah, that's Ruddick, the Pole, who's coming up on Carlin's shoulder. Carlin's still on the back wheel of the Derny. He's looking over his right shoulder. Still 3 laps to go. And Dakin, the New Zealander. Now, I think in his last heat, he really tried to take it out from the front, and that's what he's doing again.
Yep, and it would be a great wheel to sit on, I think, if that's the case. But it looks like there's going to be some counter-attacks.
Yeah, Ruddick, the Pole, is just on the right shoulder of Carlin. It's Dakin, the New Zealander. Glaitzer, the Australian, is dangerous as well. Let's see where Jack Carlin is now. Good position. Needs to go, says Victoria. Lap and a half to go. Jack Carlin is on the back wheel of Dakin. Needs to finish in the top 3 if he's going to make the keirin final. Yes. Carlin goes now. Yes. Carlin goes on the bell on the outside, and he leads this race, and he's got the pace, and he's flying down the back straight, and they're not going to catch him. They're chasing him, and he's moving away, Jack Carlin. What a ride in the semi-finals of the keirin. He cruises through to the final.
Yeah, I mean, he said he was looking forward to riding the keirin. He felt like he had more chance in the keirin, and just watching that ride there gives me a lot of confidence with him going into the final. What a great tactic, what a great performance there by Jack Carlin. Dominant.
Tony, that, and I don't know the second thing about it, but to the naked eye, to the untrained eye, that was grabbing a race by the scruff of the neck. Victoria said he's got to go now. He went then, and he was gone. And once you make the break, and if you time it well, they're not catching you. One of the best events we commentated on in Tokyo 3 years ago was Jason Kenny winning the gold in the keirin, when he shocked everyone, and he went so early, didn't he?
So early.
And hung on.
And it was, and it paid off. You know, you have to assert yourself on these races. You can't leave it to chance, and he hasn't left it to chance. Great job now with a chance to ride for a gold medal.
Yeah, he's in the final, Tony. So Hamish Turnbull on track next. We'll try and get into that final too. Should just say Matthew Glaitzer and Shinji Nakano both through to the final as well.
Good, and worth pointing out, we did discuss this earlier, it's just the look of the draw. Not 2 Brits in the same semi-final competing each other and sawing each other off at the knees as well. So Hamish has a good go now.
Yeah, he does. But also, great news, because they can both easily make the main final. Yeah. So let's hope for 2 GB riders in that first race.
Should just say as well there, Tony, Sophie Capewell, you were just speaking to, the race she was in there was for the sort of minor placings in the sprint, but she was desperate to win that. I thought that was really impressive, that to come through in the final straight and finish 5th at the Olympic Games is plus the gold medal in the team sprint.
Yeah. You sometimes see people get disheartened when they get knocked out the sprint, and riding for the minor final is something like a labour. They can't really commit to it. But I always think that finishing on a high, even if it's a minor final win, is a good thing. And she took a couple of scalps in that race. Emma Hinsett in there, like a couple of years ago, I don't think she would have thought she'd be beating her. So yeah, great race by Katie Capewell.
I've won my last race. That's what she said, and that's it. Win what's in front of you.
That's it. Sophie Capewell, they're just totally holding on to the end, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, Sophie Capewell, I think is what you were trying to say.
I'm trying to cope here. Is what I'm trying to do. I'm coping.
Right, come on then. British flags flying, the Union flags on the far side of the velodrome. This is the second semi-final of the men's keirin. Jack Carlin is through to the final. We'll ride for the medals later on. In this semi-final, Hamish Turnbull has drawn lane 4. Matt Richardson, the Australian, is a real danger man. Silver medalist in the sprint. He has serious pace. There is Lucas Spiegel of Germany, Kaya Ota of Japan, Mohamed Sarom of Malaysia, and Harry Livreason of the Netherlands. And people who've been listening to the track cycling this week will know that name, Livreason, won't they, Victoria? He is, he's the Olympic champion, defended his title in the sprint. Now he's looking to win it in the keirin, and he, again, has to be the man to beat.
He has to be, but we know that Hamish is going to have his eyes on that yellow jersey and the orange one. It's their colours that stand out, and he just needs to get on a good wheel. And hopefully will be pulled through.
That's the tactics. Get on the back wheel of Livreason or Richardson if you can. Now the riders are just arranging themselves into shape, into formation, in a line of 6 on the back straight here in the velodrome, with the Derny in front of them, the moped ridden by the official in the different tones of green.
But I was thinking I might make a comeback actually at the Olympics as a Derny rider. I think it'd be nice to be involved again.
I could see you, Victor. I could see us commentating on you on the Derny, adding a bit of style. You like a bike, don't you?
I do. I've got my licence.
I know you do. Yeah. Right. Dernier is continuing to build the pace. Matthew Richardson, the Australian, he had to take the lead. He's on the back wheel. Then it's the Japanese rider, Ota. Then it's the German Spiegel. And then it is Hamish Turnbull, who needs to finish in the top 3 here if he's going to join Jack Carlin in the final of the men's keirin. Watch out for Livreason in bright orange, the big Dutchman on the back wheel of Turnbull. Now the moped comes round into the home straight, drifts off the track, 3 laps to go, and immediately Victoria, all the riders, there's a move from the German rider, and Livreason has gone as well. And look at Turnbull following Livreason, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that it was probably going to start quite early because people would feel they were up against it with such strong form in their heat.
Right, look out for Matt Richardson, the Australian. He's back in 5th at the moment. He has serious pace. Hamish Turnbull is in 4th. Livreason leads this as they come round the bend into the home straight. There goes the bell, and Richardson, the Australian, is on the move. Now, what can Turnbull do here? Turnbull right at the back. He's going to have to go round the outside in the back straight. I don't think he's got the gas for this. Hamish Turnbull. Oh, rider down. Turnbull's down as well. He was forced up high on the banking. He's flipped right over his bike and landed flat on his back.
Yeah.
And we're hoping is okay. He was out of the running there for a place in the top 3. Matt Richardson, Harry Livreason and Kaya Ota go through, but a nasty crash on the last bend there. And Hamish Turnbull is just being seen to at the moment. Quite sensibly, I think, Victoria, again, you'll have been in this position. I've seen him move his leg.
Yeah.
Just stay down for a second, assess how you are, and wait for people to come and help. This is a dangerous sport.
It is a dangerous sport, and also his feet will be clipped in, so he might not be able to get up until someone releases the clips and straps around his pedals and feet. So, yeah.
Yeah, so Hamish Turnbull will not be racing for the medals in the keirin tonight, but that is not the important thing. The important thing, Tony, is that he is okay. I can see him being spoken to at the moment. He's flat on his back. He's quite close to you, actually,
He
Tony.
is. They've just taken his helmet off, but what they're telling him, I mean, I'm lip reading, but they're just telling him not to move whatsoever. They're feeling his neck. He's got his arms crossed on his chest. I felt he indicated his ribs a little earlier. He's now sitting up, thankfully. In fact, he's standing up.
Yeah, brilliant.
And he's getting a round of applause, as you can probably hear as well. But he looks unsteady. That, and you say that, your feet are strapped in. People need to imagine that. There's no control once you're flying through the air on that bike and your legs are all entangled. He's holding his chest, actually. I wonder if he has hurt his ribs, because he crashed into the wall.
Slow motion there. Oh,
It was the German rider who went down on the inside. He's still receiving treatment at the moment. That's Lucas Spiegel. And then Turnbull was forced way up the banking, wasn't he? Right up towards the balustrade, away to our left. And then came tumbling all the way down that steep bank to the bottom. Both riders on their feet, which is really good to see. Applause from the fans as well. Oh, Turnbull is sore, isn't he? You can see.
I mean, it's exposed all, I think, his back, and the skin suits are very thin, and that track is very hard. So
his suit's all ripped down the side. He's walking right past me now. Yeah, from the underarm to his short level, it's all ripped down.
Oh wow, yeah, that's bad.
Oh wow.
So it's
smiling.
Like the friction is like almost melts the skin suit.
Oh,
so it
down
just
his arm as well.
Disintegrates.
In fact, it's all of his back. Now I see him, the whole of his back of his suit has ripped off. That's grim. Listen, we've got to get off to the modern pentathlon, but he's walking off the track. If any of his relatives and friends are listening, he looks fine, but superficially that wasn't great. Right, let's go off to the Cafe and Ellie.
Yes, well, we're sitting here. The sun has moved around, so we're in a little bit of a breeze, a nice shade here. I'm thinking maybe another coffee for you, but I think you've had enough coffee.
No, one more.
One more.
It's a long show. It's a horrible thought, that idea that the skin suit burns off, so that the actual grazing has got parts of the suit in it, and they have to be tweezed out. I really hate that thought.
That is awful, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to head back to the Palace of Versailles, because the final event in the modern pentathlon is about to take place. And Conor McNamara, I know you had your first experience of watching this event yesterday in the men's final. Everything can change over the next few minutes.
Yes, this is epic. So Elodie Clouvel has just set off running. 13 seconds after she started, Michelle Goulias will begin. Then another about 16, 17 seconds, Song Seung-min of Korea will go. And basically it trickles down through the field, depending on where your position is in the leaderboard, how much of a handicap you've got to endure into this race. The Spaniard, Laura Herrera, who had a real torrid time in the show jumping, she will start 6 minutes after the beginners. That's how bad the handicap can be. But Elodie Clouvel of France getting a big roar as she's away into the first of the 600-metre runs. Then she will stop to take out her laser gun, and she's got to hit 5 targets before she can go again. And in total, she will run 3,000 metres, and she will have 4 attempts at shooting. Team GB's Karenza Bryson, 7th to go, 1 minute and 1 second off the leader, and she will be in motion just about now. There she goes, setting off in her dark Team GB outfit. She's got a white visor cap on today on what is a scorching hot summer's day. But the leader from France is already coming through 400 metres, so that's what the advantage she's been able to take from that 31-second head start that she had on Karenza Bryson. So about another 200 metres to go for Elodie Clouvel until she comes to the first laser stop. So she will pick up this gun, she will aim it, and it's funny, when you see it first you go, whoa, she's aiming at the crowd. Obviously no bullets in this gun, it's a laser gun, and she's got to hit these targets. It's brilliantly done, because when she hits one, it illuminates bright green so the crowd can hear. Now because she's French, they're going to go, way, ole, ole, every time she hits one. And certainly what Team GB's Karenza Bryson will be hoping is that it takes her some time to get all 5. Here she comes now, Elodie Clouvel, having finished her 600-metre run. She will run along, and she's going to go right to the end of a huge bank of laser guns. They obviously have to have loads of them there in case a lot of runners all come for the first time. And here she comes. 1 green is up, 1 roar from the crowd. Then a couple of misses, and she waits. Now, is that 2? No, it's another miss. She's stuck on 1. Now, this is good news for Team GB. Still stuck on 1, Elodie Clouvel, as already Michaelis Goulas of Hungary has caught up with her and beginning her. Now, 2nd roar, 3rd roar. She's up to 3 of the 5 shots. There's 4. 1 more and she can start running again, but another miss from Clouvel. And this has been slow compared to what we've seen in the other competitions. She is wasting time here and she's lost the lead. So Michaelis Goulas of Hungary is away, and still Clouvel can't get that 5th and final shot. How dramatic is this? You can imagine. She's got it. Now she's away, but she's lost time. She's at least 60 metres behind the Hungarian Michaelis Goulas, and this is the jeopardy in the modern pentathlon of the laser run, because your heart is pumping, you're shaking in the sunshine. You've got to compose yourself to be able to shoot, as a whole host of runners all arrive together at the laser run now, and including in these is TGV's Karenza Bryson, looking to make up ground on the leaders, and there's no doubt she's in medal contention here after that slow start by Elodie Clouvel at the first laser run. So this is the situation, the early stages of it. 3 more laser shots to go, but at the moment Elodie Clouvel having lost her lead to Goulas, and in hot pursuit is Karenza Bryson for Team GB.
Thank you very much, Connor. Wow, we're going to watch this. This is, I told you everything could change, and it has already. Bunsey, I mean, what a great, it is great to watch this. It's like the biathlon in Winter Olympics.
And the biathlon's one of my personal favourites, because you can get really close to the shooting. And how they're calming themselves down, I have no idea.
Absolutely. Let's go back to you, Tony. We will keep in touch with this, of course, happening at the Chateau of Versailles.
Yes, thank you very much, Ellie. We're here at the Velodrome. We've still got Emma Finucane to come in the bronze medal race. In the women's sprint, we've got Jack Carling going in the men's keirin final. But we saw a few moments ago Hamish Turnbull tumble out in the semis of the keirin. ABB and Vic were watching that. Vic, and I think we've got commentary to get underway, but Vic, did you have a nasty falls when you were riding?
Oh, plenty. I've had plenty of big splinters picked out of my body over the years. It's just part of it. You go sliding on the boards. People, I think, don't realise that they're not varnished, they're not polished, they're just raw sanded wood, so you pick up a lot of splinters and burns over the years and learn how to deal very well with those wounds. But also wearing very, very thin lycra suits doesn't give you much protection.
Bronze medal final underway, best of 3 in the women's individual sprint. Emma Finucane, looking to add a 3rd Olympic medal to her collection, is just following Hetty van der Waal, the Dutch rider, down the back straight, and both of them. This is quite cagey, actually, Victoria. So Finucane's leaving a couple of bike lengths. They're slowing down almost to a halt here on the back straight, and we've seen some real tense, tight battles between the Dutch and the British on track, and this one is going to be no different.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to try and put a track stand here. Could happen.
Oh yeah, they've stopped.
Yeah.
They've practically stopped. Finucane bounces the back wheel. She's
just to
right
prepare,
up.
just in case she needs to pull a track stand.
Sitting over there in the front row, you could actually pass her a drink if you wanted to. That is how close you are to the action inside the Velodrome. They move away, glide down to the Côte d'Azur, the thick blue band at the bottom of the track, inside of the track, and Finucane again just stalking
What I want to see here from Emma Finucane is patience in this attack. I really want her to encourage and push Hetty van der Waal forward into this sprint, but just to be patient on the attack from second position.
Finucane, who was beaten by Elise Andrews 2-0 in the best of 3 in the semi-finals, has the game face on. She is actually staring at her opponent right now. They're right in front of us. That has taken all that time to get through the first lap. Finucane goes.
I think that's. I think she felt like it was getting too close to the end of the race to be going so slowly. So picking up speed in the back straight there.
Yeah, wants to get one up in the best of 3. Finucane has the lead. Van der Waal ducks down on the inside. Finucane covers that, drops her left shoulder, and she's on the inside lane. Van der Waal is chasing, a few bike lengths back. Into the final lap they go. Finucane darts down the boards in the sprinters lane, has a good lead here, and looks to have the pace to hold off Van der Waal. Van der Waal is not coming alongside Finucane. Head down over the handlebars, takes the first race. She is one win away against Van der Waal from taking the bronze medal. What did you make of the ride, Victoria?
Oh, you want me? I
Yeah, go
thought
on.
Tony might step in.
Well, I think
there,
we'll get
sorry.
Tony's expertise afterwards.
Victoria, or me?
Oh, well, I feel we've got a special guest here today, haven't we?
Yeah.
What did you make of it, Tony?
Vic, what did you make of it?
I actually thought that it was a really good move. I think the race was stalling a bit with 2 laps to go, and that's very nervy, and really you want to get the gear moving because they're riding such enormous gears on this bike. You want to get it moving with a lap and a half to go, otherwise you're never going to reach top speed by the time you hit the finish line.
That was quite interesting, Tony, because with 2 laps to go, you know, they crawled round that first lap, and Finucane thought, right, I've had enough of this, I'm taking it out, I've got the pace, you're not going to catch me.
Yeah, it was a decisive move, a good move there by Finucane. Yeah,
what
I
I did think, Vic, and I proved to be wrong, so that proves everything, was that the Dutch had got an advantage there by making Emma go ahead. I thought that was the point. That's why she was stalling so much. So I thought that would be a disadvantage to Emma, but obviously not.
I think the biggest thing is about being assertive. Like most of the time, the person who makes the most decisive move and commits to it is the one that wins. So it can go both ways. You can ride it well. You can ride this track well from the front or the back. So it's whatever your personal preference is.
1-0 up, Tony. One more win, another medal for Emma Finucane. It would be a gold and 2 bronze at her first Olympic Games.
Yeah, as we said earlier, not too shabby. We can now just have a look at what she could have won, as they used to say in Bullseye. Asked.
When we were doing that at the start of the game, Tony, that seems a long time ago with our Bullseye quotes. Leah Friedrich against Elise Andrews. This is the gold medal ride. Again, it's the best of 3, so the medal is not decided in this race. Leah Friedrich was 1-0 down in her semi-final against Van der Waal, came through 2-1. Elise Andrews managed to beat Finucane 2-0. This could be really good, actually, I think, Victoria.
This could be good. I mean, on paper, Leah Friedrich is a faster qualifier, but I think that we've seen a lot of confidence from Elise Andrews on the track, so I can't call this one. Usually I would, but I'm not going to.
Not going to this time. Elise Andrews, Olympic champion in the keirin, is trying to do the sprint double and become the Olympic champion in the individual sprint. All in black, she's led this one off. Leah Friedrich in the predominantly white colours of Germany with the black shorts, the long white socks halfway up her legs, just pedalling gently to keep in touch with Elise Andrews, who's building the pace towards the end of this first lap and just coming rolling into the home straight. And all the time, Andrews carefully looking over her right shoulder. Both riders up and out of the saddle, and the pace starts to build, Victoria, with 2 laps to go.
Starts to build. Leah Friedrich trying to gain some height, come down the track, up track, weave around a bit, try and encourage some movement and commitment.
Steady build of pace, and here it comes. Suddenly they're going to explode into the home straight. There goes the bell. Elise Andrews still has the lead. First race in the best of 3. Friedrich steps on the gas, comes flying round that corner into the back straight. Andrews still has the lead. Now Friedrich goes on the outside. Who's got more pace here? Friedrich trying to get onto that wheel of Andrews. Andrews going to have enough, takes it across the line and wins the first race quite comfortably, Victoria.
Yeah, I mean, she was very cool and calm about that and showed a lot of form. So although her qualification time wasn't the best, her racing is definitely like one of the most consistent.
Tony.
Ellie.
Closing stages of the women's modern pentathlon in Versailles, Connor.
And Michelle Guyas of Hungary is scorching towards a gold medal. She was so quick with her final shoot 4, and she was able to keep ahead of the French lady Elodie Clouvel. Big roar from the French crowd as Clouvel got her 5th shot and was able to begin her pursuit, but she began the final 3,000 metre run 10 seconds behind Michelle Guyas, and you wouldn't expect the Hungarian to give up 10 seconds over this closing 600 metres now. The Hungarian television commentators alongside me are going absolutely crazy here, as back in 9th position, Team BGB's Karenza Bryson. She took 8 shots to hit her 5 targets on that 4th shoot, and she is a minute or so off the pace, 57 seconds off the leader going into these final 3,000 metres, about 40 seconds off bronze. Still so difficult to make up 40 seconds over just 600 metres, so this is going to be very difficult as Michelle Guyas goes through the finish line to win gold. Her father used to work in London. She was born in London when he was dispatched there, and she celebrates a gold medal for Hungary. It'll be silver for France as Elodie Clouvel passes through 9 seconds after. The race on for 3rd has been led by the Korean Song Sun-yin, as still back in 8th, 9th place thereabouts for Karenza Bryson as she makes her way through the final 200 metres or so of a run. Difficult day for Team GB, with Kate French having been ruled out of this final, having woken up feeling ill this morning, and having been disappointed, particularly with her performance in the pool. It was always going to be difficult for Karenza Bryson in this final laser run. She's trying to beat one more opponent coming around the closing stretch here. It might be 8th place finish for Karenza Bryson. Here she is into the final 20 metres or so now, and through the tape she goes, and it will be in the end 9th position for Team GB. So gold for Hungary, silver for France, bronze for Korea. A thrilling laser run, but unfortunately no repeat of the gold medal that Team GB won in Tokyo in this discipline 3 years ago.
Connor, thank you very much indeed, in the baking sunshine at Versailles, back here in the shade in the centre of Paris. So we've been tuned by Julien Laurent. Julien Laurent is back with us again. Hello
Ellie. Hello,
to help
everyone.
us through the
Hi,
final
Betsy.
hours of our coverage here in Paris. And you come in just in time for another French medal.
Yeah, another
silver medal for Elodie Clouvel.
Yeah, and another one for her as well after the silver in Rio in 2016. She's 35. This was the last chance for gold. And unfortunately, despite being the best in pentathlon for a very long time now, she failed again. 9 seconds is nothing really when you think about
the first shoot,
everything they go through in this incredible sport. I love pentathlon. It's brilliant to watch. I know, Ellie, you're an absolute expert in it. It's just a shame for her, because I think she really thought this year could be finally the year with gold, especially back home, and it was not to be.
Yeah. Can I just say expertise is relative?
No.
Oh, no.
I agree. I think the whole laser shoot thing is just cruel. It's just vicious. I mean, what I talked about this before, just do a simple thing. Stand up, sprint 20 metres, run back, sprint 20 metres, run back, and now try and talk. Now Now extend your right arm and imagine there's a gun in it. After doing that, that's 30 seconds of exercise. You can't even extend your arm, let alone shoot things. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is that it did used to start with a static shoot with pellets at the start of the day.
Easy.
And well, I mean, not easy, but you're not having to contend with a heart rate going like that. You know, you can. It's a completely different skill, and a lot of athletes, I think, dropped out after they changed that format. So anyway, it's a shame for Karenza Bryson, and we really feel for Kate French as well, missing out on today entirely. Lots more to come from Julien and Bunsey and me as we start to kind of get towards the reflective stage of these Paris Olympics on the final morning of the Games. But Tony, back to you in the velodrome.
Yeah, no medals yet for GB today, but maybe the velodrome will be the place where the first one's put on the board. They're torturing me here. They're now selling ice creams like they do at the cinema. They're coming down with trays into the crowd. Because I'm in the middle, I can't get anywhere. I'd have to have a 30-foot long arm to get a Magnum out of that tray. In the meantime, the Omnium is underway. ABB, Nia Evans going. No medals in this for us today.
No, I don't think so. Nia Evans has had a tough start to this crash in the scratch race. Finished well down in the tempo race. She's on 7 points, 20th overall out of 22 riders. This, though, is one of the most entertaining events you will see or listen to in the velodrome. or in any sport really at the Olympics. This is the third event of 4. The gun gets us underway. All 22 riders on track. We will have a sprint every other lap signified by the bell, and the last person across the line, it's called the elimination race, Victoria, the last person across the line drops out. So it's all about getting yourself in position. Nia Evans has got to be careful here. She's right at the back of the peloton and making sure you don't get caught out.
Yeah, and at the moment, Nia Evans needs to do something. She's got to go really high on the banking, or she's going to try and squeeze underneath, which is quite a risky thing to do.
I don't know. Evans. Oh my goodness, she might be out. She might be out in the very first elimination. Or Kopecky of Belgium, who's a big contender in this competition. The German rider Franziska Brauser goes out. Well, that was tight.
That was tight.
Nia Evans has got to be careful now. So the bell goes again, and that's the way it works. So we're down to 21 riders. Nia Evans this time, Victoria, out on the outside, moving into the back row. Better position?
It's better to be a little bit... I think you don't want to be right at the back. Some riders like to pick riders off, but now she's moving towards the front of the bunch just to be a little bit safer, because you can run out of space. If the riders fan out wide, you can end up trying to squeeze between wheels, which is quite dangerous and
yeah, well,
unreliable.
she's safe in that one. Let's see who's dropping out here. It is the Japanese rider this time who misses out last across the line, Yumi Kajihara, who was the silver medalist in Tokyo. So she's out of the elimination race early. Nia Evans is right at the front of the peloton here as we start the next sprint. Again, at the end of this event, if you win this event, it's 40 points to your overall score. In the gold medal position at the moment, we have the Olympic champion Jennifer Valente. She's 8 points ahead of the Australian Georgia Baker. Clutch of riders coming to the home straight. Last across the line this time, possibly the Mexican, I'm going to say.
Yep, Mexico is out. They've just announced that.
Called Victoria Velasco Fuentes.
Lovely.
So she is out, and riders dropping out all the time. So the race gets more and more exciting. Laura Kenny, who actually was Laura Trott when she won the gold medal in the Omnium in 2012 and 2016, was an expert at this, wasn't she, Victoria?
She was really good at picking riders off the back because she had a good turn of speed. She could accelerate in and around people and really catch them out. So, she used to ride this really, really excitingly.
Now that the Swiss rider is the next to go, Aline Seitz, but that's actually a really good point, because we are really watching endurance riders here, aren't we? More long distance riders. But if you've got that burst of speed, that sprint in this, that's crucial.
It really, really helps. It helps with points races. It helps with elimination races, because otherwise you've got to stay on the front and really just put a slog in to stay out of trouble, which is a lot of effort going into it. With 4 events today, it's a lot of effort to put in order to secure a place.
One more event still to come. Last day of the Olympic Games, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Jack Carlin will ride for a medal in the men's keirin final later on, and after this event, Emma Finucane will be back on track, and if she can win her race against Hetty van der Waal, she's 1-0 up in the best of 3. She will take a bronze medal in the individual sprint. Nia Evans tucked on the inside here, Victoria. Is that okay?
Place to be. I mean, just in terms of danger, it's a little bit dangerous to be on the inside. I wouldn't feel comfortable there. She's eased back. You see, to find herself a little bit more space there.
Norwegian rider Stenberg is at the back at the moment, and you can see her trying to make a move. Now, this is where Nia Evans got to be careful. She's on the inside, and you've got to keep your eyes to your right to check you're not being passed by loads of riders behind you. That's going to be tight.
I think it might.
Let's have a look.
Could be.
Oh, long delay.
No, just missed.
Nia Evans escapes again. Daria Pikulik of Poland drops out this time. Once they thin out a little bit more, I'm actually going to start counting them, how many we've got left on the track, because my mental arithmetic is not quite good enough. I've not been ticking them off as we go. I was expecting the bell to ring there. Is this not a sprint, or are we building towards...
Did I just hear Great Britain will be eliminated?
Did you, Victoria?
Yes.
Oh, Nia Evans, you're right.
Yeah.
Now, is that instead of Pikulik? Pikulik, hang on, let's just watch Pikulik here, the Polish rider, because she's still riding behind the peloton. No, she's back in. She's back in. Pikulik is trying to catch the group.
They've neutralised the race.
I see, to allow her to catch up. But Nia Evans is out.
Yeah.
We thought that was tight, that last one, didn't we?
I mean, it was obviously a photo finish. It took a bit of video playback in order to just see exactly who was the last rider, but it was an inch or so difference.
Yeah, I think we can safely say in terms of a medal here in the women's Omnium that Nia Evans is well out of contention. It's been tough for her. She does have a silver medal in the bag, which she won brilliantly with Eleanor Barker in the women's Madison, but she is not going to be on the podium in the women's Omnium. Right, the race is back underway. The gun goes. Let's try and count how many we've got left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16 riders, I think, Victoria, out on the track. You're not going to correct me there, are you?
No, they're moving around
Whatever
too quickly.
I say.
It's like impossible to count.
It is. It's actually like watching a a giant washing machine, isn't it, with all the colours being thrown around and around and around. Bell goes, we're into the next sprint. Jennifer Valente, Georgia Baker, Maggie Coles-Lister in the medal positions at the moment, heading into this event. Keep an eye on Lara Gillespie, the Irish rider as well, who did brilliantly in the tempo race to take the 40 points in that, and she's very much in contention in this elimination race as well. The Chinese rider Liu Jiali is the latest to drop out, and we're down to 15.
I actually like the way that Lara Gillespie of Ireland is like holding the front. She's really picking up the pace when necessary, but trying to stay near the front and out of trouble. So, very...
Ali Wollaston, the New Zealand rider, in a spot of bother here in the latest sprint at the back. While this event continues here in the velodrome, why don't we check in on the weightlifting with Katie Smith?
So Emily Campbell of Great Britain, who picked up that historic silver in Tokyo, is sitting in bronze medal position after the first part of this event, the snatch. She lifted a personal best weight of 126 kilograms, and this is going with the form books. If we look at where these other athletes ahead of her, Li Wenwen, the world champion, the defending Olympic champion, she sits top of the standings with Hyun Park there as well. So Emily Campbell in bronze medal position. We're moving on to the clean and jerk. She is yet to lift her first attempt.
Thank you, Katie. Into the latest sprint here in the elimination race. Third event of 4 in the women's Omnium. 14 riders left on the track. Lotte Kopecky still involved on the inside lane. The French rider is still there. I mean, all of them crossed the line at the same time. I've absolutely no idea.
I think it's Egypt.
The Egyptian rider Zayed, who is out. Now, to my memory, Victoria, at the World Championship, the riders actually have a panel on the front of their bike on the handlebars which flashes red. You don't get that here, do you?
No.
You just have to see your name announced.
They're relying on your name and flag coming up on the scoreboard, but also the fact that the announcer, you may be able to hear it. They have got helmets, they are riding close together, so it might be quite difficult to hear. And if that doesn't fail, there's a laminated copy of the flag that's held out furiously by a connoisseur.
On the inside of the track. Right, here we go. Latest sprint about to finish. Wollaston of New Zealand across the line in first place there. The key thing here as well, looking out for the people in the medal positions, Jennifer Valente, Georgia Baker, Maggie Coles-Lister, Amelie Dirksen in fourth, Wollaston, Gillespie. They're all still out there involved in this elimination race. So very much in the battle for the medals. It is thinning out and the excitement is building. Looking at the Dutch rider just heading into the back straight here, trying to take the lead. That's Van der Duin in this latest sprint. French fans getting excited about their contender, Valentine Fortin. All the riders are bunched again, coming into the home straight in front of us. Fortin's absolutely fine there, Victoria.
Yep. I think Ali Wollaston there of New Zealand, unfortunately squeezed out. I think she realised she had nowhere to go.
I think we've got about 11 left out there. Wollaston is about to drop out. And then there were 11. Victoria's going to count them up for me to make sure I'm right about that. Amelie Dirksen, the Dane, leads at the bell. Fortin of France, very much involved. Where is she on the overall leaderboard? I'll try and find her in a second as well. Not doing so well, actually, right down there with Nia Evans, who's already out of this elimination race. The Italian rider at the back of the pack here in a spot of bother. So is Fortin. I think Fortin's about to go. She is.
That's 10 laps to go now to the end of the race.
So the Italian rider, that's Letizia Paternoster, survived. 10 riders left on the track, 10 laps to go in the race, 10 sprints to go as well. 40 points available for the winner. Jennifer Valente in the gold medal position is still out there at the moment. Gillespie for Ireland, Victoria, still riding really strongly.
Really strong on the front at the very bottom of the track. She just squeezes up to when a rider comes on an attack, she just raises the pace a bit.
Here's Lotte Kopecky of Belgium, who will also be a medal contender, cruising into the home straight. Timed her run beautifully there in the back straight. The Italian rider Paternoster might be in a spot of bother. Let's see. Pikalik, who was out, back in, out again. So off you pop, Pikalik. Down to 9 riders. Elimination race in the women's Omnium. The sprints keep on coming, and now we're down to the real medal contenders. Tired legs as well, with a massive points race still to come as well, Victoria.
There is indeed, and actually it looks like at the moment Norway is in a little bit of trouble there with Anita Stenberg.
Anita Stenberg off the back. Dirksen of Denmark, I think, can see her there and is just going to have enough pace to hold her off, and Stenberg is going to be the latest one to drop out in the elimination race. And then there were 8.
They've actually chosen Ireland on the inside.
It's funny that you can get caught out there. Sometimes
really
on the inside
can.
It's tricky to see the other riders, isn't it, Victoria?
It is. I mean,
she's surprised. She's pointing at herself saying, "What, me? Really?"
Yeah. I think that was close.
Okay, Gillespie out. 8 riders left in this sprint. This time Stenberg, the Norwegian, in trouble off the back again. Kopecky, who won the bronze medal in the road race, has so much stamina, comfortably in front of the peloton here on the inside. Georgia Baker, the Australian, is there as well. As Stenberg got the gas to get down the straight, I'm not even going to guess that.
It was it Canada or Australia? I think it was Canada.
I think you might be right on Canada. That's Maggie Coles-Lister in the bronze
No
medal
elimination.
position.
If they
No
can't
elimination.
Decide, if they can't decide because it's too close.
Okay. Right. That could have been time for a little bit of the wham rap. I could have fitted in there before the ladies sprint, but we won't worry about that for now. Still 8 riders out on the track. Kopecky, the Belgian, out in front. Nia Evans out of this a long time ago. There will be no medal for Great Britain unless she has the most stunning points race of all time, which is the last event to come in the Omnium. The Canadian rider again, Maggie Coles-Lister, in a spot of bottom. No, she's not. Derrickson's mistimed it, and she's the one who drops out.
Yeah, and she'll be disappointed with that, I think, because obviously she's in 8th position at the moment in the ranking.
Yeah, 4th overall. She's going to finish 8th in that event, so she'll pick up a healthy number of points, but her rivals in the medal positions above her will pick up more. 7 riders, I beg your pardon, left on the track here as the bell goes. Coles-Lister of Canada in the white, blue and black, making her move down the back straight here. Stenberg, the Norwegian, staying in contention. Georgia Baker, the Australian, is trapped on the inside. This is going to be a tight one coming into the closing straight. They're not going full gas here, and they cross again all at once. I'm going to go
Netherlands.
on. Yeah, I'm going Netherlands. I agree with you. Yeah, Maike van der Duin drops out for the Netherlands. Jennifer Valente in the gold medal position is still out there. Georgia Baker, the Australian, in the silver medal position is still out there. Maggie Coles-Lister, the Canadian, in the bronze medal position is still out there, and they're pretty bunched, and now they go. 6 riders into the back straight. Is Stenberg going to be able to hold on again? It might be her against the Italian rider Paternoster. They're the 2 that are just being held off the back. Coles-Lister is falling off the pace a little bit. All the riders coming into the home straight, and Paternoster, Victoria, there just gave up the ghost.
Yeah, I think she realises she had nowhere to go in that one without expending too much energy at that point. So
The thing I like about this event as well, Victoria, if you're a spectator and you don't know velodrome racing, this is so easy to understand this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exciting as well.
Yeah.
It's quite an exciting race, although the crowd aren't fully behind this
buzzing,
right now.
are they?
They're not fully behind it right now.
Come on, everyone.
Come on, yeah.
It's the last day of the Olympics, don't you know?
Exactly.
Right, 5 riders left on the track. The bella's gone, and the 3 in the medal positions are still out there. Maggie Coles-Lister is in the bronze medal position. She's at the back of this sprint at the moment, and possibly in a spot of bother unless she can get past Stenberg, which she might be able to. She can. 4 riders left on the track, and the top 3 in the overall leaderboard are still out there. These points, Victoria, are really important.
They are incredibly important, and it's interesting to see in an elimination that you see the top ranked riders all in the last final laps in the elimination. Usually somebody gets caught out and kind of upsets the scoreboard a little bit, but this is...
Lotte Kopecky, the Belgian, down in 13th place. She's the outlier here, but you'd expect her to be very, very good in the points race as well. Right, this is a sprint on, and Georgia Baker, the Australian, is the one in trouble here. The riders are coming into the home straight, and Baker's at the back of the group. Can she get past in the home straight? Oh, wow, that was close. Belgium, Kopecky goes. So the 3 in the medal positions are all shoulder to shoulder in the back straight and riding for the big points at the end of the elimination race.
Yeah, it looks more like a minor final in the sprint now than it does an endurance race. They'll probably slow down in pace a little bit, become a little bit more cagey, watching each other.
Olympic champion Jennifer Valente, the American, just looking at her opponents all the time. Looks over her right shoulder. Georgia Baker is going to have a go down the back straight. Maggie Coles-Lister, the Canadian, has to go right on the outside here. Valente is holding them both off. Who is going to lose out in this sprint? Coles-Lister, I think. The 3 of them cross like dominoes there. Boom, boom, boom across the line. So it's the 2 riders in gold and silver medal position go head-to-head in the final sprint.
This is... I feel like this could be what goes on in the old... the points race, but the Canadian rider's delighted there.
Did you see that?
Coles-Lister is super happy.
I think she just spotted family on the back straight, and she actually had time, having dropped out of the race, to wave. That was a lovely moment. Valente is getting away from Baker in the final sprint. She's got an 8-point lead in the overall classification. Good sprint this as well. Valente up and out of the saddle, the Olympic champion, desperately wants to defend her title. She's won another event. She won the scratch race, and she's taken the elimination race as well. But Georgia Baker, the Australian, is right in touch. Those 2 will remain in the gold and silver medal positions, and Nia Evans is well out of this at the moment. Next up on track, Tony, Emma Finucane will be trying to win a bronze medal for Great Britain.
Yeah, absolutely. If she wins the next race, she wins bronze. Stay with us for that. Let's get the latest 5 Live news. Here's Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Director of Public Prosecution says some of the worst offenders in the recent rioting could face up to 10 years in prison. Stephen Parkinson has told the Sunday Times there'll be a new phase of cases with stiffer penalties. Nearly 800 people have been arrested so far. Lizzie Dearden is a Home Affairs journalist.
Some people are being jailed within 2, 3, 4, 5 days of being caught physically at the scene with footage, and they plead guilty and it's over very quickly. But we will start moving into a more complex space where people will start denying offences, or if more serious crimes are charged, then we might start going to full trial.
The first of 3 funerals for the young girls stabbed to death in Southport will take place this afternoon. Alice de Silva Aguiar will be laid to rest at St Patrick's Catholic Church in the town. There'll be tributes from friends, classmates and teachers. The Business Secretary Jonathan Reynolds says insurance companies should deal swiftly with claims by shops and high street firms which were damaged in the riots. He's written to the Association of British Insurers. 2 migrants have died while trying to cross the channel on a small boat. It happened this morning between Calais and Dunkirk. Around 50 migrants were rescued from the boat and the operation's still ongoing. President Zelensky has acknowledged for the first time that Ukrainian forces are involved in an offensive inside Russia. The governor of the Kursk region says 13 people have been injured by debris from a Ukrainian missile. Dr. Jenny Mathers is a Russian politics expert from Aberystwyth University.
War has moved into Russia, I think is the key takeaway from this. There is the danger, obviously the danger that Russia will lash out further, and this is almost certainly what the attack overnight on Kyiv was about. When Russia suffers setbacks on the battlefield, it tends to up the attacks on civilian populations in Ukraine.
And Israel's ordered the evacuation of more parts of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza, saying the areas have become combat zones. Tens of thousands of Palestinians are affected. Last night, the United States Vice President Kamala Harris criticised the number of civilian deaths.
This summer, immerse yourself in the world's greatest classical music festival. From the epic Holst and Beethoven to Sam Smith reimagined.
Won't you stay with me?
And a symphonic Florence and the Machine. The BBC Proms. Watch on iPlayer, listen on BBC Sounds.
The Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
With Eleanor Oldroyd and Tony Livesey.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome to the Velodrome. Ellie, Bunsey and Juliana in the cafe in Paris. We'll be back with them shortly. But here in the Velodrome then, this next race could give Team GB its first medal of the day. Watching Victoria Pendleton and Alistair Bruce Bourne.
We are going to be watching Emma Finucane, the 21-year-old Welsh rider, once again just rolling onto the track, the blonde boards at the Velodrome. The final day of the Olympic Games, and she is already 1-0 up on the Dutch rider Hetty van der Wouw in this sprint bronze medal final. So if she can win this race, and she won the first one pretty comfortably, I would say, Victoria, the bronze medal is hers, and that will be an extremely good week's work.
It'd be an excellent week's work. I mean, 2 bronze medals and a gold medal would be delightful. And I also think that I'm quite confident about this race. Although these are quite closely matched riders, I do feel like Emma Finucane can just get this sorted out. Let's just make it straightforward and simple and commit. Get it done.
Yes, if she doesn't win this one, then we do go to a decider. Emma Finucane is announced, and you can hear the cheers from the British fans. There have been plenty of them all week. British cycling is always brilliantly well supported, and they are rooting for her. Now, Emma Finucane will not be waving to family and friends as she goes flying down the back straight in this 3-lap race. If she can beat Hetty van der Wouw, the bronze medal is hers. Finucane leads us off, and the first one actually was very cagey and very slow around the first lap. Finucane's taken this out just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, which makes me feel a lot more comfortable, I have to say. It makes me very nervy watching them going slowly. But I think just getting the legs turning over, not too fast, not expending too much energy, but just a little bit more of a relaxed pace to start the race.
So they're just gently rolling around the back straight, looking like they're out for a Sunday afternoon cruise on the bikes. But this is a bronze medal final at the Olympic Games, and the Velodrome is wrapped with tension. Finucane leading into the home straight, building the pace gently, looking over her right shoulder, flash of bright orange in the rear view mirror, and that is Hetty van der Wouw, who's got to give it everything here. If she loses this, she's going to end up 4th, which is the worst finish, obviously, you can have at an Olympic Games. What are you making of it now, Victoria?
Well, I think they're going to pick up some pace, get a bit of height in the back. I think Hetty has left quite a small gap there, but she's definitely moving around a lot. She's trying to dictate the race to Emma at this stage.
This is the moment, all on the line for the bronze medal. Finucane comfortably in front, heading into the back straight. Van der Waal head over the handlebars and chasing. Finucane still has the lead, pedalling like fury, still in the lead, coming into the final bend. Surely it's going to be Emma Finucane's. Yes, it is. The 21-year-old takes the bronze in the individual sprint, a third Olympic medal in her collection in her very first games. And Emma Finucane comes rolling round into the home straight. The Union flags are flying. What a lovely sight that is. A beaming big smile from the 21-year-old from Wales. That is a week of cycling that she will never ever forget. A gold in the team sprint and 2 bronzes in the individual events, and now both hands off the handlebars, arms up in the air. So much promise. That actually, Victoria, is Britain's next cycling superstar.
It is. Watch out, LA. That's all I'm going to say.
There we go then, Tony. Emma Finucane, I think, is going to come and grab a Union Jack. We've got a great view of this. Immediately embraced. Huge hug for Emma Finucane. Hasn't even had time to take the cycling helmet off. Probably tears in there as well. What a games. What a week for Emma Finucane. And I think the emotion is just hitting her right now, because at the moment she can't lift her head from the hug, and she's getting another massive hug there. Lovely to see, Tony. She has had a fantastic games. High hopes for gold medals in the individual sprint events, but as we heard her after she took bronze in the keirin, she was delighted with that. And that smile, the helmet comes off her head, Victoria, that smile tells you everything you need to know about how she's feeling.
Yeah, she should be so proud of herself, and we're all so proud of her as well. Like, to do that age 21, this is a big stage. It's very different from the World Championships, coming to an Olympic Games and everything that surrounds it, and the hype and the media and the pressure and the expectation. It's a lot to take on board, and she's done it so well. Like, I can't believe that she's cruised in here, picked up 3 medals, one of them which is gold. Such a fantastic performance. What something to build on. I mean, I don't think what she's capable of.
Just in terms of overall medals in the velodrome, Tony, that is 8 now. So it was 7 in Tokyo, but 3 golds. 8 here, 1 gold. Jack Carlin still to go in the final of the men's keirin.
And I think coming into the competition, British Cycling said they would like to win 8 medals.
Right.
That was the sort of the rough estimate of what they were doing. So hopefully, they've managed to fulfil that.
Well,
so
let's be greedy and go one more then.
Why not?
Yeah.
Exceed expectation.
Well, they've equalled what the medal total that they had in Tokyo. So that's one ambition.
You mean overall,
off.
Tony?
Yeah, overall.
Great Britain overall, really?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great.
So that equals that. I've just been told we're going to be able to speak to Emma shortly. I mean, how shortly is shortly? I don't know. She might need to get her breath back. So we'll get to speak to Emma. But it's interesting. Both of you, this track, it happened before the other night. Suddenly Union flags appear everywhere. It's almost as if 3/4 of the crowd is from Britain. It's like the 2012 games all over again. Whether people have just worn shorts and whipped them off to wave them in the air, because I haven't seen that many flags throughout the whole business. And then suddenly Emma wins bronze. But that is definitely, Vic, as we can't tire of saying, a happy bronze for Emma, isn't it?
It is. It's an incredible achievement. Really, really incredible.
Right, gold medal ride underway. Second in the best of 3, Elise Andrews of New Zealand won the first against Leah Friedrich of Germany. So she is in a similar position to Emma Finucane just there in the bronze medal ride. Elise Andrews knows if she wins this race, she wins the gold. And Victoria, and it's a hard thing to do, she'll take gold in keirin and individual sprint at these games.
I mean, that would be incredible. But also just now what we're running through her head is like, just get this race done and it's all over.
Yeah.
You can just tie a nice little bow over that Olympic experience,
Yeah.
pick up another gold medal.
Thank you very much.
And enjoy the rest of the day.
Let's not worry about the decider. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Last day of the Olympic Games. Great Britain with another medal in the bag. Emma Finucane with her 3rd of the Games, a bronze in the women's individual sprint. This is about the gold medal. Friedrich has the lead in the back straight, and now Andrews picks up the pace.
Yeah. So I think Friedrich is like staying very cool and calm on the bottom of the track. She's waiting for the acceleration. She's trying to kind of block the route, but unfortunately Elise Andrews has absolutely stormed over the top of the German rider, and New Zealand flying.
Yeah, rocketing round that back straight. Into the home straight she comes. She was not to be denied. That is sensational sprinting from Elise Andrews of New Zealand. A gold medal in the individual sprint to go with the gold in the keirin,
and she went rocketing past Leah Friedrich down the back straight to take that gold medal. The German just could not live with Elise Andrews.
I really thought that Elise Andrews there, when she attacked, the turn of speed was phenomenal. She didn't just want to win that race, she wanted to absolutely destroy the opponent.
If that had been done in cartoon form, Tony, you would have had flames coming off the back of Andrews' back. But that's what it looked like. She just thundered down that back straight, and Friedrich was left for dead.
Wonderful.
How far away? We're talking about Emma Finucane becoming a world sensation, Vic. That performance there from the New Zealander in the final, how far away is Emma from that level, or is she capable of it at the moment?
I think she's physically capable of it, but maybe in terms of like race experience and in terms of feeling comfortable in this environment. It's a big deal stepping up to the Olympic Games. You feel a lot. It's a very different pressure. You can go to the World Championships and be quite relaxed about it, and the cycling community are watching you, but you don't feel like the whole world is watching you like you do when you're at the Olympics. So, there's a lot of weight on her shoulders. So,
well, look, hopefully we'll hear from her sooner rather than later. Let's go to Katie at the weightlifting.
A lot of weight on the shoulders in the velodrome and a lot of British fans there. A lot of weight on the bar here now for Emily Campbell in the South Paris Arena, where there is major British support. Now she asks for quiet. It's her first clean and jerk. It's 162 kilograms. She's moved up from the 157 that she said she was going to start at. A brilliant first move. She's got the bar from the floor to her collarbone. The front rack position. Can she hit the jerk now? Yes, she can. She's got to hold it overhead and convince the judges. The green light goes on, and then she gets 4 white lights from the 3 judges watching her, meaning that is a clean lift and it passes. Now, what is significant, Tony, about 162 kilograms is that is the most we have ever seen Emily Campbell lift in a competition. So that is an equal personal best. She has 2 more attempts to come. So if she can lift those, this is territory she's never been in before. Now, after the snatch event, that was the first lift that they have to complete in this Olympic program, she was sitting in bronze medal position. The 2 women ahead of her haven't gone yet. There's still a few other athletes in contention as well here in Paris, so it's not wrapped up yet, but Emily Campbell looking brilliant so far, has yet to fail on a lift.
Katie, she sounds from just listening into what you're saying there, like someone who thrives off an atmosphere. I mean, I know she asked for quiet before she lifts, but it sounds like she loves all the attention that comes with this competition.
Yeah, 100%. She's a big stage performer. She comes out with her big headphones on. She takes them off. She screams towards the crowd, and then she asks for the quiet, I think, because she loves being centre stage. She's won the European title 4 years in a row now. There was a world bronze medal for her in 21. That was the year that she claimed silver at the Olympics in Tokyo. Then she upgraded that to a silver at the World Championships in 2022, and then had a really injury hit 2023. She had knee surgery, she had some back problems. She said it was a really hard time for her. So it was interesting to see what sort of form she was going to be in coming into this year, and so far so good.
Good stuff, Katie, thank you. Here in the velodrome, we're waiting hopefully to speak to Britain's latest medalist, Emma Finucane. Before that, let's go back to the cafe. And Ellie?
Tony, I don't know if you've seen this, and you can probably ask Emma about this. I'm sure you will do. That she has made history today, because for the first time in 60 years, a British woman has won 3 medals in a single games. So that is incredible. So 3 medals in a single game. So Laura Kenny, incredibly successful. 2 in each games that she competed in, but amazing work by Emma Finucane, and as you've been saying, really one for the future. So looking forward to talking about that. Let's catch up. Well, I mean, it seems amazing. We're going to go away from Paris. We're going to go away from the Olympics. And there is football this afternoon. Defending champions Celtic are at Hibs in today's early game in the Scottish Premiership. And Gavin Wallace can bring us the team news.
I can indeed, Ellie. Sunshine on Leith is the order of the day at the moment. Hardly a cloud in the sky in the capital here in Scotland, in Edinburgh. The teams are just coming out. Team news for Hibernian, Mariah Welsh and Venti out from that 3-0 defeat last week to St Mirren in the opener. Kurevich and Levitt come in for Celtic after their 4-0 rampant win over Kilmarnock on Flag Day last week. Brendan Rodgers makes no changes to the team, so it's a 4-3-3 for Celtic, and Hibernian lining up with a 4-2-3-1 formation. And remember, Rangers got their points on the board yesterday, so Celtic know exactly what they have to do in the capital today.
Thank you, Gavin. So, final day of the Paris Olympics. So, we've just seen that Billie Eilish is going to be performing in the closing ceremony tonight.
That's right.
And Snoop Dogg, of course.
Yeah. Tom Cruise is there too.
Tom Cruise is going to be there. And maybe not singing. Maybe Ali Bruce Ball doing the wham rap. You never know. You might get the late call up.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. So Julien Laurent is with me. Steve Bunce is with me. Let's go back to Tony.
Yes, Ellie, thank you very much indeed. I'm looking forward to delivering that fact to Emma Finucane, who I'm sure will not be aware, as you've just said, that she's become the first female British athlete to win a hat-trick of medals at a single Olympics in 60 years. What an achievement. The media man keeps looking at me and then looking down the corridor, so she may be along very shortly. In the meantime, we'll just chew the fat with Vic and Alistair Bruce Ball. Vic, I'll bring you in when Emma finally makes it. I suppose now she'll just be taking stock of her thoughts once you've done something you're so proud of.
Oh, I think it will be a huge relief in some ways, but yeah, hopefully she can now enjoy the last few moments of the games, enjoy the closing ceremony, and look forward to planning for the future. So I think a huge potential, massive potential. I mean, we look at Elise Andrews at 24. Well, in 4 years' time, we're going to be looking at Emma Finucane with that extra experience, probably a whole handful, a clutch of World Championship medals in her hands, and really going to be one of the most dominating sprinters on the scene. I have no doubt.
Yeah, just give me another 10 seconds, Vic. Whoa,
okay.
blimey.
Sorry, did you hear me earlier? I was like, oh, whenever they fire the gun, you think I'd know when it was coming, but I have no idea. So yeah, sorry about that.
She's just heading towards us now. I'm not going to ask her to hurry up, for goodness sake. She's about 12 feet away. Here she. I'm going to put some headphones on her now, Vic, so you can have a word with her. She looks shattered.
Can I just watch this next race?
Yeah, feel free. Yeah. It's up to you. What would you rather do? You watch the race and then we'll come to you. Thank you,
Tony.
You heard that.
Tony,
I think she just wants to watch this race.
Yeah. So this race, Tony, is the minor placings in the men's keirin. So this is not riding for the medals. And the next race, obviously, Jack Carlin will go for gold in the next race on track. So we've got 4 riders out here racing for the minor placings in the men's keirin.
And we've actually got one rider missing here because Hamish Turnbull is, I think he must be too sore from his injury that he's decided not to compete for this one.
Hamish Turnbull would have been in this race, Tony, but obviously took a tumble at the end of the semi-final, so he is not racing in this race. But after this one, we are going to get the men's keirin final.
Yeah, and Emma has said that she wants to watch that as well. She's still in front of me. She's only a couple of feet away, but that's if we're judging the interview length, it's the length of half a 5 to 7 qualifier, a 7 to 11 and half a final. Right. Anyway, I think you know what I'm saying. Back with us very shortly. Let's go to Ellie in the cafe.
I tell you what, you got a great insight into what happens at a live venue in the mixed zone as well, because I mean, athletes are enjoying their own success. They want to watch what's going on as well. Not long to go. We're kind of eking every single drop out, aren't we, out of the Olympics at this stage of the games. With Bunsey with me in the centre of Paris, Julien Laurent is with us as well. We're going to, as soon as Emma Finucane has got, can talk to us, we will be there. But talking about 3 times medalists in one games,
I'm staggered by that stat.
I know it is a fantastic stat actually. But Sifan Hassan in the women's marathon today became a 3 times medalist at this games because she won 2 on the track as well. Afterwards, she spoke after what looked an incredibly grueling marathon, all that uphill running. But she had a word with the BBC's Sarah Mulkerins.
Sifan Hassan, after those bronzes in the 5,000 and 10,000, now Olympic gold in the marathon, is there anything you can't do?
I'm so grateful. Alhamdulillah, I'm so proud of myself, and I have never, actually, I always complain about myself. I'm too hard on myself, but this one was I was uncomfortable for 42K, and I was I push myself. I push myself on training. I push myself on the competition. I overtrained 4 months ago. They was oh, you done. You cannot make Olympia. I was okay, I'm done. But here, less than 48 hours, and I didn't really have good sleep, and my sleep was everywhere. Sometimes 2, sometimes 1, sometimes 12, sometimes 10. It was but I unbelievable. I push myself to. I hope everybody challenge ourselves. I'm happy.
I can't even think how many metres she's run, how many kilometres she's run, Stefan Hassan, over the last week. And hold the thought, Bunsey, while I let you do the maths. Let's go back to Katie watching the weightlifting,
where we are down to the final 3 lifters left in it, and Emily Campbell is among them. So she was successful in her first clean and jerk, 162 kilograms. I'm watching Hee Young Park now on her Olympic debut, getting up 168 overhead, and that is a good lift. The green light goes on, so she stays in the silver medal position. Li Wenwen, the Chinese, the world champion, the defending champion here, is going to go for 168 kilograms as well. But as we've said throughout this competition, everything changes behind the scenes because the coaches are constantly upping the weights of what they want their athletes to lift, depending on what they think they can do, and also depending on having 3 lifts, where can I fit my athlete in? What is the highest placing we can put them in? So Emily Campbell now is next onto the podium. She's going to attempt a personal best, 169 kilograms.
Thank you very much indeed. Back as soon as we can here in the velodrome. We've already had a bronze medal today, Emma Finucane, in the women's sprint. We're going to chat to Emma very shortly, but she wants to watch the next race and we want to listen to it because, Alistair Boosball, we have another medal chance.
Well, I think this could be box office. Jack Carlin going in the men's keirin final. I mean, these are the fastest men on bikes in the world. We're going to have 6 laps, 3 of them led by the Derny, the moped that's going to build the pace to 50 kilometres an hour just before the race gets underway. Let's get back to Katie Smith at the weightlifting.
Emily Campbell then attempting a lift that she has never done before in competition, 169 kilograms. This is equivalent to the weight of an African lion. She gets it down into the squat position, but she can't get the bar up into that standing front rack position. So she aborts that lift, 169. That will be a fail for Emily Campbell. So she stays at the moment in bronze medal position. Ali.
What a brilliant description that was from Katie in terms of the analogy there. I'm not quite sure what the equivalent would be, Victoria, trying to get one of these bikes up to speed. Well, we described it early in the week, didn't we, in the gears they're in, actually trying to cycle through sort of wet cement or quicksand to get going.
Really, really heavy big gears. I love weightlifting, by the way. I'm just going to say that. Yeah, just because I think, because I've lifted tiny, tiny weights, I can appreciate how enormous those lifts are and how impressive. Love that.
Right, let's concentrate on the men's keirin final. Jack Carlin for Great Britain has already taken bronze in the individual sprint. He feels this is possibly his stronger event, but goodness me, he's got some competition in here. 2 Australians in the green and gold, Matthew Glaetzer and Matthew Richardson, Shinji Nakano from Japan, Mohamed Sarom from Malaysia, and Harry Livraeusson, of course, the sprint titan. I can see him breathing deeply, regularly, waiting for the Derny to arrive, which will build the pace for the first 3 laps of this race. Livraeusson's in lane 2, Jack Carlin starts in lane 4, and again those powerful leg muscles get working as the riders just drive the bikes forward, get onto the back straight, and it's the Japanese rider Nakano who has to take the lead on the back wheel. So Carlin in 4th. Now what do you think the strategy is here, Victoria? Because you said before about getting on the back wheel of other riders.
Well, if a rider's going to come past you, obviously you want to be able to use their slipstream. If they're a reliable and fast rider who's going to take to the front, you do not want to be caught behind, and you kind of need to stamp your own authority on a final. You can't wait for someone else to make the move for you. However, he's in a good position there behind Glaetzer of Australia, and I think Harry Livraeusson will go early.
Right.
I really feel like he'll go early and create an opportunity to drag and slipstream pass.
Pace is building. 2 Australians in the race. Matthew Richardson at the back, the silver medalist in the individual sprint, has real raw pace, and he's just lurking on the back wheel at the moment, and Carlin knows that the danger is there. Here we go, building to the last 3 laps of this race. Nakano, the Japanese, in front. What's Livraeusson going to do? 3 laps to go. Carlin still in 4th. No one yet making a move, Victoria.
I think everybody's looking back towards Richardson, but Glaetzer goes for it.
Yeah, Glaetzer, the other Australian, goes for it first. 2 laps to go. Livraeusson in 3rd. Jack Carlin making a move now. Shoulder to shoulder with Sarom, the Malaysian. Glaetzer is still out in front. Livraeusson, with a lap and a half to go, suddenly steps on the gas. And now Livraeusson heading round the bend into the home straight. Jack Carlin right at the back of the field at the moment. Richardson making his move from the back as well. Matthew Richardson flying down the back straight with Livraeusson. The 2 of them going head to head. Sheer speed coming into the home straight. Livraeusson's going to do the double massive crash behind them as well. Jack Carlin is taken out. He was flying into the home straight, looking to get into medal contention,
His skin suit has been ripped to shreds. The Japanese rider is down. The Malaysian rider is down. Halle Livraeusson has taken the gold medal. Richardson takes the silver for Australia. And there are riders and bikes strewn all over the track. And at the moment, they're just getting the helmet off Jack Carlin here, who was just desperate to try and get involved in that race. And we're hoping that he's okay. Already has some of the British team and medical attention around him. They're just getting him still, lying on his back and looking after Jack Carlin at the moment. So Livraeusson has done the sprint double. But again, when riders are down, that is not the important thing. The important thing is that everyone gets up okay from a race like that. We've not seen a replay of the crash as yet. And actually, have to say credit to Livraeusson and Richardson as well. There's no celebrations at the moment, are there, at all, because they are concerned for the health and safety of their fellow competitors.
Yeah, they're just... It's quite quiet for a celebration, Wiles.
OK, Livraeusson has taken the gold medal. We're going to keep an eye on Jack Carlin, who is on his back at the moment, and he's receiving medical attention, but he does look like he is moving a little bit on his own accord with his arms and legs. They're just rolling him over into the recovery position at the moment. So we'll come back and check on Jack Carlin. In the meantime, we'll take you back to the weightlifting and Katie Smith,
where we're going to have one final lift for Emily Campbell, who will have just seen her rival Hyeong Park of Korea fail on her final attempt at 173 kilos. So what that means is Emily Campbell, who's just stepping into the arena now for her final attempt, lets out one more final roar. Will go for 174 kilograms here on the clean and jerk. Final attempt. And if she can get this up, and it is a big if, because this is a huge personal best. She has never lifted this much weight before, but if she gets it, this will be potentially a silver or a gold medal. 30 seconds she has here. She lines up her arms on the bar, shoulder width apart. She takes the weight up. She gets under the bar, but she will get no further. The weight topples off her. The sheer weight, 174 kilograms. She won't get up from the squat, but she waves to the crowd. She looks delighted. That will be a bronze medal for Emily Campbell of Great Britain, who now starts to really lap up the support she's got here today in the arena. So silver in Tokyo, Tony, and it's going to be bronze in Paris for Emily Campbell.
Great stuff, Katie, thank you. So another bronze to the tally there. We've beaten our haul from Tokyo overall. We've had a bronze here in the velodrome. Today, that's only half the story. Emma Finucane's in front of us, who took that bronze. Emma, hello to you. You're on
Hi.
You're on 5 Live, in case you wondered who you were talking to. Victoria Pendleton's listening in as well. She's just up there, so no doubt she'll have a chat in a second. How are you feeling?
Honestly, I feel on top of the world. This whole week's been such a roller coaster for me, so emotional. I've had so many highs, so many lows, but yeah, that bronze medal felt like a gold to me. Like I said, after the gold in the team sprint, and I got bronze in the keirin, and obviously I wanted to be in that gold final, but I literally gave it everything I could. I had nothing left to give, and to have my family here supporting me, to have everyone back at home, to have the national lottery, I couldn't be here without them. British Cycling, physios, doctors, it's such a wider team than just me, and I wanted to do that for them. And yeah, to come away with 3 medals is more than I could have dreamed of, and I'm just so proud of how I composed myself on the track and how I got through every day. It was such a tough week mentally, and yeah, I feel on top of the world, and I'm going to celebrate tonight. Yeah, I just can't believe it.
Well, we'll come to that in a minute. I'll be interested in your party plans, but we said in commentary that was a very happy bronze. You may not know this, so this is the fact we've dug out, okay? You have become the first female British athlete to win a hat-trick of medals at a single Olympics in 60 years.
Wow.
That puts it into perspective, does it not?
It's funny when people read out stats afterwards, like the gold medal in the team sprint and things like that, and you don't think about it in the moment, but yeah, for me this is just about inspiring young kids to get on the track and just give it a go. I'm literally living my teenage dream, and I love every second of it, and yeah, it's really, really hard, but this is my job, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So yeah, I want to just keep doing what I'm doing, enjoying the sport, and just keep making Britain proud. And yeah, I just love it, and I hope everyone loved watching too.
Well, they did.
Yeah,
let's bring Victoria in, because I know she did. Victoria.
Oh, congratulations again.
Thank you.
You've made history. That's super cool. Also, I just really, do you know what I really love? I really love the attitude you have and your mindset coming into this. We heard the party bus this morning. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the vibes have been really good back in GB. Obviously, it's such a really long week, as you know, and you got to keep up, getting up every day. Like everyone's packing around behind you, but you got to keep your head on. And the good vibes were here this morning, and I knew I wanted to deliver myself on the track, and I really wanted that gold medal. But bronze to me was everything, and I'm just really, really proud. And thank you for being there too. Yeah, it's been really nice to see your face every day. So yeah, it's just been such a cool experience, like my first Olympics. I just can't believe it.
Just really enjoy yourself. Make sure you celebrate it, and celebrate it with all your friends and family.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful experience. Well done.
Thank you.
You talked about making Britain proud. You're only young. We can only imagine what you're going to do for the rest of your career. You'll be looking ahead to LA in 4 years' time. What are you capable of?
I don't know, sky's the limit. I didn't realise I was capable of this coming here, and obviously I would love to get gold medals, but getting a gold and 2 bronze is more than a dream come true, so I'm just going to keep enjoying riding my bike and seeing where I can go.
So you're a history maker. I'll tell you again so you can tell everyone when you go back afterwards. So you're the first British athlete, female, to win a hat-trick of medals at a single games in 60 years. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Final word, we know the swimmers go nuts.
Yeah.
What does the cycling party look like? What's happening
even
tonight?
More. We're going to celebrate. I will let my head on.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
All right. Well, we'll see you bungeeing off the tower later then, eh?
Maybe.
Emma, real pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks. Bye.
Brilliant. There we go. A superstar in the
Tony.
making, and she's a lovely person as well. Yes, ABB.
Yeah, we were just digging around. Mary Rand in 1960.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I was. Who the last person was. So it was Mary Rand in 1960.
Well, a name that resonates through the ages. So Emma's in good company.
1964. But yeah, exactly. For 60 years, that's right. That's the stat, isn't it? 1964, 3 Olympic medals for Mary Rand. So yeah, that's an incredible achievement.
But also, I'm just going to mention, it's good that finally there's parity between the male and female events here in the velodrome, and that is something that has taken this long to give the same opportunity. And it's a shame that she's the first woman in British sport to have achieved that, when her male counterparts have had lots and lots more opportunities. So it's good to be closing the gap, and I think that's a landmark.
That's a good point, Victoria. You think Chris Hoy has done that and Jason Kenny has done that, but Victoria wasn't able to do that because the events weren't there, and actually Laura Trott, now Laura Kenny, wasn't able to do that, I think, because the events weren't there. Not all of them. I think, just trying to remember, when she came 6th in the Omnium in Rio, I think there were 3 there for her. But yeah, that's worth noting, actually, Tony.
Yeah, back in a second, guys. Hibs are playing Celtic today, and there's been a goal. Gavin Wallace.
There has indeed. Hibernian 0, Celtic 1. The goal coming on 3 minutes. Kyogo's shot from the edge of the box was saved. James Forrest was there quickly to recycle, play across the face, and Nicholas Kuhn first on the scene to open his account for the season. It is now Hibernian 0, Celtic 1.
Cheers, Gavin. Thank you very much indeed. So lots more reflection on the action here in the velodrome to come before we disappear today. Let's reflect a little bit, though, on the athletics now. 10 medals for Great Britain. That's double the haul from Tokyo and the best Olympic tally since 1984. Earlier, I spoke to the 2008 Olympic bronze medalist Martin Rooney. He's now helping to coach GB's relay teams, and they won medals in all 5 relays. That's some achievement this time out. So first of all, I asked him, what's the mood like in the camp?
Well, I think there's quite a few hungover athletes right now, to be perfectly honest, but they seem to be doing all right.
Well, let's concentrate on the important stuff then. Where was the party? What happened?
To be honest, I'm past that now. I think my job was to herd the cats this morning and make sure so I had to stay sober. I had to make sure I kept a level head for these guys. But I think they've enjoyed Paris. It's a beautiful city, and I'm glad they got out and about.
Yeah, that's what comes when you're an old dude like me. Martin, so presumably then the team are really happy with the performance then?
Yeah, I think they came here with the expectation of they were here to win medals. Last year in Budapest they got 3 medals in the 4x4s, so just to carry on with that momentum, not to get caught up in the whole the rings and distracted by that. They just came here to perform and deliver, and thankfully they did, and they got to do all the great things alongside that, like go do the victory lap, and now they're all Olympic medalists. It's an amazing thing for any young athlete to get, and for us as a programme to come away with 4 medals from the 400s. So with Matt Hudson-Smith doing so well as well, it's just it's a great thing for British sport.
Yeah, as far as your targets were concerned, have you met them? Have you exceeded them? Where were your ambitions here?
I think as a relay programme we were looking for 5 out of 5, so we got that, and as British Athletics we had a target of 7 medals, so to come away with 10 was a fantastic games, and it's just credit to the support systems that are in place and the athletes, how they delivered. I think obviously stuff like National Lottery over the years has been amazing, but I think just the athletes and how they've they've changed their mentality and how they're there for medals. They're not there to take part anymore, and I think that's a really credit to what they are and who they are about.
Yeah, from what I gather, it's the most athletics medals since LA in 1984, which is going some, isn't it?
Yeah. It's I suppose with the level of competition, it's getting better every year, and there's more countries being more involved. Like within the men's 400, it was won by American, European second, and African third. So it's a spread around the world. It's not just dominated by a couple of countries anymore. And I think we as a nation are really trying our best to make sure we're up there at all times.
Take us into the world of relay and relay coaching, Martin. You were an Olympic medal yourself. You know all about it, and I think the anchor leg was your speciality. So take us into the world of coaching the relay teams.
I think I'm very fortunate. Good timing, I suppose. I've got a really good group of athletes to work with who are coachable and driven, and they want the best for each other. I think we've just worked on trying to get a big team environment around them and making sure that every time they step out onto the track, it's not just for them, it's for the next guy, and it's for the people who are helping them behind the scenes, like the athletes who didn't get to run. It's as much about them as the athletes on the track. So that's been really, for me, it's been really exciting. It's something I'm very passionate about. I've always loved relays, and so to be able to continue that journey and to help the next group of athletes go get those victory laps and those medals, and it's just what I've been really excited about.
Can I ask, and I've specialised in this throughout the games, can I ask a novice question that you maybe roll your eyes at, but I just want to ask, the athletes running the relays, how do they split their time, Martin? Do they have individual aspirations as well? How do you make sure that you get the full focus on the relay work? How does that balance out?
I think we've used the relay the last couple of years as a way of it's a vehicle to help them improve their individual events. So some athletes have moved into the relay, the 4x4 relay, as a pathway into the 400, and they are elite athletes. Like we had Matt Hudson-Smith run 2 rounds of the 4x4. Amber Anning has come away with 2 medals here, and they're both individual fight. Well, Matt obviously a silver medalist in the individual, and I think it's just using the relay to kind of help broaden their I suppose their experiences and their exposure to the event, and the more medals they win there, that their profile goes up, so they understand what the value is in it. But it's just making sure that the athletes who are only doing just doing a relay, they have the mixed relay at the very beginning, and they've got basically a week to kind of work out that Olympic environment. And the guys have done so well with that. They took a breather, they caught the breath after the mixed relay, saw Paris, saw friends and family, and then refocused. And that's a skill. That's something that definitely takes a bit of learning how to do, and they seem to do it very well.
Yeah, 5 relay medals on my count. So was there a case in the past where relay running was a secondary option for people, kind of a lower level ambition?
I think that has always been every athlete growing up wants to be individual Olympic champion, and I don't think we can ever dampen that. I don't think we can ever take that away from them, because that's what drives them to train so hard. The events are punishing events, so I think it's just understanding that what we can get from the relay is the opportunity to go and live that dream, being as part of a team. I think a lot of these guys will be part of training groups, and it's just the same environment. They're just going into a massive training group of elite athletes and getting to drive each other and support each other through something.
Just give us a final insight into the world of relay, Martin. I mentioned the anchor leg was your speciality, and to the novice watching, it's all about the baton handover, and that may be where the coaching lies. But talk to me about the science of placing who in what running order and how all that works.
Yeah, the 4x4 itself is more of a mile race. It's more of a middle distance event with sprinters. So you kind of have to position. There's tactics involved. There's knowing who to put on which leg and knowing what their skill sets are. And I think we've been very fortunate that I've got a group of athletes who are very versatile and able to move around and make decisions on the fly as such. And that comes from them just being coachable, listening to advice, taking on board the tactics and executing it perfectly. And I think that's the skill that those athletes have brought. They've been coachable, which is something that if we can get all our 15, 16, 17-year-old kids to be coachable, I think that will set us up for the next couple of years.
And what a way to get into the world of medals via the relay. Martin, you've established that you've rounded the cats up then this morning, however hungover they may be. How do you reflect personally what's next for you now after today?
I think for us as a team, obviously, it's going away and letting them enjoy this moment. For me, I'm looking forward to getting back home to my wife and my kids. It's been a while, a couple of weeks, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them. And then we start planning for the next 4-year cycle.
Yeah, well, you're going to be part of the team in LA, I guess.
We'll see. I think obviously with the massive support from the National Lottery, if that continues, we'll be UKA as an organisation will be able to function, and hopefully I'll be a part of that in the future.
How can it not be with the medal haul this year? I mean, I know it's not down to me to give you a contract, but how can it not be?
If you could just put a couple of zeros on the end of it, it'd be great.
I'll put a word in for you. Martin, really great to talk to you. Congratulations and well done to all the team.
Thank you for your time. Cheers, mate.
There we go, that's Martin Rooney, coached GB's relay teams, and they won a medal in every event they entered. You can't say it fairer than that, can you? Right, there's been another goal here in the match between Hibs and Celtic, Gavin Wallace.
Yes, there has indeed. It's Hibs 0, Celtic 2. The ball came to Callum McGregor 25 yards out, and he let rip with his left foot. A rocket that burst in it, burst it with absolutely no chance. It's Hibs 0, Celtic 2.
Cheers, Gavin. Ellie's in the cafe in central Paris with the brains trust that is Bunsey and Julian Leon. Ellie, just one thing for me to throw into the mix when we're talking there to Martin was that in the we've mentioned that Team GB's now won more medals than they did in Tokyo, but in the cycling, although they've done really well, they've won 1 gold. Similar with athletics, 1 gold for Keely Hodgkinson. How is a team judged at the end of it? Because surely, just food for thought, it's fine margins between silver and gold, is it not? When we assess it at the end.
Yeah, it's total of medals, isn't it? Really. So the targets that the individual sports are set by UK Sport is medal total. It's not kind of numbers of gold, silver, and bronze. I should say, actually, lovely to hear from Martin Rooney. Darren Campbell, who was also involved with coaching the sprint relay teams, was part of our team, wasn't he, over many years? Bunsey, and we loved working with Darren. I messaged him last night to say well done, and he messaged me back to say he misses us all. So we miss you too, Darren, if you're listening.
Still the man that provided me with my greatest ever Olympic memory, that 4x1 in Athens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stand alone.
But you talk about number of medals, so 65 medals for Team GB at these games. We'll talk about so we'll finish behind France. So Julien, félicitations.
Merci beaucoup. Merci. You can always do better in 4 years.
Yeah, that's true. But we will talk about France. We've got another hour of the programme to wrap up before we finish, so we'll be celebrating French success as well. But 14 gold, 22 silver, 29 bronze. Bunsey and I always kind of have as a touchstone the Atlanta Olympics.
My first Olympics,
in 1996, when GB won 15 medals in total.
Incredible.
1 gold, 8 silver, 6 bronze. They finished behind North Korea, Belgium, Algeria and Kazakhstan in the medal table.
And as I said to Ellie just a moment ago, Tony and Jules, Kazakhstan, by my reckoning, had been a country for about 8.5 minutes. No, I mean it quite seriously. Maybe it was 2.5 years old, for God's sake. Then they beat the GB.
Did it need to reach so low for the country to wake up and the organisers to wake up? What's the timeline?
Well, that's what happened pretty much. I think that was such humiliation in Atlanta. And actually, I spoke to him about this not that long ago. Actually, former Prime Minister Sir John Major, who, as Prime Minister, looked at it and thought, we can't. Again, he's a massive sports fan. We can't let this happen again. So it was partly through him. I think the National Lottery was just coming in, but he then set up UK Sport to distribute those funds to athletes, to sports, to grassroots projects as well. And but actually that's been crucial. And you'll notice, Tony, that pretty much every single interview that we've heard from a GB athlete over the last few days, certainly, they've thanked the National Lottery and the people who play it, because without them, Bunsey, we'd be back where we were.
Yeah, we'd be back where we were. We're always going to turn up a talent. You're always going to turn up somebody, an outlier, if you like, who's going to perform. But what we've done here, I mean, I think we've seen it at these games, is blanket. And we saw it in Tokyo, we saw it in Rio, and of course the greatest manifestation was London, where it was across the board. Okay, so we know the swimmers, the cyclists especially, but you at the artistic swimming. I still call it synchro. I'm sorry, I'm old-fashioned.
Well, I had to kind of keep correcting myself.
Did I ever think I'd be listening to a British pair in the artistic swimming getting a medal?
No.
Not in my wildest
and not even
dreams.
funded by UK sport either.
That's the thing.
Which is the irony here too.
They're an outlier because they only recently, Kate and Izzy only recently got a little bit of funding to help them through. So they've been training in public pools, as we were saying, alongside the aqua aerobics and the people doing their laps up and down. But I think, that again, it's the range of medals. And this is the thing that previously very well funded sports have had to share it out because there are so many different sports now who want a piece of the pie. And when you're getting success in artistic swimming, because that pot is finite.
Yes, of course.
So artistic swimming will want a piece of that now. We've had...
It will deserve it.
It will deserve it. It should 100% get that.
Absolutely.
But to get that the range of medals across different sports is something that the BOA are quite proud of, I think.
And also they sometimes criticise the BOA for sometimes criticised for identifying talent and maybe ignoring other sports. With artistic swimming, if I'm not mistaken, the interview you did with the coach yesterday suggested that there had been funding and they met targets
after London.
Even though they met targets, whatever that target was. I assumed it was being in the top 10. Then it was cut. Well, that's just the harsh reality of the way the funding goes. It would be lovely if funding was across the board, but the reality is you need to sink a little bit more into certain places, and there needs to be a degree of brutality involved.
Yeah. How's it worked for Paris, Jules? Because obviously when it's a home games, you want everyone to do as best they can, as they have France at this Olympics.
We've drawn inspiration of what you do in the UK with the lottery, and that process is more starting. We've had l'INSEP, which is the Centre of Excellence, where your best athlete or sportsmen, sportswomen in every sport. So you've got the best kind of judo equipment there, or athletics, or cycling nice in Saint-Quentin, but at the time they were cycling, which I think that Centre of Excellence worked at times. So you bring all your best sports people in the same place and you share the culture of winning and you share experience and share everything. But that got to a certain extent, because at the end of the day, money is still what makes success too. It's not just talent. Like once you said, you can have a Léon Marchand born in Toulouse and just being a swimming genius. But I think money helps you bring in that togetherness.
And so it's bringing people through. But it's again going back to Atlanta, just reading about this. I mean, Chris Boardman, who is now head of Sport England, isn't he, and has been working on the cycling for the BBC. He had to acclimatise to the humidity of Atlanta by practising in his bathroom with the shower turned on. And you had athletes who were selling their Olympic kits
on the
while
street
in Atlanta to try and fund themselves.
I love it that we always get that story. These are the alternative Olympic stories, and I tend to like those. I tend to like those stories. And if you think about it, I think that our artistic swimming women, that they're part of that story. There should be a 9 metre, it should be a 3 metre pool, a 9 foot pool depth, and yet they're in, as you say, they're in with aqua aerobics and guys swimming who still believe they can swim, smashing their arms in them, because that's what they do. Let's get it right in public pools. That's a staggering story. I'm not saying it's the greatest British GB medal won at these Olympics, but it would be in my top 3 for that reason. I know I've got a bit early with the selections, Ellie. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, look, we've got lots more to talk about in the final hour. Can you believe it? Final hour of our Olympics coverage. We've got to carry on going, except that we're all kind of quite tired. But anyway, we've got one more hour to go, and we're going to reflect on how the games have been for Paris, how they've been for GB, how they've been for the French team as well, and we'll look ahead as well to the Paralympics and also to LA in 4 years' time. But let's get some news on 5 Live, just gone at 1 o'clock with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Ellie. Good afternoon. Moscow says its forces will deliver a tough response to Ukrainian attacks on Russia's border regions and has carried out missile and drone strikes in 6 regions of Ukraine. At least 2 people were killed in Kyiv. Zhana Bespatchuk is from the BBC's Ukrainian service.
The biggest fear for many Ukrainians is whether this particular mostly drone attack, but also it included missiles. The fear is that this attack preceded the attack on the energy infrastructure. That's the biggest fear, because a few more attacks might cause collapse of the energy infrastructure.
2 migrants have died while trying to cross the channel on a small boat. It happened this morning between Calais and Dunkirk. Around 50 migrants were rescued from the boat and the operation's still ongoing. Armed police have shot a man in a village in Surrey, leaving him critically ill. They were responding to reports of an altercation in Knapp Hill at around midnight. Both men are thought to be known to each other. Officers have recovered a weapon. The Director of Public Prosecution says some of the worst offenders in the recent riots could face up to 10 years in prison. Stephen Parkinson has told the Sunday Times there'll be a new phase of cases with stiffer penalties. The first of 3 funerals will take place later for the young girls killed at a Taylor Swift dance class in Southport. Alice De Silva Aguiar will be laid to rest at St Patrick's Catholic Church in the town. Father John Hennigan will be leading the ceremony.
They believe that we've got to let her go dancing into heaven. That's one of the messages they gave to me. She's going dancing into heaven. That's how they're seeing this. And this, a funeral is, of course, going to be profoundly sad, but it'll also have that deep joy because that's what they believe. They believe she's gone home to heaven, dancing with the angels and saints.
And Banksy has confirmed that he has created the 7th animal-themed artwork to have appeared in London in as many days. It shows fish drawn on 3 glass windows of a City of London Police sentry box.
Good morning. A couple of pretty big stories to talk about today.
5 Live Breakfast
with Rachel Burden and Rick Edwards.
5 Live Breakfast with us two.
An update from our very special correspondent. Let's hear it for Rick's dad.
Hello, Richard. And I suppose Rachel.
What is that about?
I don't know. That's him. This is not on me. I can't defend the guy.
I didn't want to just pass by the fact that you come into work in your slippers this morning.
Yeah. Just looked down and thought, I'm comfy today. What's going on? Oh, OK. 5 Live Breakfast.
Listen, weekdays from 6 on BBC Sounds.
The Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
with Eleanor Oldroyd and Tony Livesey.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm doing some quality whispering for the first time this Olympics. I've never had the chance to do this. We're getting the Netherlands national anthem in front of me at the moment. They've got the medal ceremony for the men's. Keirin Lavreasen's just taken gold. He's absolutely delighted. On the podium, yes, it is the 16th and final day of the Olympics here in the Velodrome. Great Britain's Emma Finucane has won the women's sprint bronze medal match.
The 21-year-old takes the bronze in the individual sprint. A 3rd Olympic medal in her collection in her very first Games.
And Emily Campbell claimed Great Britain's final medal of the Games in the women's 81-kilogram weightlifting.
That will be a bronze medal for Emily Campbell of Great Britain, who now starts to really lap up the support she's got here today.
That means that Britain will leave Paris with 65 Olympic medals, one more than they won in Tokyo 3 years ago.
The Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
With Eleanor Oldroyd and Tony Livesey.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
As you know, we're going to promise to cover every medal. Oh, we have done. We've finished. We've covered every medal. We no longer have to say that because we've done it. We did what we said on the tin. 65 medals for Britain, all covered. Welcome back, everyone, officially. I'm in the Velodrome. Ellie's in the cafe. Tony Livesey and Eleanor Oldroyd with you.
Yes, after covering 32 sports across 16 days. We're just going to, over the next hour, bring the curtain down and we'll reflect on what's been an incredible 2 weeks of action here in Paris at the 2024 Olympics.
Yep, 328 gold medals have been handed out. There's just one outstanding. Julien will know about this. France are looking to win the final gold of their home games. They take on the United States in the women's basketball gold medal match later this afternoon.
So over the course of the next hour, we'll look back on some of the golden moments for Team GB and the silver and the bronze moments as well. And we'll celebrate the achievements of sport's global stars. And we'll discuss what legacy these games will leave for Paris and for France as a whole.
Yep, so it's myself here in the Velodrome. Ellie's in the cafe with Bunsey and Julien. I'm just looking at this medal table, by the way, Julien. A moment ago, we said it was judged on total number of medals, in which the case the GB has 65, France has 63. So gold or no gold.
There's a difference between the medal table,
saying.
Tony,
Hashtag
and how it's assessed. Because that's why the United States always win the medal table in the United States.
Yeah, they're the only ones. The IOC and pretty much every other international federations or national federations counts the gold first. Whether that's right or not, I'm not too sure really, but we have 16 gold medals and maybe 17th, as you say, with the basketball, although we know that Team USA are going to win the final already. And you have 14, Tony. So you win the total medal, we win the gold medal. So we're all happy in the end.
It's a draw. It's a draw.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if we want to be picky about this, the Netherlands have kind of come in between because they've won 15 gold medals, so one more than Great Britain and one less than France. But they've only won 34 medals in total.
Yeah. Who the heck are the Netherlands? I need to be picky because we said 328 golds have been given out already. It's actually 327 because we're now about to have the women's Omnium final here in the Velodrome, and that's been delayed. There have been a number of crashes this afternoon involving British riders. Actually, Hamish Turnbull crashed out in the keirin, as did Jack Carl a little bit later. But I gather they're both okay. I'm not the event is carrying on as normal. It just means this final is delayed. We are going to take commentary on it though, and it will be, drum roll, it will be Five Live's final commentary of these Olympics. Who would have thought this moment would ever come?
Well, I've got
not when Ali Bruce Ball did the Minions at the start, and he's doing the Omnium at the end.
I've got one for you, Tony. I've got one for you here, right? So in terms of the medals, there is a gold medal to be won here, but Great Britain aren't going to win it, and France aren't going to win it either. But Nia Evans for Great Britain starts in 21st position on 15 points, and Valentine Fortin of France is on 25 points. There's only 10 points between them, so you and Jules as the decider.
Oh yeah.
How about we see which rider finishes ahead of the other, and that settles it.
Winner takes all, Julien.
That sounds good. And Ali is a bit French now, as we call him, Alistair Bruce Ballon, so I'm sure he will also be a bit in between.
Yeah, I am.
How do you take that, Alistair?
I've been won over, Tony. That's been self-admission. I've bought myself a Team France cap. I've been so won over by Dupont, Marchand, Riner and Benjamin Thomas in the Velodrome that I feel half French now.
Right, so it's me against the world essentially then in the women's Omnium. When's it? How far away are we?
Yeah, it's just about to get started. So this is the last event, Tony. It's a confusing one. So we just got to try and keep it together about half an hour or so. And you can come and go as you please with this. It's 80 laps, Victoria.
Yeah.
It's the points race. Our overall leaderboard at the moment has Jennifer Valente, the Olympic champion, the American, on 118 points. Georgia Baker, the Australian, on 108. And Maggie Coles-Lister, the Canadian, on 96. The bell is going to go every 10 laps, and then there are points to be won on the sprints. But crucially, again, we always say this, Victoria, with these races, if you can take a lap on the field, you get an additional 20 points, and that is huge, isn't it?
That is huge. I mean, it's a shorter race, obviously only 80 kilometres. There'll be few opportunities, and there'll have to be riders that perhaps manage to choose an opportune moment not to be followed or pursued by the main group. However, I'm just going to make a note that Lara Gillespie is in fourth position for Ireland at the moment, so she only needs to win a few points to be really up in contention with the medals.
Yeah, good point. Amelie Dirksen 84, Lara Gillespie 76, so 20 points off the bronze medal position, but were she able to take a lap, that 20 points would suddenly shoot her up the table. So that's what we're going to see, Tony, over the next however many minutes or so, is the 22 riders out there. Victoria, just on Nia Evans now, you've got no chance to win a medal here. We were talking about this with Sophie Capewell. This is her last ride at these Olympic Games. What's your attitude going into this one?
I still feel like you should ride every single race to the best of your ability, and you know, as a GB athlete, it's a privilege to be selected. The selection is so difficult to get on the team, and the standard is so high. You have to be a medal contender to come here. So I think you've got to honour that opportunity, I think, and ride it to the very highest standard you can.
She's 34 years old. She may never ride at another Olympic Games. I guess that's kind of the way you've got to think about it. And they're underway. The whistle has blown. So in half lap, you'll get a gun to signify the start of an 80-lap race. And the key points are every 10 laps come the sprints, and that's when the points are scored. But we've got to watch for the breakaways as well. So Tony and Ellie will tell me just how much of this race we are going to take. Ooh. There goes the gun. And Lara Gillespie, all in green, different shades of green for Ireland, high on the banking away to our right-hand side. And let's not forget as well, Victoria, in terms of this race, these riders in this Omnium have already competed in 3 gruelling races over the last couple of hours. So you're going to be weary here.
Now, most of them have competed in many races over the last week with the women's team pursuit as well. So it's their legs must have a residual fatigue in them going into this race. It's not surprising, but they've got to leave everything behind here.
OK, Tony, so they're underway. First sprint in 8 laps' time. We're keeping an eye on the Livesey Laurent side bet, which is Evans against Fortin.
And on that, I just want to clarify the rules. Is it collective points in this race or totally? Because the French woman's ahead.
Overall
already.
finish. No, I think we got, oh my goodness, there's an early effort from the Swiss rider to take a break and nearly got knocked off a bike. No, I think we start with the French having an advantage because they are ahead of us in gold medals in the table. So you're going to have to come from behind to win this one, Tony.
Okay, well, I'll give my best. I'll give my best efforts. Cheers, Ali. 77 laps left then of the final race in the velodrome and the final commentary here on 5 Live after 2 weeks of the Olympics. Ali and Bunsi and Julian are taking a moment to reflect in the cafe along with myself on. It's been. I mean, if we just throw right back to the opening ceremony, guys. And you know, mixed reactions on the night. I loved it absolutely. Was it you, Bunsi, who wrote it off in a note to me within the first few moments, or was it somebody else? Somebody passed me a note.
Oh yeah,
it was Bunsi.
The start was dreadful. The start was dreadful, and then that momentum
it improved though,
came.
did it not?
Oh, listen! We were actually dancing. The three of us with Kelly, Chappers. Yeah, it sounds odd, but Chappers was up. We were thrilled. The last hour was just absolutely stupendous.
Yeah.
The start was tough in that weather. It was tough.
And I think it's been interesting the way, we don't want to kind of spend all our time thinking about the opening ceremony, but actually Thomas Joly, who was the artistic director of that opening ceremony and of the closing ceremony tonight, Jules, has said that he's actually made some changes as a response, because some people were upset by, they thought that there was disrespectful to the church, the Catholic Church. You know, for a secular country, religion still plays a big part in France, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and I think some of the reactions certainly, I think, surprised a few people here and a few people who put that ceremony together. Maybe they were a bit naive, thinking that everything was going to be perfect and that everybody would love it. It's never the case. And we will see tonight. They promised that tonight's closing ceremony would be quite special as well at the Stade de France. That it would be an amazing spectacle again. But I think what I love the most about the opening ceremony is the unique side of it, the uniqueness in it, and the fact that for the first time ever it was taken out of the Olympic Stadium to start with, and then to do it on the water that went. There's always something that people are not going to like, it's obvious.
Yeah.
But overall I thought it was just sensational.
I'll go for men, pot-bellied men sprayed blue in a Last Supper every single day of the week over some of the stuff I've sat with over the years. Can I just make a quick point? That was the opening ceremony. 30 odd hours earlier, there was rugby sevens taking place. If I'm not mistaken, Fiji played France.
Yeah, the football had started as well.
30 hours earlier. I've never known anything like it.
And you think about the pressure, actually, you know, kind of going back to France, who put on the athletes like in the UK as well, you know, like Jessica Ennis in London, Ellie Simmons at the Paralympics in London as well. You know, Antoine Dupont had staked everything on that rugby sevens gold. Léon Marchand had his massive poster all over everywhere as well. So people like that, and Teddy Riner as well, who we were all unbelievably privileged to witness in action. I mean, they absolutely delivered on what was expected.
Yeah, they did, and I don't think it's easy. Yes, you've got the support of the home crowd, which is something very special. We saw that in London, we saw it in Rio, we see it everywhere all the time. But then there's also come with it the pressure of having to deliver, because people expect you to deliver, and there's so much at stake. And as we've been saying, it's once every 4 years you make a little mistake somewhere. In the judo, for example, we saw it so well, and then the dream is over, and that's it. And you'll have to wait 4 more years, but never you will have another home games. This was your opportunity, and I think it takes a lot of not just talent but mental strength to be able to beat Dupont or Marchand and say, you know what, I'm going to deliver here. Marchand is 5 medals, 4 in gold. Can you imagine? He's 22 years old, he's a baby.
And we're talking about pressure as well, and we're kind of keeping this international, Tony, and we'll come back to GB in a moment. But I was watching Simone Biles. I saw every single routine that she did in that gymnastics arena, and the mental strength that it took from her, Bunsi, to come back from what happened to her in Tokyo to do what she did in Paris is incredible.
And some recurring injuries during various routines.
Yeah.
There was running repairs. I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but they are built differently. The absolute top elite athletes, the men and women that bring us out, the men and women that make us keep our eyes on them relentlessly, even when they're off the beam, off the floor, out of the ring, away from the track, out of the pool. You're watching them. You're watching every single thing they do in and around whatever it is that they do, whatever it is that makes them geniuses. And with Simone Biles, after Tokyo, I've no idea what odds there were on her performing like she did here in Paris, but I don't think they were long enough, because I thought we'd virtually seen the last of her at that level. And I'm so envious of you, because I was on my way there and you said desist. Do not come any further.
It was the hottest ticket. It was the hottest ticket, you know.
So Ellie the bouncer. All right,
exactly.
Okay. Yeah, coming in. Well, look, just very briefly, I was privileged to see Marchand swim, which I'll never forget. As an amateur swimmer, I love that. But also, just a quick word while we're on international stuff. By the way, we've got a montage of every single GB medal to come before the end of the show, so listen out for that. That'll be fantastic. Mondo Duplantis in the old pole vault. Oh, I saw him in the heats, not in the final, but that final was extraordinary. Another world level athlete that I've been privileged to see here at the games. He was fantastic. We're into the final cycling event. It's the women's Omnium final race. It's the final 5 live commentary in shards, in little pieces. Alistair Bruce Ball can update us.
Yeah, 57 laps to go, Tony, so that means 6 sprints in the race. Valentine Fortin, riding for the pride of France and the wallet of Julien Laurent, has managed to take a lap on the entire field, so has boosted her score by 20 points, so she's now 30 points ahead of Nia Evans. So I think Tony's in trouble there. But Victoria, we're actually concentrating on proper Olympic sport. Let's put it to one side. In the first sprint, the American Jennifer Valente took the 5 points in the sprint. She's in the gold medal position on 123 points. Her closest challenger is the Australian Georgia Baker on 108. But there's still a lot that could happen with 50 odd laps to go.
There is a lot could happen, but it's highly unlikely that Australia and Georgia Baker are going to be able to escape at all from the front of this group. There's no way they're going to be escaped to get a lap in order to be in contention for that gold medal. Jennifer Valente will be following and marking her in every move. Yeah, that's a really good point. And just as Victoria explained that's exactly what happened. Georgia Baker went on a little burst down the back straight, and the first rider on her back wheel is Jennifer Valente. She will not let her get away, because if she got 20 points, then suddenly she'd be in the gold medal position. 54 laps to go, 6 sprints to go, and the side bet is looking good for Julien Laurent. Yeah, well, can we stop mentioning it? Just is
there actually money on this? I didn't think that was part of the agreement.
It should have been.
No. What's French for draw veil over it? On air. Let's do that. The transition has already begun from Olympics to football over this weekend, and it continues to do so. It's half-time with Hibs against Celtic, and Gavin Wallace has been watching.
It is indeed. Hibernian 0, Celtic 2. Nicholas Kuhn's opener on 3 was followed up by a 25-yard rocket from captain Callum McGregor on 19. That's the difference at half-time. Hibs really struggling, Celtic cruising. Half-time, Hibernian 0, Celtic 2.
Just a final, thank you, Gavin. Just a final word about Simone Biles, Ellie. I'm surprised 5 Live bosses have not chosen to run again my Vox Pop with after I missed her by 30 seconds, but still interviewed the fans who'd seen her. I thought it was a triumph.
Shocked, absolutely shocked at that decision.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were so many celebs watching her. But you know, Steph Curry, who you saw in action last night, Jules was there one day as well. But yeah, she was incredible. But actually, I mean, I suppose we should all kind of give our own personal favourite moments of the games as well, and you mentioned the artistic swimming last night, Bunsey, because it came so out of the blue for me. I absolutely loved that. But trampolining and watching Bryony Page in action was just glorious. Actually, what was the comparison that Katie made? She said made it was like lifting an African lion. She said, Emily Campbell just now.
Yeah, African lion.
And we had one of those comparisons in the trampolining where they said they were bouncing, some of them bounced as high as 2 elephants standing on top of each other, which is kind of slightly mind-boggling, particularly if you picture those elephants on a trampoline as well. That probably wouldn't work, I don't think.
That is listen, I'd be proud of doing that. So instead of the usual, it's the same as 2 London buses, 2 giraffes, the usual stuff. Someone's come up, whoever did that commentary, I love that. 2 giant elephants standing on each other's back.
That is how high how they bounce. So that was amazing in terms of the things that I witnessed personally, because we're all lucky to catch those moments, and a lot of it is luck, because you're in the right place at the right time. And what about you, Bunsey? What was yours?
I've got to be honest with you, and I was with Jules, so he'll understand. It was being there when Big Teddy brought home that gold. It was the way he did it. It was the way he carried himself. It was a nation of weights. It was Macron wandering around, kissing and cuddling everybody. it was Jules and I jumping up and down. The guy's 6'8" or 6'9" and about 20 stone, and he's getting on. He's been out of competition intentionally, staying warm, just so his bones and his body doesn't get overused. And he did it when he had to do it. And we were talking, chappers, Jules and I. We were trying to create. If you're going to say goodbye, you're going to leave your metaphorical boots behind in the middle of the field, like the Zidane was meant to do. You remember that years ago? If you're going to do that, then Teddy has had not just his dream, his fantasy, his wildest, craziest fantasies come true. And it was a pleasure and a delight. And we cried like all the French guys. And I had tears on my chest from a French radio guy who was cuddling me. Tears on my chest. I'm never washing the shirt. I'm going to leave it.
It was just incredible. I mean, first of all, to have 5 Live asking us 3 to be there and do the commentary on it. For judo, who's not really a British sport, the culture is very different. So first we were privileged to be there for that, and to be on the radio live, to try to make people back home or in their cars or at work or doing whatever they were doing, getting into it, and then for Teddy to do that in the semi-final first.
Yeah, semi-final first one.
And then in the final was just incredible. And yeah, we screamed, we hugged each other, we kissed each other. It was incredible.
It was very, very Gallic, the whole thing. Even Chappers might even have had a little tiny moment of emotion in all of that. I mean, for you, Tony, because this is the first games you've been to, isn't it, or the first games you've worked on. So for you, what have been the standout moments?
Just for the record and the CV, I did all my late shows in London in 2012, but they wouldn't let me in anywhere. So that's the difference here. I did see the beach volleyball while I was at the top of the London Eye, and that was it. I've seen skateboarding, I've seen horses dance, I've seen Leon Marchand, I've seen Mondo Duplantis, as I've said. Wow. The one for me, though, was, as you know, Ellie, the position we have here at the Velodrome, we're smack in the middle. The cyclists go round and round us, and to the left is the podium, say 50 feet away. And I was here the night when the women's team sprinters won their gold medal, Emma Finucane, Sophie Capewell and Katie Marchant, and the flags, the Union flag went up 6 feet away from me and the national anthem played out. I think I've still got the goosebumps. Like Bunsey's never washing his shirt again. I'm never having a bath, because I've still got not that there was one in my room anyway. I've still got the bath. I've still got the goosebumps from that. That was my personal highlight. But just to be here, and here, as we just corporate stuff, but this is absolutely true. We're going to play that montage of all the medals. To hear these commentators do what they do is an absolute effortless masterclass, and to be part of that, but listening while we're 6 feet away from them has just been fantastic.
Yeah. As far as where you rank these games, Bunsey, I mean, so you and I are kind of sort of equal, aren't we? We're more or less head, maybe one in front, possibly. But for you, how does this rank? Because we like lists, we like tables.
I think you have to look at all sorts of things. So you have to look at weather, bizarrely. You have to look at degree of difficulty. I'll use a bit of a sporting term of getting to and from venues, what you saw at the venues. And then you have to look at maybe your post-event experiences and the travel to it. And I've got to be honest with you, this is scoring all over the board. Does it beat London? Well, London was personal. Does it beat Rio, which was sensational? Does it beat Athens? I love that. I mean, you know what? It might just be nudging ahead. It might just be like these games. It's like it's never ending. It's just moving. It's like slow lava coming down a hill. It's just edging closer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's almost like it's what they ask the Thomas Bach to do at the end of the games, isn't it? Really, is to come up with a way to describe in his final speech how you rank these games. Exceptional games. Well, anyway, we'll come back to that. Let's get an update from Ali on the women's omnium.
Right, 31 laps to go, 4 sprints to go. Nia Evans of Great Britain has managed to take a lap on the field. It currently has her 18th overall on 38 points. Victoria, she's going again. So the Japanese rider who went out on her own, she's got about half a lap on Nia Evans. Nia Evans half a lap behind her, but she's making the break and trying to take a second lap to get another 20 points here.
She is. That's a really tough manoeuvre, but she's obviously trying to make the very most of this last opportunity at the Olympics. Interestingly, Poland have now, after taking a lap, stepped up the leaderboard, which has been really interesting. Just picked up another 5 points, not 5 points, just picked up some points in the last sprint there as well, just to add to that.
Last sprint is double points. Jennifer Valente, the American, looking very comfortable in the gold medal position on 144 points, but then the battle for the medals is fascinating. Georgia Baker of Australia in silver on 108, Pikulik of Poland on 104, so's Amelie Derrickson of Denmark, and Stenberg on 102. And I tell you what, Lara Gillespie of Ireland isn't out of it either on 99 points. 27 laps to go, 3 sprints to go. Those, particularly silver, bronze, Victoria, those are properly up for grabs.
They are. It's going to come down to that final sprint again. It's going to be an exciting finish to this race, I think, this women's endurance race. So
that's what we need, don't we? It's the last commentary at the Olympics.
Crescendo.
On 5 Live, so we're going to have to give it everything, Tony, in a little while.
in an effort in complete and utter futility, the Polish coach in the middle here, about 6 feet away from me, is screaming his head off every time the cyclist comes round. Victoria, I presume you wouldn't hear that on the velodrome?
Probably not. Maybe not. It depends how loud he is.
He's going bonkers.
But yeah, you do see a lot of coaches getting really kind of worked up in the middle there. Sometimes they're almost as exhausted as you are, and they didn't even ride it. But yeah, they can't help themselves. They're too involved.
He's going again. Calm down, man. Right.
I can see him now.
Can you see him?
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah. Well, let's hope Pickle can pick a little up of what he's saying. Right. In the meantime, so we're on lap 24 to go. Any Olympic geeks out there who are hanging on every word of the 5 Live commentary, 24 laps till that's it, the final moment of commentary here at the Games. We're reflecting on everything we've seen and heard. And I will point out, I keep saying, because I can't wait to hear it, the montage coming up of every single GB medal. Shall we turn, Ellie, to GB's fortunes then at the Games and what we make of their efforts?
Yeah, it's a very good... there is a very good, actually, list on the BBC Sport website if you're thinking, right, OK, so how did this happen? Who won the different medals at different stages? So we're going all the way back to Tom Pidcock winning the gold medal in the mountain biking, which feels like quite some time ago. We had the eventing team, Laura Collett, Tom McEwen and Ross Cantor as well. Nathan Hales in the men's shooting, the trap final.
Saturday and Sunday, the opening Saturdays and Sundays.
The opening Saturday and Sunday. It started off like a absolute train, didn't it? And the final medal of the Games, we should say, for Team GB was Emily Campbell. It was a bronze in the weightlifting, and so let's hear from her. She was absolutely delighted to win bronze in the 81 kilogram.
Emily, is this bronze medal in front of your supporters and this atmosphere actually just as special as the silver from Tokyo?
Absolutely, yeah. The field today was a lot tougher than it was in Tokyo. The standard was so high today, and I really had to pull it out of the bag. And this road has been really long. Tokyo, I was new to the sport, I was enjoying things, everything was great, and that was a bonus medal. But this one really came from the heart. We've had a tough year building up, a tough 18 months really, but we pulled it out at the right time, and yeah, could not be more elated with my performance. And it actually was a PB best performance as well, so you can't really complain when you do that.
How lovely is it to have family, friends, supporters here though?
It's absolutely nuts. Like the amount of faces I saw in that audience, it was like having a British crowd today. It was insane. And it just, we played out Tokyo and we're like, oh, it wasn't too bad without the fans. These guys make everything, absolutely everything.
In terms of the contest itself, you came out with so much confidence and set your stall out right from the snatch element.
Yeah.
Was that your game plan, to just come and make a stand, if you like, and say, right, I'm going to claim my position on the podium before anyone else can?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've been away for a while. I've not competed on the international scene for a while, so these girls kind of forgot what I could do, and I just wanted to remind them. And also, we know snatch is my weaker one of the two, so I knew if I could come out snatch really well, then I was set up really well to, get a medal. Like I said, this field was tough, and you really had to pull the big guns out today.
I know a big part of what you do is giving confidence to other women and girls to be strong and be proud of being strong and powerful, and this just sort of underlines that again, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I had so much fun getting ready for this, doing my hair, doing my makeup, everything. And this morning, I just knew that I was in really good shape, and I just wanted to give it my all, and yeah, I'm just so glad I got rewarded.
Don't worry, I was going to mention the hair. I don't normally do this with medalists, but can you turn around for us, face away from us? There you go. How long did that take?
It took a good 3 hours yesterday, so my good friend Lisa Farrell, who's a celebrity stylist, came over and did it especially for me, and then we attached the rings today, so it was a nice little just surprise element. I mean, all the media's been talking about is my hair in the build-up to this, so I had to come out with a showstopper.
And how are you going to celebrate tonight and over the next few days?
My family, most definitely, I can't wait to see them. We're going to have some good fun, and then it's back to London to, celebrate with the British fans because, they're everything.
Well, that was Emily Campbell talking to Andy Stevenson, and so I think we've heard from every medalist of the game, haven't we? We've all 65 of them. We've brought you every medal live. We've heard from every single one of them, but the different reactions, that's the thing. I mean, Tony, you've seen this as well. There's kind of different emotions tied up with different colour medals. Silver can be a massive success, or it can be a massive disappointment, and it's all relative, isn't it? Really, but we've learnt so much about what goes into the mind of a sportsman and woman.
That's what I love about the Olympics, is that the medal's one thing, it's the stories behind them, and that's the nuance. Like we saw Emma Finucane today get bronze when she could really possibly have got gold, but she was absolutely over the moon with that. She's won 3 medals, including a gold. Right, I'm sad to say the Polish coach had his head in his hands a moment ago, so I think Pikulik is... whoa, hang on, she's in second.
Picked it up, Tony. 7 laps to go. Yeah, took another lap. Incredible effort from Daria Pikulik. She shot up with that 20 points, that second 20 points for taking another lap in the race into the silver medal position. She's on 129 points. She's 15 points behind Jennifer Valente, the defending Olympic champion, the American. She's on 144. Ali Wollaston, the New Zealand rider, also took a lap to get to 119 points. Valentine Fortin, the French rider, is now taking out hard with 5 laps to go. And the key thing here, Victoria Pendleton, Nia Evans, I think, is actually still trying to catch the peloton here to take another lap for herself. But the key thing at the top of the leaderboard, double points for the last sprint.
Yeah, double points for the last sprint. So it's going to get a little bit cagey, I think, in the last few laps there. A lot of riders watching each other with 4 laps to go.
They're pointing at Nia Evans because Nia Evans is on her own and she is trying to take a second lap in this race, and she's very nearly going to do that if she doesn't run out of laps or run out of gas. 4 laps to go. So she is leading this race, heading towards the final sprint, and then it is the peloton in front of her. So I think Jennifer Valente, the American, is comfortable in the gold medal position.
Yeah, no one's going to be able to contend that or push her out of her spot. It'll just be interesting to see what happens between second and third, if they can pick up any points in this final sprint.
Yeah, and just out of Tony and Julian's interest, if Nia Evans does make the lap and gets the 20 points, then Tony is going to win the Battle of Honour there in Great Britain against France. 2 laps to go. The bell is on the way. Nia Evans still hasn't made the lap. She is going to get points for the final sprint if she doesn't get the full 20. 10 points available in the final sprint. Really good battle here for the bronze medal between Ali Wollaston and Lotte Kopecky. The riders are on the back straight. The bell goes for Nia Evans, but she is miles ahead of everyone else. And now we're looking at the peloton, and I can see Ali Wollaston in the bronze medal position pushing hard for 6 points that would take her to 125 and confirm the silver medal. Jennifer Valente, the American, is way off the pace here. She is not worried because she is going to take the gold medal. Nia Evans has taken the full 10 points for the final sprint. Ali Wollaston across the line. She will take the 6. Maria Martins for Portugal takes 2, and Pikulik takes 2 for Poland. So she will finish on 131. Ali Wollaston finishes on 125. So Wollaston bronze, Pikulik silver, and Jennifer Valente, the American, defends her Olympic title. Rode strategically, rode brilliantly, controlled the race, got some early points, and has won the gold medal. And in terms of the little GB France battle we were having, Nia Evans with that sprint finishes 2 points ahead of France's Valentine Fortin. And I can see Tony Livesey punching the air like a Polish coach in track centre in the velodrome.
Where's the podium? Do you think they'd mind if I got on it?
Unbelievable.
We'll put one up at the wrap party, Tony, don't worry.
Yeah.
Jules will take it very, very well. Actually, Jules has just made a very interesting point about USA medals.
Yes, you're right, because with this one they go level with China, and I suspect unless a miracle happens they will beat us in the women's basketball final, which means that they will go above China in terms of gold medal tally, which is
amazing.
The rivalry between the two, sporting wise, I mean, is quite strong, and that also means that USA will win the whole medal tally, all colours together, but also the gold one.
Well, we should just say we need to say, well, we're going to say lots of thank yous between now and 2 o'clock, of course. But I've got to say thank you to Ali and Vic. I mean, what was your overall, what was your individual medal tally, Ali, from a Team GB point of view? Because these things are not important except that they are to all of us commentators.
What, in the golden mic, you mean?
I had 4.
Mic, which is the golden mic competition. I think. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, Ellie, if you commentate on swimming one week and track cycling the next, you've got to be a red-hot favourite for that title. I think Great Britain ended up with 8 in the velodrome, and it was 5 in the pool. But I mean, I'm sharing my 8 with Victoria.
Of course.
Clearly, we're both up there with our 8. We're a team. We're a team.
And Jonathan Overend is on the train back to London, so he can't say anything at this stage, but he hoovered up quite a few as well, alongside you, Bunsey.
Overs will be listening, and in about the next 30 or 40 seconds, he'll get a message. Don't worry about that. Overs is in permanent contact. Sometimes I wonder about Overs' MI5 connections, because he never misses a single thing, and a man has to sleep. I'm telling you, I just thrown it out there. Overs, down to you. Send us a message.
He has unbelievable energy levels, and Tony, you have as well. And I hope you've enjoyed it, because it's been an absolute joy to share afternoons with you over the last 2 and a bit weeks.
Yeah, ditto, Ellie. I mean, my final
memories.
thought is that, I've told you my highlights, but I'm ending my games beaming because a Polish bloke who I'll never see again has just leapt 4 feet into the arms of his taller mate, and they've danced around the arena here because Picklet came second. That's just beautiful to see happy people when they've worked so hard. That's my final take on it. I'm off. I'm just going to collapse in a dark room somewhere.
Yeah,
Although if anyone's remotely interested, I'm back on Drive on Thursday.
You never see. Look, Velodrome team, over and out. Thank you so much. You've all done an absolutely amazing job.
Thanks,
and Fletch
Ellie.
as well, our producer there, and the engineers who've been with us down at the Velodrome as well, because it has been, we might have mentioned it once or times, quite hot.
Yeah, quite
and
warm.
quite grueling
Quite
down
warm.
there. But look, we have promised this over the last couple of hours, and we're going to bring it to you now. We promised you at the start that we would bring you every medal moment live. 65 medals in total for Team GB. It all started with bronze for divers Yasmin Harper and Scarlett Mew Jensen, and it ended with the same colour medal for weightlifter Emily Campbell. So here is every one of those moments as heard on 5 Live.
This is the pinnacle of your journey. You have come to Paris as athletes. Now you're Olympians.
Célébrant la 33e Olympiade des temps modernes.
This is a forward 3.5 somersault dive. There they go. The synchronisation's good. It's going to be a bronze for Great Britain on day 1 of the Olympic Games in Paris. Britain's first ever female synchro diving medal from Scarlett Mew Jensen and Yasmin Harper. It's the sprint for home for Anna Henderson, and she makes it. It's a brilliant ride from her, gritting her teeth, staring for the finish line. What an achievement for Britain. Anna Henderson, Olympic silver medalist.
It is so close at the end, desperately close. Petey's still going, and he gets the silver medal in the end. The ultimate warrior in the pool for Great Britain.
Across the water she goes, into the next. She ducks through that one. Now she's got to put the power down. Come on, Kimberly. It's 98.94. Kimberly Woods from rugby is on the podium. She's won bronze and she cannot believe it.
She only has 2 fences left to jump. She's over the first part of that double. She's clear, 1 to go. It's gold for Britain. And their eventers. Laura Collette has anchored Great Britain, and it's Britain's first gold at the Paris Games.
Here comes Pidcock once more. Oh, they touch wheels and they almost take each other out of the race. Pidcock now takes the lead, and Koretsky, I think, has been damaged by that. He's pulled clear, he's coming up the finishing stage, and Tom Pidcock wins gold for Great Britain. It is their hardest dive of the competition. Up they come. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes!
Somersaults.
Yes!
It's brilliant from Dalian Williams. It will be silver.
And through a downstream gate, a green gate, these canoeists with the single paddle. It's gold for France and silver for Great Britain, and Adam Burgess as he applauds that performance.
Matt Richards in lane 1 might have the edge here. Desperately close at the end again. Can Richards get there for gold? Popovic beats him right at the end. And Matt Richards has pulled a silver medal out of the bag.
One of the all-time greats of eventing, Michael Young, but Laura Collette will be thrilled because she finished 9th last time. Laura Collette takes bronze here for Britain.
Nathan Hales takes his 47th and makes it, so he is 4 ahead. 4 ahead, he cannot be caught. That is the gold medal for Nathan Hales of Great Britain.
Great Britain are bringing it home. They're on the way towards the gold medal. He's got a good length clear. They're on their feet, the British fans inside the pool in Paris. And here he comes, Duncan Scott, to retain the title for Great Britain. It's glorious gold once again.
But Alex Yee is feeling it. He's now feeling it, Matt.
Alex Yee has found a last burst of energy right at the end of this 10K. Ali and I are on our feet. Alex Yee of Great Britain is the Olympic champion.
Up to the line they come now. Have Britain got one last push? They're getting closer and
closer and closer with 10 metres to go, with 5 metres to go. I think they've done it. Just celebrations from the women's squad. They have won Olympic gold.
Landing cleanly, bringing swoons and oohs from the crowd. I mean, he's getting a trick in every couple of seconds here. It's going to bring him to silver. Silver medal for Keirin Riley.
Gold for France in the women's triathlon. Again, Beth Potter of Great Britain hold off the challenge of Lombardi for bronze. It's bronze for Beth Potter.
Spendolini Syriacs.
Oh, good entry. Well done. Exactly what they needed to do.
Britain are confirmed with the gold medal. What an achievement. With the bronze medal, I beg your pardon. It's all too much, Steve, here at the Olympic Games. It feels like a gold.
But with 50, 60 metres to go, can Wild and Hodgkinsburn hold on for bronze? I think they're going to get on the podium here. It's going to be tight. New Zealand win, second Romania, and it's bronze, a brilliant bronze for this team of Becky Wild and Matilda Hodgkinsburn. GB just miss out in silver. It looked with 100 metres to go as if they would put their foot down and storm to an historic gold. This time it's the Dutch who celebrate the tightest of finishes here in the men's sport. The USA crossed the line, second New Zealand, and GB will hold on for a comfortable bronze. And they're slapping the water. 50 metres left now for Ollie Wynne-Griffith and Tom George. 5 big strokes. Croatia coming right at the end, and Croatia winning at the last. A rally with a couple of metres to go. Ollie Wynne-Griffith and Tom George couldn't have given any more, and they have a silver medal.
A lot of acrobatics they're about to perform in such a short space of time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4.5. It's a brilliant finish to the competition for Law and Harding. Harding on his Olympic debut, and Great Britain win the bronze, and they have to be pleased with that.
They've had the poster of the Tokyo disappointment up to remind them of what they missed out on.
Dig in, drop that hammer, GB.
They look left and right, they cross the line, Olympic champions. Imogen Grant and Emily Craig win gold.
Trapping on the drift tug.
Oh my God.
She's gone off completely. She has just gone off to the side, the Chinese gymnast, and that will mean that it is gold for Bryony Page. It's a gold medal in the trampolining.
He's cleared by these. One from home for Britain to win Olympic gold. He's done it! It's Olympic gold in the shoot opening for Great Britain. What a stunning round from Scott Brash.
Powering down this pool in a whirl of white water. Ben Proud's in there. He's in the mix, but he won't get the gold. He'll get the silver. Ben Proud adds an Olympic medal to his CV. Marshall makes it 4 Olympic gold medals in Paris. Duncan Scott takes the silver, just like he did in Tokyo.
GB have dropped the USA now, and now they're going at it with Canada for silver. Henry Fieldman, the Cox, is telling his 8 to work with every single bit of effort they've got. One last push, GB, but no, Canada take the silver. Great Britain with the bronze. Romania win the women's 8. Another brilliant race on the lake. GB who win the men's 8. A brilliant end to the week for the GB rowers. And Harry Brightmore is up on his feet. He's pointing to all 8. He's pointing to them and he's saying, you are the men.
And it will be Emma Wilson of Great Britain who takes the bronze. She was guaranteed a bronze going into this final. She had dominated the qualifying series. It is another medal for Great Britain and for Emma Wilson.
Listen to that reaction. It means Denmark are in silver, and it is bronze for the trio from Great Britain: Becky Moody, Carl Hester and Charlotte Fry.
Incoming
14.466. Jake Jarman has secured himself a bronze medal. Well done, Jake.
And what celebrations from everybody in the GB team in Huntington Gymnastics Club.
The Netherlands are the Olympic champions in the mixed 4x400 metre relay. Great Britain and Northern Ireland get their first track and field Olympic medal with bronze. Charlotte Fry has got an Olympic bronze medal to match the Olympic bronze medal she got in the team yesterday. Charlotte Fry and the gorgeous stallion Glamourdale are on the podium.
Harry Hepworth is guaranteed a medal for GB. Will Jake Jarman get one as well? He goes into silver medal position, the Armenian, but Harry Hepworth hangs on for that bronze medal.
She makes the target. It is gold for Chile's Crevetta Chadid. Amber Rutter takes silver. She shakes her head because I don't think she was particularly happy with the release of the last two. But what a story for Amber Rutter of Great Britain. She takes silver at the age of 26 in the women's ski.
5 feet for Tommy Fleetwood, who has played magnificently. This for a silver medal for Great Britain. Sends it forward and in, and Tommy Fleetwood takes silver. The man from Southport has done his town proud. He's done his country proud.
She's pushing Beth Potter up to the line. It's going to be goal for Germany, perhaps, but Beth Potter is closing and still closing as she runs out of time. It's a medal finish for Great Britain.
She's putting the bower down and she's got 4th. Agony for Kimberly Woods. Wait, there's a fault for Lilik. Lilik, a fault at gate 2. And Kim Woods is going to win a bronze. Oh, wow, what drama. Through the last upstream gate and now put the power down to win silver. Joe Clark, can he? Yes, he's across the line with a silver medal and he's happy with it. I'm so pleased he's happy with it, Joe Clark. Emma Finucane, she is a blur of blue on a bike fizzing down the back straight in the velodrome. Can she bring it home into that final bend? Now into the home straight. Emma Finucane is going to get there and take the gold medal for Great Britain in a new world record.
Keely Hodgkinson into the home straight. She looks up at the big screen. She's starting to pull away. Her competition are trying to get back to the British star. They are not going to catch her. It's going to be gold for Keely Hodgkinson.
It's going to be bronze for Team GB Sky Brown. 2 Olympics in a row. She's on the podium. It's another Olympic medal for the 16-year-old.
Josh Kerr comes onto his shoulder, but look at the American! Look at the American! Cole Hooker's going to upset the party! Josh Kerr says, not on my watch, but he's going to be beaten!
Verde Alvarez has won it. Lewis Richardson loses his semi-final 3-2, a split decision as close as it gets, and Verde Alvarez from Mexico scrapes through to the men's light middleweight final.
And they're in front, they're in control, they've got a second lead, they knew what they were doing all along here, and the 3 British riders, Eleanor Barker, Josie Knight and Jess Roberts, come into the home straight. They move shoulder to shoulder and they celebrate a bronze medal in the women's team pursuit.
Matthew Hudson-Smith has put himself in the gold medal position. Quincy Hall from the USA is chasing down the Briton. It's going to be on the dip. It looks like Quincy Hall from the USA is the men's 400 metres Olympic champion.
The bell goes. This is it. A lap for glory. Great Britain. Oh, they swerve. They lose it. The leading rider swerves, lost his balance.
Silver medal for Great Britain.
Yeah.
That was a blockbuster on bikes, and we were ruined of a fabulous denouement.
She crosses the line. Ellie Oldridge takes the gold medal. She puts her hands to her face. She cannot believe it. All the Ellie Oldridge supporters in the crowd waving the GB flags.
Finucane desperately goes for the line. I think she gets the bronze. Emma Finucane gets a second medal at these games.
Sarato and Raku of Japan, the 17-year-old, is looking very, very calm, cool and collected here as he's reached the top of the wall, but he's fallen there, and I think it's going to be too much, too little, too late. Great Britain's first ever climbing Olympic medal, and it's for 19-year-old Toby Roberts.
And this should be enough to take Great Britain into the silver medal position. Eleanor Barker is going to do it on her own. She is chasing the back of the peloton as well. A perfectly timed run, a perfectly timed change from Eleanor Barker and Nia Evans to leap a spot on the podium. As they come into the home straight, Jack Carlin still in front. Can he hold on? He can! Jack Carlin takes the bronze medal for Great Britain.
The British team battling. They're in silver medal position. Sha'Carri Richardson looks across. USA take gold in the women's relay. The British team potentially have got a silver medal. Sarnell Hughes on the final leg. Good grief! Sarnell Hughes is going to get a medal for the British team. I think
He powered to a bronze. She's going to be seconds ahead of Thiam, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take the gold medal from the Belgian. KJT dips for the line. Nafi Thiam is how many seconds behind Alison?
I think about 6.5 seconds on my count.
Wow, she gave absolutely everything. She's going to get an Olympic medal.
If he can dive as well as he did in the last round, he could be on for a medal from almost nowhere. 9s and 8.5s for Noah Williams and a total of 94.35. It is his best dive of the competition. He's saved the best till last.
Is this the gold gone? It is. Cunningham cannot believe it. Head in his hands. He gave it the big energy. He gave it the energy of an Olympic champion.
For Kate Shortman and Izzy Thorpe, the first ever medals for Team GB in artistic swimming. They are just sitting there with a few tears.
Come on, Georgia Bell, she's in fourth. Yes, Georgia Bell! Georgia Bell has just come third in the Olympic Games women's 1500 metres. Right, Benjamin looking to hold on. Let's see. Tobogo is going to finish in second for Botswana. USA Botswana. And Charlie Dobson dips for a bronze medal for Great Britain in the men's 4x400 metre relay. USA win. Then Kabul and the Netherlands get a silver. Great Britain get a bronze in the women's 4x400 metres relay. Outstanding running.
Finucane still has the lead, pedalling like fury. Surely it's going to be Emma Finucane's. Yes, it is. The 21-year-old takes the bronze in the individual sprint, a third Olympic medal in her collection.
The weight topples off her. The sheer weight, 174 kilograms. She won't get up from the squat, but she waves to the crowd. She looks delighted. That will be a bronze medal for Emily Campbell.
Well, that's how the last 16 days have panned out for Team GB. What an incredible success story it has been. 65 medals in total, Bunsey, and listening back to all of them, wow.
65 medals,
incredible.
and listening back like that. I mean, I listened to most of those. I saw quite a few of those, and it brings a lump to my throat, which is, you know, I'm staggered when people can listen to stuff like that and relive it and be present at some of these performances and not get emotional. How can you not get emotional? I've got to ask you, Ellie, before we go any further. I know we're getting close to the time. You've asked me, you've asked Tony, what was your favourite moment? Maybe a goal may not be.
Yeah, I mean, Bryony Page, of course, was, as I said, was massive because I was there, and you love to be there for a GB medal ceremony. But I think just being here, just being in Paris with the sun shining, you know, it's looked at its best. It's been so easy, as you said, to get around. Generally, I mean, unless you're trying to get from the Grand Palais to Roland Garros,
Pierre.
Who would try and do that in their right minds? But you know, of course, the food has been amazing. You know, we know you're going to get fed well in Paris, but the atmosphere has been fantastic. The crowds have been wonderful as well. You know, apart from those rainy days at the start, Paris has looked perfect. I mean, Julien, what a city you have.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, I'm so proud and getting so emotional at the end of these games, because I think we wanted to put on a show here in Paris for you guys, but for everybody, all the fans who came from all around the world, all the people who worked in these games, the volunteers who came from all around the world, all the media, obviously people who coming in and work, because you showcase your city and you showcase your country and your savoir-faire and the things that you're good at. And Bunsey and I were talking earlier, off-air, Paris won't always look like this, of course. It's just a hiatus during these games and the Paralympic Games too. After that, we will have our problems again. We will have people moaning all the time and traffic everywhere. And it's going to rain a lot too, obviously, of course. But for those 2 weeks and then the 2 weeks to come during the Paralympics, I think it was very important for Paris to show everything that they're good at, and that's exactly what they did.
And for the French nation as well. I mean, you know, and I was down at Notre Dame yesterday. I hadn't been down to the Ile de la Cité before, and just seeing the way that it's being rebuilt at the moment after that disastrous fire of a few years ago. It's, you know, you kind of don't want to kind of get too deep and symbolic about these things, but the French nation and Paris has needed healing as well.
Massively, and we said at the start of the games, before, when we all arrived together, remember on that Tuesday night in the cafe in La Motte Piquet Grenelle, we said this is more than just Olympic Games. This is more than sport, because France were very divided. We saw the snap elections, we saw the result, we saw the rise of the far right. We don't have a prime minister right now. It's a bit of a mess. But in this time, the country kind of grew together and was united again, and that was beautiful to see. And that's what France did so well as well, not just because of the amazing athletes and everything else, also because the country was united behind this French team. That was incredible.
It was like a stance. And you know what, you say you don't want to get deep and symbolic. Well, why not? Because that's what it's been and that's what it's felt like most of the time. Let's get it absolutely right. And there's the point on the French team is that, I know, I'm spoilt because I've seen Big Teddy and Macron all crying and jumping around, all shapes, sizes, colours and everything. So maybe I'm a little bit spoiled. But talk about sucking you in. If you didn't like the French before, you do now. Honestly.
Yeah.
Really, I'm going to Tenerife for my next holiday. Sorry.
But I mean, I think you know, you can sort of reflect. And I remember we did a few Path to Paris shows, didn't we? I've got to say, I mean, I'm taking credit for Toby Roberts, I'm taking credit for Izzy and Kate last night in the artistic swimming, because we had them on as well.
Grant Holloway, I thought the other day we had Grant Holloway on the show,
we did.
And then he delivered. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we had the Jess Fox, didn't we? I think the canoeist, the Australian.
Yeah.
But one of the things I remember having a conversation at some point is everyone was saying, oh, you know, the Parisians aren't going to want it. They're going to leave. They're going to be sad. Or, you know, they're going to get out because they're going to say, we don't want to be part of this. You know, it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be awful. I was actually talking to two lovely Parisian ladies yesterday at lunchtime in the longest conversation I've had in French. My French is not where it should be.
Well done.
But they were saying, why would we want to leave Paris? Paris is our city. We love it here and we've loved the games. And they hadn't got tickets for the Olympics, but they were going to go to the Paralympics. And so you're going to experience all of this again.
And I know many Parisians who decided to leave and regretted it massively and came back halfway through the games, and some didn't come back and said, oh, we made a big mistake, we should have stayed here. So for me, and I'm obviously completely biased, these are the greatest games ever because it was so iconic and so unique and so special. We've had all those iconic moments that we talk in sports in general, everywhere. We've had all the venues, scenic-wise, these were the greatest games. You know, organization, safety, everything. So for me, they will stay forever. And also because I was sharing it with all you guys at 5 Live and the coverage was just out of this world. So thank you so much.
We've been really lucky to have you as well.
Thank you very much.
How on earth are LA going to top this, Fancy?
Well, they can try. They can have it, they can give it a go, but there's just something, it's been something really personal about this. And, you know, I'm a Londoner and London games were personal to me, but there's been something incredibly personal about this. And there is this sort of sense and this feeling of just how much the people are loving it and enjoying it. Other than the 4 old geezers that come into this bar every single afternoon. They're in there now, and they come in and they snout at the bar and they drink and they moan to each other. They look at the papers, they throw it down and they leave. They're like from Central Casting. They're in there every single day. And I'm getting worried because I've become the 5th person in there.
That's Paris.
I'm like the 5th one of me in there.
You'll be smoking. You'll be smoking gitane and reading L'Equipe before you know it, Fancy.
You're Stefan.
Stefan?
Yes, Stefan. That's your friend.
Stefan.
That's simple.
Stefan.
Bance.
Can we put an accent? Bonse.
I've been walking around telling every Frenchman my name's Etienne. And it turns out it's Stefan.
Stefan Bonse. Here in Paris with Julien Laurent. Look, I hate to do this, but we've got to go as another French siren goes racing down the road. I mean, it has been an incredible 16 days. One more medal to be won at the Bercy Arena. It'll be France against the USA in the women's basketball final, and Maz Farouki will bring you updates of that later this afternoon. But that is a wrap from us. The 2024 games have been truly magnifique, and if you enjoyed our last 16 days, then don't forget to tune in for the Paralympics, which get underway here in Paris from Wednesday the 28th of August. So some thank yous to give you. I should say thank you, merci à nos amis au Bistro Point Carré.
Yes.
Because this is where we've been based. We haven't named it, but they have done an amazing job for us. We did get every medal on live, and that was partly down to our fellow commentators and presenters, our talented pundits, but also our wonderful producers, our editors, our researchers, our production management team, both here in Paris, but back in Salford as well, and our studio teams there, who put in an incredible shift, really. They put in long hours in difficult circumstances. Thank you to our amazing team of engineers, Tom, Steve, Phil, Liam and Kev, who's sitting alongside me, who says it's his final games. But Steve Redgrave said that as well. So wait for LA in 2028. Yeah. But I mean, we are very conscious that we have been sharing the airwaves over the last couple of weeks with some pretty grim news from home, and we're not going to pretend that sport makes those problems go away. The Olympics does not stop wars, despite what the IOC would like to think sometimes. But there have been times when you've seen the crowds of people with their flags and their, and their shirts, and they're all happy mingling together and celebrating together. And if we have managed to bring some of that joy to you and the joy of our athletes as well, then, well, we've done our job. So, Paralympics still to come this summer. Premier League starts next weekend. The cricket season is still underway. I'm off to the Old Trafford Test match pretty much as soon as I get back to the UK. But just thank you for listening to us. And from all of us here, merci mille fois à Paris et au revoir.